At 20, she pictured herself at 30, a hotshot young lawyer everyone looked up to, and she actually achieved the future she dreamed of back then. As a newbie lawyer, she barely had time to change clothes in the mornings and looked like she was about to die from exhaustion. She went through hell to get her own office on the top floor of this building she's standing in front of. 10 years ago, she was burning up with fever in bed when her phone suddenly rang. Her friend told her that seniors from the 3rd and 4th year were going to be at tonight's New Year's party. She said even Songmin, who just re-enrolled this semester, would be there. Hearing that, Cena jumped out of bed and ran straight to her closet. According to her friend, Ryu Kang Yun, who recently passed the bar and even had an interview, would be there too. Songmin, who was friends with him, was supposed to bring him, and everyone in the law department knew both of them. Choi Sungmin was a good-hearted and smart dude, and girls swooned over how hot he was. Then you had his friend, Ryu Kang Yun, who was basically the opposite. Never cracked a smile. Cena figured she wasn't that sick to miss this, so she was like, "Screw it, I'm going!" Once everyone crammed into the cafe, Choi dropped the bomb that he was doing a study abroad program next semester. Everyone stared, totally shocked, because that meant Sungmin was bailing to another country. The girl was bummed, because she hadn't even managed to say a single word to him yet. She was hoping they'd end up in the same study group next semester, and she could finally get closer to him. She dragged her sick butt to the cafe just to see him. And now, all her hopes were just crushed. Cena walked out, plopped down on the steps, and started sulking about how much unrequited love sucks. Girls were always confessing to her, and now that she actually liked someone, she was too chicken to say anything. Wiping away her tears, she figured it was for the best anyway. Things would have been awkward if she'd confessed, and then he left. Cena was thinking she should at least wish him safe travels. She wanted to chase after him, but graduation was only 2 years away. They should have gotten closer sooner. Then they could have at least kept in touch. While Cena was lost in thought, someone came up behind her and draped their jacket over her shoulders. She jumped, assuming it was Songmin, and that he was being so kind as to give her his jacket on such a cold day. Realizing this, it suddenly hit her that she couldn't just give up like this. Even if nothing came of it, she was determined to confess to Songmin. She needed to wish him well settling in overseas, and to write her sometimes and tell her about himself. Cena decided to just make a simple, no-pressure confession, and instead of saying she liked him, say she used to like him. She wanted to ask him to give her a shot if he didn't find a girlfriend while he was studying abroad. After replaying everything in her head, determined to talk to Che, she got up and headed his way. But things went sideways, and with tears in her eyes, she grabbed Sungmin's sleeve and confessed she liked him. Sniffling, Cena begged him not to go on the exchange program, since she'd never confessed to anyone before. Without looking up, she offered to go with him if he really wanted to, but he just let out a heavy sigh. Cena kept going, saying she couldn't just let him go, and asked him to date her for at least a month. Suddenly, he snapped, saying he was sick of watching her whine about her feelings, and him having to listen to it all. According to him, that idiot's going abroad with a girl, and Cena decided now was the time to confess. He asked if she couldn't sort out her own feelings because she was drunk, or if she was just plain stupid. Suddenly, it clicked for Cena. His voice sounded super familiar, and she wiped the tears from her blurry eyes. Looking at the guy's face, she realized in horror that she hadn't been talking to Chi Sung-min at all, but Ryu Kang Yun. Of all the guys who could have walked in, she couldn't figure out why it had to be him standing there. Realizing the total disaster of her screw-up, she knew she had to fix things, like, right now. Breaking out in a sweat, she started scrambling for the right words to get herself out of this mess. But then a drop of sweat tickled her nose, and she sneezed so hard, snot rockets went flying straight at Ryu. Time just froze, and that moment became permanently etched in the darkest, most embarrassing part of Ki Seung's history. But the past is the past, and now she's not that young, clueless girl anymore. She's a 30-year-old hotshot lawyer. She's about to become a partner, basically running the whole firm. Hearing people sing her praises and feeling that respect, that's what she lives for. Law Firm K is located in a penthouse suite way up high in a building in Xiaochodong. Downstairs are the smaller offices for the senior lawyers, and on the middle floor are desks for the junior lawyers and secretaries. Up there's the conference room for client meetings and the partners' private offices. The best spot at the very top is the firm's main boardroom. Finally, today's the day Cena achieves her one and only goal, the one she's been dreaming about. Getting up to the office, she's surprised by the weird vibe, especially since lunch was ages ago. Spotting Kai, a co-worker grabs her arm right away and asks why it's such a mess today. According to Han Yojin, something went down while Cena was out. She asks if Cena seriously doesn't know who the new partner is. Kai smirks, thinking they'd announce it tomorrow. She planned on celebrating alone tonight, Cena figures Yojin's just jealous she got the position. But just as she's about to explain how hard she worked, Han blurts out that she and the new partner went to the same college. Apparently, he's a famous prosecutor who just randomly decided to quit. Cena's so shocked, she drops her bag. "Say that again?" she asks, and the girl's like, "You haven't heard about this?" It's total chaos at the office, because of this dude who just showed up as the new lawyer partner. Cena hangs her head, trying to process what she just heard and figure out what it all means. Yojin says this guy's 35, super handsome, and tall as hell. According to the description of that ex-prosecutor, there was no way Cena was getting the job. Some random outsider's taking her spot, not her, who's busted her ass for 7 years. Not understanding why she's not good enough, she's furious, and Han standing next to her is clueless. She's about to ask what's wrong, but Cena bolts toward the stairs, thinking something seriously messed up. Convinced that the partner's office upstairs should be hers, Kai races up the steps. But on the way, she slams into a guy coming down and yells out in surprise. The girl loses her balance, but a stranger catches her in time, and Kai thanks him. Realizing that the new partner Yojin described is a dead ringer for the guy holding her, Cena freezes. She looks up to see who stole her spot, and he suddenly tells her she still hasn't learned to look ahead. That familiar voice instantly floods her memory, and Kai realizes it's Ryu Kang Yun standing in front of her. She yelps in surprise and asks him what he's doing here. Ki Chang-soo, the CEO of the law firm, walks up at that moment, sees them together, and is thrilled they've already met. He heard that Cena, their firm's new partner in Pride, and the new partner went to the same university and apparently know each other. He says that now that a prosecutor from the Special Investigations Unit has taken the partner attorney position, their firm will be able to work more efficiently. According to Chang-soo, he's really looking forward to some productive work from attorney Ryu Kang Yun. Patting the guy on the shoulder, he suggests they grab some lunch first and figure everything else out later. The heroine glares angrily at her father's retreating back, a smug grin plastered on his face. Turning to the girl, Kang Yun suggests skipping the formal greetings until tomorrow, and smiles. In Ki's head, it's totally different. She thinks he's laughing at her for gunning for this position. The heroine grabs another beer with a trembling hand, not understanding how the universe could do this to her. First, they snatched away the partner position that was practically hers, and now she's got to cry over some dude. A few hours ago, she met her boyfriend at a cafe because he had something to tell her. He sat there for a long time, head down, not having the guts to start the conversation. Kai smirked, pointing out that if he was just going to sit in silence, he could have just texted her. The guy asked Sayanu if she still loved him, but she was already in a bad mood and told him to cut to the chase. Then he admitted that the 2 years they'd been together had been really hard for him. Kai's always busy, so he figured he'd lay low for a while, hoping Cena would notice and come see him for once. The heroine smirked, all snarky, and pointed out he called her just to say that, knowing how slammed she is. He slammed his fist on the table, tears welling up, and asked if she didn't miss him at all. He was trying to respect her busy schedule, because he's been swamped too, prepping for his dissertation. But he thinks it's messed up, and if they love each other, they should be there for each other when things get rough. Out of nowhere, the guy just straight up asked Kai if they should break up. He was sure she had no clue how hard this whole thing's been on him. Arms crossed, the heroine smiled and commented that it must have been tough playing both sides. The guy froze for a second, then jumped to his feet, demanding she explain what she meant by that. Stone-faced, Kai asked if he'd taken that trip with the bag she gave him. He was floored, totally confused how she knew about his trip to Cebu, which she claimed was the place to be right now. Turning her phone towards him, Cena showed him a photo of a girl with a familiar-looking guy's hand draped over her shoulder. She was sure that if she hadn't brought it up now, this woman would have come barging in herself and spilled the beans. Hearing that, the guy instinctively reached for the watch on his wrist. Cena pointed out how the girl seemed to be deliberately trying to get attention with her social media profile picture. The guy jumped to his feet, stammering that they were just college buddies, nothing more. She asked if that girl even knew that she'd bought more than half of the stuff he owned. Crushed, the guy sat there in front of Cena, head hung low, completely speechless. Kai turned a lab rat into a real dude, and now he thinks he's hot stuff and deluding himself that he earned everything. In her opinion, that girl probably thinks he's loaded, and all she has to do is smile to get whatever she wants. The guy couldn't take it anymore and jumped to his feet, trying to convince Cena that it was all a misunderstanding. Kai asked him why he was so freaked out, like he was scared she'd want all her stuff back and then kick him to the curb. But she wasn't gonna do that. She'd just trash it all, even if he did return her gifts. Seeing the relief wash over his face after she said that, she was disgusted by the guy she'd wasted 2 years and a ton of cash on. Cena suggested that the other girl must be pregnant, since he was the one offering to break up, even though he had so much to lose. But she wasn't about to wish them a happy marriage and a long life together. She was sure he'd come crawling back to her soon enough. And it wasn't just about how pathetic he was. Kai just figured that a guy like him would definitely want a divorce before long. The guy didn't get what she was talking about. Since he couldn't care less about what Cena did at work, Kai told him not to call her, and handing him a business card, added that she'd only meet with him if he was prepared to pay up big time. Smiling, she told the guy that she was a lawyer specializing in divorces. The girl acted all ambitious, then cried her eyes out in the car the whole drive home. There are 5 red flags to watch out for when picking a guy: bad credit, gambling, violence, drugs, and cheating. For Cena, cheating's the ultimate deal breaker, because she hates when people play double. She picked such a bland dude just because he seemed too simple to ever cheat on her. But it happened, and on the very day that everything at work went completely sideways. And what were the odds that the guy who stole her promotion would be none other than Ryu Kang Yun? The horoscope Cena read that morning said she'd meet someone new. But this so-called new acquaintance turned out to be a total nightmare. She's downing bottle after bottle because she worked so hard to move up. But it didn't happen. Kai's convinced the old guys who owned stock in the company had something to do with it. They were all over her when she was raking in the dough. But the second she asked for a raise, Cena got shot down. The excuse was always either she didn't have enough experience, or the fact that she was a woman. They kept telling her they needed a different partner, someone who could handle the big leagues and knew how to close a deal. Now she's gotta wait God knows how long for a spot to open up again. And to top it off, that whole crying confession incident she'd tried so hard to bury just resurfaced. She avoided Kang Yun for a year after that, and just thinking about it makes her want to crawl into a hole and die. Even seeing it in a dream is enough to wake her up in a cold sweat. Why does that guy have to show up now, of all times? Meanwhile, Ryu Kang Yun's sipping wine and checking out Ki Saenu's file, looking forward to shaking things up at this company. She slams open Ki Chang-soo's office door so hard it makes the guy jump. Still gripping his hockey stick, the man asks if she's had any breakfast. But the girl can't stomach a thing, and when she tells her dad this, her temper reminds him of someone. Kai figures she reminds her dad of himself, because what goes around comes around. When she accuses him of not giving her the position despite all that, Chang-soo tells his daughter to keep it down so the secretary doesn't hear. But Cena already asked Kim to step away for a bit, so no one's gonna overhear their conversation. After getting stabbed in the back like that, the girl's not just gonna shut up and let it go. She reminds Ki Chang-soo that she's the only daughter of the company CEO, so she doesn't get how he could do that to her, or not even give her a heads up. Because if he had, she wouldn't be so crushed by the betrayal. Cena was loaded with work up to her eyeballs, and she clawed her way up from the bottom all on her own. She never wanted anyone thinking she got the gig just because of her dad. Ki Chang-soo knows damn well how hard his daughter works, but the board of directors decided otherwise. They figure, from a profit standpoint, they need a different kind of lawyer as partner, not a divorce specialist. She's asking if it's because she's a woman. Cena knows damn well that even with all his shares, the CEO can't just ignore the board's opinion. But even if the CEO does that, she doesn't think a father should do that to his own daughter. Chang-soo doesn't get why Ki wants such a headache of a job, seeing as a partner is responsible not just for their own results, but for total revenue. He thinks she should just find a good guy to settle down with, but that just pisses Cena off. Because if she just wanted to live the good life, she wouldn't work so hard. She'd just live off daddy's money. Chang-soo, misunderstanding her, happily agrees. Cause the firm's going to his daughter anyway after he kicks the bucket. She can't believe someone who eats nothing but healthy food and takes such good care of himself is saying this. Twice a week he's out on the golf course, and he's always training with those amateur soccer teams. It pisses Cena off to hear she's supposed to wait for a guy that healthy to die, especially since she had to fight for everything. Chang-soo gets that his daughter's upset, but telling her dad that is going too far, in his opinion. When he suggests she was spoiled growing up, Kai tells him she raised herself and slams the door on the way out. As soon as she's out the door, she gets a text from her dad. He's asking if she wants to grab lunch today, if she's not too busy. Cena turns him down, saying she's got a client meeting. Back at his office, Ki Chang-soo is welcoming the new partner to his law firm. After offering Ryu some coffee, the CEO asks if he really went to the same university as Cena. The lawyer nods, confirming they'd been hitting up some lectures together with the girl for about a year now. Chang-soo smirks and asks Ryu if he's aware that Cena is his daughter. He's curious to hear Kang Yun's take. Does she have the talent and the right stuff to be a lawyer? This guy thinks his daughter is too ambitious, and it's bugging him. Ryu thinks when it comes to lawyer skills and talent, Cena blows everyone else out of the water, hands down. Sky-high ambition can be a problem, sure, but Ki's putting in the work to back it up. Chang-soo knows his daughter was pinning her hopes on becoming a partner, but the board ain't ready to pull the trigger yet. She's still green, and her ability to bring in the dough is a big question mark. Since Ryu thinks Ki's a solid lawyer, Chang-soo wants to know if he thinks she can shut the board up with her skills. The dude suggests the CEO build a team around her. Cena's a senior family law specialist after all. We should totally expand in this direction, like by setting up a family law division to handle this kind of stuff. We could put Cena in charge, which would give her some serious clout within the firm. This group could handle not just divorces, but stuff like inheritance, property division, the whole 9 yards. Ryu thinks Key's better with civil cases and family law than he is, and he can advise her on related issues if she needs it. Chang-soo's digging this idea, cause Cena could really kill it in terms of profit and sales if we do this right. Kang Yun chimes in, saying times have changed, and we're living in a world where super rich people are divorcing all the time. He tells them to think it over and let him know. But Ryu's gotta bounce, cause he's got a meeting. Chang-soo's got a smug grin on his face, cause making Kang Hyun a partner turned out to be a stroke of pure luck. Besides, the guy thinks this kid's a perfect fit to be his future son-in-law. Our girl's calling Prosecutor Park, and she's catching him completely off guard with this call. So she's saying she wants dirt on Prosecutor Ryu Kang Yun from the Seoul District Prosecutor's office. Park says he never worked with him, only bumped into him twice, but Ryu's got a rep. Kang Hyun doesn't cut anyone any slack, treats everyone the same, super consistent and thorough. If there was even a whiff of something weird in a criminal case, he'd personally hit the scene and even take over from the investigators. Back in the special division, he even went on TV, calling all the members of the National Assembly as witnesses. Cena remembers that incident a year back when that ex-National Assembly member got nailed for taking bribes. But Kai doesn't get why Kang Hyun suddenly quit and bailed. Cause after a huge case like that, he should have been pulling serious weight with the other prosecutors. After a pause, Park apologizes, but he can't answer that question since it's confidential information. All he knows is Kang Hyun left after shaking things up with the district prosecutor and even got an official severance. Park figures, whoever Cena asks about this, they're all gonna give her the same story. Ever since that talk with Prosecutor Park, she couldn't focus and get any real work done all day. As she was about to leave the office building, she bumps into Kang Hyun in the lobby. He asks for an hour of her time, and that's when she finally registers who's standing in front of her. She yelps again, and Ryu laughs, asking how long she's gonna keep reacting like that to him. Cena's confused why Kang Hyun's still at the office this late, and why he hasn't left yet. Leaning in close to her, Ryu asks again for some of her time, because he has something important to discuss. A little later, they're sitting in a bar, and the guy tells Kai to just chill out. Ryu says it's been 3 weeks since he started working at the company, and Cena still hasn't even said hi. Kang Yun wants to know what he did to make her act like this around him, because the moment she sees him, she either runs away or looks like she's ready to pounce or punch him. Slamming her fists on the table, Cena insists she never acted like she was gonna hit Ryu. It's just every time they meet, it's under the worst circumstances, and she doesn't get what he wants from her. The guy smirks, because whether it was 10 years ago or now, this girl is definitely never boring. Digging deep, she asks Kang Hyun if all this is because of that one incident. According to Cena, she was drunk back then and had diminished capacity from being physically and mentally wasted. Crossing her arms, the girl tells Kang Hyun he's the worst senior she's ever dealt with. But that just tells him she actually does see him as a senior. Cena mutters that everything went to hell after meeting him. But Ryu doesn't see how that's his fault. Exhaling, she asks if he called her in just to twist the knife, cause he could have texted all this. Kang Yun says it's his style. He prefers face-to-face, even back when he was a prosecutor. Kind of fun sitting here with a criminal, watching if he's faking or not. Cena's asking why Ryu quit if being a prosecutor suited him so well. But Kang Hyun says he bailed because the whole thing was too damn corrupt. He couldn't stomach it. Propping his chin up, he smirks, guessing Kai's been digging into him, and she flinches. Still grinning, Kang Hyun asks if she's curious why all this happened, since he could tell her himself. But Cena says no, and since she thinks they're both uncomfortable, she's ending this conversation. After a beat, Ryu admits he's not uncomfortable around her and wants to get along, at least for work. Staring hard at him, the girl asks if he really doesn't hate her. But Kang Hyun suddenly confesses he's never felt anything like that towards Cena. Ryu's smoking on a bench, wondering why she thought he hated her, and a memory suddenly flashes in his head. 10 years ago, he was standing on the street, smoking like now, when he suddenly heard this weird rustling sound. He figured it was just leaves falling at first, but he looked up and saw all these documents raining down on him. Turning around, he spotted some dude in a building window, chucking papers out of it. Deciding to deal with the idiot littering the smoking area, Ryu headed up the stairs. But when Kang Hyun got to the right floor, he saw a girl standing by the railing, head down. The guy froze, hearing her sobbing and complaining about how some senior was treating her. Tearing up the paper in anger, she couldn't understand why they were all ganging up on her like that. Ryu recognized Cena's voice. They'd had a heated debate in class a while back. The girl was complaining that mock trials were meant to give rookies like them some experience. Kai hadn't slept for 2 nights to prep and practiced for ages in front of the mirror. Turns out, the debate went down way different than she expected. For some reason, that's where Cena started tripping over her words, even though she planned to totally destroy her opponent. Still, Kang Yun defended his position with a super confident voice. The girl just couldn't chill, furious at how aggressively he was coming at her, calling him a crazy rabid dog. Meanwhile, listening to all this, Ryu was thinking Cena was a total idiot, clearly clueless about the gossip going around their department. Kang Hyun would feel awkward running into the girl after what she said, so he decided to wait until she came downstairs. After that end-of-year get-together, Cena would bristle like a wildcat whenever she saw Ryu. When the guy went back outside, he saw Kai gathering torn scraps of paper from the ground, her eyes swollen from crying. The girl was cursing herself for ripping the paper up so small, making it hard to pick up. In that moment, Ryu found Cena pretty funny, doing all this even though nobody saw her make the mess. The heroine gets home to her parents' place and hands her mom a bouquet, wishing her a happy birthday. Ki Chansu comes out to the hallway and greets his daughter in his usual dry way. Giving her dad a stern look, Cena gives it right back to him. And when he asks if she's eaten, she reminds him she's here for dinner. Chansu gets pissed, complaining about how long this is gonna go on, and his wife pats him on the shoulder to calm him down. The doorbell rings. Sena's younger brother, Ki Se-hoon, walks in, and immediately notices his sisters fighting with their dad again. Waving a stack of cash in Se-hoon's face, she tells him to at least say hi to his sister first, or she's taking his gift back. Snatching the bills from Cena, the guy bows to her and thanks her for gracing their humble abode with her presence. After hearing his kids' sarcastic jabs at each other, Chansu tells them to change and come down for dinner. After dinner, all the family members gather around the dessert table to have tea and cake. Chansu asks his daughter what she thinks about his idea of opening a department specializing in family law. He's saying 2 senior lawyers and 4 juniors are going to form a team and take full responsibility for these cases. Cena's heard that big law firms are starting to go the team route. Plus, family law cases can get huge, so having a dedicated department like that would be good for business. Changsu's telling his daughter he wants her to lead the team, give her the conference room, even an office on the top floor. If Cena runs the department well for a year, he'll try to convince the board to make her a partner. Because Changsu knows damn well his daughter's at the point where other firms would snap her up for that position. Her dad asks what she thinks of Ryu Kang Yun, and she's like, where the hell did that come from? Changsu suggests Cena bring him home and introduce him officially, but she figures he could just invite Ryu to dinner himself. Turns out, her dad wants her to bring Kang Yun home as her fiancé. Hearing that, she choked on her tea from the shock of it all. This girl can't figure out why she's gotta marry Ryu, but her dad ain't playing around. If Cena can't sweet-talk a guy, she can't run the company right. Forget about being a partner. Then Chansu suggests she quit and start her own business. And she's like, what's that even got to do with anything? As company president and her dad, Chansu thinks he's the best candidate, period. And after claiming Kang Hyun doesn't have a girlfriend, her dad gets up and leaves the table. He says if Cena doesn't like his condition, she can come back when she finds something else worth talking about. Covering her face, she's trying to wrap her head around this total nonsense. Because the problem isn't whether she can reel in a guy, especially since Ryu was her enemy back in college. Plus, he saw her at her absolute worst. So for Kang Hyun to fall for her after all that, he'd have to be nuts. The next day, she's in the office bathroom, practicing her smile in the mirror. But nothing's working. This girl's got zero faith that Kang Yun could ever see her as anything more than a buddy. Before she even thinks about marriage, or even dating, she needs to build a real connection with him. Cena's meeting her client, Kim Young-hee, but she can't shake the feeling she's seen her somewhere before. But with those sunglasses hiding her face, she can't even begin to guess who it could be. After a beat of silence, the client sighs and finally takes off her shades. Cena can't believe her eyes, because sitting right there is actress Jung Si-eun. This woman is famous for playing the lead female role in that super popular weekend drama. With insane ratings, her amazing acting chops always left viewers totally blown away. Jung was constantly trending and the talk of the town among fans. Cena gushes about how much she admires the actress, which makes her a little flustered that even a lawyer watched the show. She's laughing, because who hasn't seen the drama everyone's calling the best? When the lawyer tries to steer Shion back to why she's here, she just deflates. Clutching her coat, she admits Ki Se-yeon was recommended as the go-to expert. She doesn't get why she needs a divorce lawyer. They're like, the poster couple, totally head-over-heels actors. After skimming the reason Shion wrote down, Cena tells her she can't help with that. Looking right at the actress, she asks her to spill the real reason she's at their firm. Seeing Jung hesitate, she assures her confidentiality is guaranteed under Article 26 of the Attorney Act. Head down, the woman confesses her husband's cheating with someone 8 years younger. Trying not to shake, Jung adds it's a guy. and she knew he was gay before they got married. Finally breaking down, she admits she and her husband have a marriage contract. Turns out the nation's sweetheart was actually gay, and to hide it, they cooked up a sham marriage. And this dude picked an actress who was struggling to get famous after being in the spotlight wilderness for ages. She really didn't need to worry though, because as colleagues, they had a win-win situation going on for appearances. They signed an NDA, became the perfect couple in the public eye, but still hooked up with other people on the side. Wiping away her tears, Yeon confesses she never even considered poking around in her husband's private life. It all started one night when her husband was totally wiped out, and they were drinking together. Then Chung woke up and they were in bed. Their first wedding night, which didn't even happen on their honeymoon, suddenly went down 5 years into their marriage. From that day on, Yeon started feeling all kinds of weird whenever she saw her husband. At first, she kept thinking about his touch, the look in his eyes, and she even started imagining they might actually become a real couple. As soon as Chung realized she was falling in love, those feelings started blowing up like crazy, completely out of control. She kept telling herself she was the only one who could be there for her husband, even if he was in love with a guy 8 years younger. But every single day turned into a living hell because she was so jealous. And today, she just needed someone to listen. Cena couldn't find the right words to comfort Young Shi-eun, who said she'd be back once she'd made a decision. All she could think about were her words about how messed up things were between the actress and her husband after she lost all her self-respect. That heavy feeling stayed with Cena all day, and when Ryu saw her on her way home from the office, he noticed something was off. When she asked Kang Yun if he needed something, he asked her to give him a little of her time. After what her dad's been pulling, Kai feels weird being around him, but he tells her not to even think about running. After inviting her into his office, Ryu hands her a folder with the organizational chart for the family law team. When Cena looks surprised, he tells her that everything's settled with the president, so Kai can start right away. She asks if Kang Yun knows the condition her dad set for letting her lead that group. Word is, Hee Chung-soo's gonna make his daughter a partner if her department kills it this year. If it were that simple, she wouldn't even sweat it. But something about this whole thing feels off. Weighing everything, it suddenly hits her that Ryu must have talked her dad into putting her in charge. She's accusing Kang Hyun of doing it out of pity, cause he took her spot as partner. Ryu just stands there, taking the heat, while she demands he explain what he was thinking, handing her this position. Giving her a hard look, he asks her what the hell she's talking about. Seems like Cena's got the wrong end of the stick, cause he's got no clue what she's so worked up about. Dropping her head and wiping her face, she asks if this is just how he operates. According to her, Kang Hyun never thinks about other people's feelings and just bulldozes through everything. Ryu darkens, telling Cena to think before she speaks. Cause the CEO asked his opinion, and he just threw out a suggestion. This whole thing was just a scheme to benefit their law firm, plain and simple. Cena adds with a smile that he also suggested it to cheer her up after she got passed over for the promotion. Kang Hyun grabs his head because he recommended her. Kai's perfect for the job, nobody's got her drive. Cena asks who he is to judge her work ethic. They're not exactly close enough to talk about that kind of thing. Ryu sighs heavily, then asks her to look at the organizational chart he made, where she's listed as the team leader. And Kang Yun himself will just be an advisor on civil and criminal cases within the group. Kai Cena is the team leader, and it's up to her to decide who she wants to work with. Ryu asks if she gets what he's saying, but she's still lost in doubt. Losing it, Kang Hyun explains once again that she needs to build her own team, because the Cena he knows is the hardest worker around, throwing everything she has into solving problems. Look, there are some things you can't just grind your way through. You gotta get lucky, and for Kai, now's the time. Still, she has no clue why Kang Hyun is trying to help her out. His motives are a complete mystery to her. Ryu's saying he came to this firm as a partner, so this is his job and his problem too. I mean, she can think he's trying to help, but he doesn't see anything wrong with that. He doesn't get why Cena's clinging so hard to the partner position. Does she even want it, or just the validation? Either way, Ryu's telling her to quit being so damn stubborn and grab the chance she's been given. He says she looks so pathetic right now, he doesn't even want to keep talking about it. He's thinking the value he sees in Cena and the value she sees in herself. They're not matching up. If she still doesn't trust Ryu, he's done wasting his time on her. She bites her lip, trying to figure out where things went wrong. Then Kang Yun suddenly asks her, "What year is it?" Cena takes one look at him and knows he ain't asking, because he forgot what day it is. That's a gut punch right there. And if Kai hasn't jumped in a time machine to fix things, it means she's still hung up on what went down 10 years ago. Ryu gets up and leaves, telling Cena to bring her team to his office when she finally makes up her mind. She knows Kang Yun's right, because the reason she's been quiet is she's realized something. She still gets pissed when she sees Ryu, because she's burning up with jealousy and envy over his success, compared to her own screw-ups. The next day, Cena meets her friend at a coffee shop, and her friend's all surprised, says she saw Ryu Kang Yun hanging around Key's office. The girl tells her he actually just joined their firm as a partner attorney. Her jaw drops and she's like, "Why didn't you tell me this?" She wants to drop by their office sometime and say hi, but Cena's clueless why. And since when are they so tight? The girl nods. Because they were never really friends. She figures Ryu must be tight with Cena to switch companies, but Cena's denying it. Her friend's like, "Why are you frontin'?" Everyone knew Kang Yun was cutting you slack back in college. Cena says the company's board hired Ryu, and she hasn't kept in touch since graduation. Her friend doesn't get why she's acting like this, reminding her how they all tanked that group presentation and bullied Kai as payback. She definitely remembers that, because it was a freaking nightmare for her. Cena says Kang Yun started the whole thing, acted like he didn't know her, and the upperclassmen buried her in work. During the festival prep, she didn't even go home, worked till dawn, and put up flyers in the rain all by herself. She tried to avoid Ryu, because he'd always give her the same old crap. Cutting Cena off, her friend drops the bomb that Kang Yun had a huge fight with the student council bigwigs, cause of her. She flinches, freezes up, and begs her friend to spill the details. Turns out, Ryu told everyone that their decision to slack off was completely their fault, and they better leave Cena alone. The guy threatened to air all their dirty laundry if they bothered her even once more. Kang Yun ordered them to come to him if they had anything to say, and that stirred up a serious hornet's nest. Suddenly, our girl remembers how, snap. The Sunbay's attitude towards her totally flipped. She figured they finally felt sorry for her, and that's why they were acting like that. But nope, it wasn't that they recognized her hard work. It was Ryu Kang Yun who stepped in and put them in their place. She totally didn't expect that, so she asks her friend if she's sure about all this. Her friend says she saw it all go down. He put those guys in their place so calmly, they didn't even make a peep. Still, it all seems super weird to Cena. She doesn't get why Ryu would do that. According to her friend, the professors were also treating her well because they saw her studying with Kang Yun. He ran a mock trial with Cena, even though he didn't need to after passing his second bar exam round. She's claiming she didn't study with him willingly, like she's lost all pride after getting trashed by the other upperclassmen. My friend says, even though Ryu was known for being meticulous, there were rumors that Key improved a ton from just one practice session with him. Kang Yun only worked with her, and tons of people were jealous of Cena for it. Honestly, he took care of a lot of younger students. It's just that the upperclassmen who went abroad stood out a lot more. But Ryu was actually a pretty decent senior too, and my friend's shocked that Key didn't know that. But the truth is, she's hearing all this for the first time. Then, out of nowhere, my friend tells me Kang Yun actually cared about Cena way more than the other underclassmen. How could she not have noticed that at all? My friend thought Cena just acted indifferent around him in public, but that they were actually pretty close. But seeing her friend's face right now, she decides to tell her something, as a friend. In her opinion, Cena should not only be grateful to Kang Yun, but she could also learn a lot from him. Her friend thinks Ryu could be really helpful to her, so she's got nothing to lose, especially since they even work at the same company. Cena promises to really think about what she said. Ryu Kang Yun's words about her value blew her away, and are still echoing in her head. Looking out the window of her office, Kai wonders why she keeps chasing after the approval and envy of others. The truth is, few people care how much effort others put in. They're just jealous of what their rivals have. And even after Cena had worked at the firm for several years, a lot of people still downplayed her achievements. That kind of treatment was disappointing and hurtful, so it's a shock that Ryu is the one acknowledging her worth. She never really tried to get to know him before. First, she avoided him. Then every time they met, she'd start a fight. Plus, blinded by her own inferiority complex, Cena was totally ignoring his efforts. Just yesterday, she got praised for being a cool woman, a great professional, and doing an awesome job. But the truth is, she's jealous of people who are better than her, and she's battling the shame of it. She's asking herself, when did she become such a terrible person? Cena walks into Ryu Kang Yun's office and asks if he's busy. Taking off his glasses and rubbing the bridge of his nose, the guy's ready to see her, even though he's swamped. Cena hands him the list she prepared and sits down opposite him, feeling awkward as hell. Kang Yun asks if her team will be able to work well with that lineup. Cena says she'll have to put in the work herself to make it happen. And then Ryu tells her to get ready for a personnel appointment. So you're telling me Kang Yun actually vetted everything? I prepped intel on those lawyers, but Ryu's pointing at this massive file on his desk. No way he's already dug into the files on every employee at the firm. Turns out Ryu totally did, and it wasn't even a big deal for him. She's standing there, clutching her arm, when he asks if she's got anything else to say. Cena's done everything she needed to for work. but she still needs to tell Ryu something. She realizes whatever happened in the past, what she did last time was wrong. After a little hesitation, she admits to Kang Yun that she messed up. Cena was mostly mad at herself, so she's thanking Ryu for giving her another shot. Kang Yun smiles and tells her to give it her best. She's staring at him, totally shocked he took her apology so easily. Kai asks if Ryu's gonna hire a legal secretary, and he says he's got someone in mind, just waiting on a decision. It's about that department head Kang Yun used to work with when he was a prosecutor. Getting an investigator for this kind of gig is gonna cost a fortune, and convincing him's a pain. But Ryu's in talks. They worked together for 2 years, and if you count the stuff through intermediaries, it's more like 6. Cena asks when this guy's coming, but Ryu doesn't answer, just stares at her with this knowing smile. Laughing, Kang Yun suggests messing with Ki, cause she's just asking pointless questions like she's bored out of her skull. He admits he can't resist, when suddenly a girl he could barely get a meeting with is begging for his attention. Ryu asks how he can amuse Cena, and suggests they grab some tea. Pissed, she storms out of his office, saying she's a busy woman, and has a meeting with the president. Cena slams the door, thinking that even though her inferiority complex is a problem, Kang Hyun's personality isn't exactly a walk in the park either. Convinced they're totally wrong for each other, she stomps off down the hall, fuming with anger. Sitting in her dad's office, she starts going over the contract he gave her. This document's valid as long as Ki Sena is dating the guy Chansu picked out. The contract only refers to this guy as R. She asks her dad if they really have to go this far, but Chansu insists, saying he knows his daughter too well. The whole point of this contract is a relationship between a man and a woman, meaning a romantic one. The rest covers ending the contract and paying for damages, like the conference room and the CEO's office on the 2nd floor. Plus, the new department's getting a raise, so if this flops, it's all gonna be a loss. She wonders what happens if she manages to seduce R within 3 months. Changsu's promising to pretend nothing happened if his daughter can pull everything off in 3 months. Seinu finds it hilarious her dad's talking to her like some kind of gangster. Either way, she figures when people meet all hyped up, they're just gonna split later. No matter how strong those feelings are, they can't stay that way forever. Sometimes people marry against their family's wishes, then break up, tearing each other apart. As a divorce lawyer, Seinu knows all this better than anyone. Looking at his daughter, Changsu suddenly tells her she's got the wrong idea. The man's not just thinking of lawyer Ryu as a potential husband for Seinu. He's figuring when she becomes president of this company, that guy'll be right there with her, same position. Getting up, Changsu ruffles his daughter's hair. He's offering her a glimpse into the future, where this company's gonna have her and Kang Yun's names on it. But if Saina's that unsure of herself, she can bail right now, and they'll pretend this whole thing never happened. Though, if she does that, then she'll just need to find a good guy and settle down, get married. Clutching the document to her chest, she decides to do it, cause she never said anything about backing out. Thing is, Cena demands they rewrite the contract, cause a standard agreement just ain't gonna cut it in this case. Since Changsu's so worried about his daughter's position, they gotta make it more secure by giving her some of the president's shares. She's not taking no for an answer from her dad. Cena steps out of the car in a sleek black dress and sunglasses. 2 days ago, she got a wedding invitation, which she thinks is a pretty low blow. But Cena's positive her ex didn't send it, cause he's smart enough not to pull something like that. Only one person would pull a stunt like this, his bride. Cena hadn't given her ex a second thought since they broke up, but this kind of petty drama was just childish. But since this girl was throwing down the gauntlet, she decided to pick it up and fight back, which is why she's here at the celebration. The guy's freaking out, asking Kai what she's doing here, but she just takes off her glasses and tells him he looks like crap. Cena says that when she got the invite, she rushed right over to congratulate them on starting their new life together. And for a wedding gift, she figures they can just consider everything she ever bought him. She walks into the reception hall and stares at the picture of the newlyweds flashing on the screen. Truth is, she's not even hurting about the relationship ending anymore. But winning this battle is all that matters. Applause erupts, cameras flash, and the bride and groom walk into the hall, arm in arm. Looking at them, she knows the girl who challenged her, who clearly doesn't know who she's messing with, is gonna regret it big time. And since she's in the mood to pull some real crazy stuff today, Sana gets an idea. The bride steps down from the platform, turns her back to the crowd, and tosses the bouquet. Without a second thought, Sana leaps forward and snags those flowers like it's nothing. Kai throws the bouquet on the floor, walks right up to the bride, and tells her next time to actually look where she's aiming before she throws. Grinning like a maniac, our girl says she's there to teach her how it's done, since she clearly doesn't get it. The bride gets so freaked out, tears start streaming down her face, and she screams in terror, leaving the sobbing girl in her brand new husband's arms. Sana walks out of the hall, totally self-satisfied. That was the most messed up and awesome thing that's happened in her life in ages. It's like a 100-year stomachache just vanished. Whether they think she's a total bitch or not, she's never seeing those people again. Out of nowhere, someone tells Cena she's got a terrible personality, and when she turns around, it's Kang Hyun standing there. Grinning, he asks if the sweet lady is taking a day off. When she asks why he's here, Ryu says he's here for the next ceremony that's scheduled. He's a little busy, so he just wanted to drop off a gift and bounce. But then Kang Hyun saw something interesting and decided to stick around. Standing in the elevator next to Ryu, she's freaking out about what he must think of her. She already doubted she could get him to see her as a woman, and now he's seen her awful side again. But as she's thinking no one who ruins weddings is ever going to be considered a good person, Ryu's admiring her guts. He thinks if Kai specialized in criminal cases, the prosecutors would have a real tough opponent on their hands. Suddenly, she turns to him and suggests they just pretend this never happened. He agrees, but after a short pause, he asks if the groom is her ex. Cena tells him how he cheated on her, which really surprises Ryu, who thought she didn't care about stuff like that. According to Kai, she really doesn't. It's just that girl threw down the gauntlet, and she couldn't ignore it. She actually thought he was going to ask if she really needed to go that far. But surprisingly, Kang Yun sometimes says exactly what she wants to hear. Suddenly, Cena wonders, what if she's just so uninteresting to him that he doesn't care at all? Since it's a sunny day off, maybe this is a great chance to have a heart-to-heart with Kang Yun. The elevator doors open, Ryu says goodbye, but she asks him to hold up. Gathering her courage, she asks Kang Yun to have lunch with her. A little later, they're already sitting in a cafe, and Cena asks the waitress to bring them a bottle of soju. She pours herself a drink, offers some to Kang Yun, and he takes it. After downing a few glasses, she laughs, saying she heard soju tastes sweet when life's bitter. But today it's cloying, which is weird, because right now, Cena actually feels great. Ryu says she's got a real bad attitude and holds a serious grudge. But she doesn't want to hear that from Kang Yun. She'd argue about who's really got the rotten personality here. Pouring more soju, Cena asks if he remembers Park Jong-hee from their college group. But Kang Hyun doesn't recall her. The girl who, according to Ki, was always trying to sit next to him. Park's a civil servant, and Cena heard they even ran into each other at court once. Ryu just can't place her, and just like that, their attempt at small talk goes down in flames. Kang Yun says he was mostly just buried in lectures, assignments, and tests back in college, and didn't go out much. Cena's racking her brain, wondering if anything can crack this guy's shell, and then something pops into her head. After some sports thing, some total psycho got hammered, climbed onto the horse statue at the university entrance, and started riding it. Kang Hyun remembers that dude was also like pantsless. He could never forget that, seeing as it was only the second thing in his whole college career that actually shocked him. Cena asks what the first thing was, and he smirks, telling her about some stuck-up chick confessing her love. She's pissed he brought it up again, but Kang Yun's just smiling because he loves getting under her skin. She admits she's trying to get closer to him, but he already knows, since Kai invited him here for that reason. Face red and cheeks puffed out, Cena begs Kang Hyun to forget about that whole thing, saying it'll make things better between them. But to her surprise, Ryu admits that it was actually because of that incident that he got interested in her in the first place. She can't figure out how looking that pathetic could be appealing, and then Ryu adds that she's got terrible taste in guys. I mean, first Ki wanted to confess to a dude leaving the country with his girlfriend, then she dated a scumbag who was seeing two girls at once. Kang Hyun thinks she should be grateful that he was the one who happened to be there that day. She's thinking, yeah, confessing out of the blue to a guy leaving to study abroad with his girl was pretty dumb. If anyone other than Ryu had overheard that, it would have been gossip fodder until the end of the semester. All sarcastic, she thanks Kang Hyun for keeping quiet, pointing out he couldn't have told anyone anyway, seeing as he's got no friends. But her jab doesn't even faze him, and he just smiles and agrees that, yeah, he really doesn't have any friends. After his cold-blooded admission, Kai feels kinda bad, and Ryu, in response, offers to be her friend then. She tells him she's a high-powered lawyer, and friendship with her could cost him. But Kang Hyun's down with that. But if the price is absurd, he's ready to handle it legally. She laughs, because in that case, she'd just hire him as her lawyer, which would screw him over in court since he's an ex-prosecutor. Kang Hyun, blown away by how quick she is, laughs and points out how much Cena's grown up. The heroine's stoked, because she finally beat him after 10 freaking years. She never thought she could talk to Ryu like this, but now she's relieved the misunderstandings cleared up. Cena knows she's got a long road ahead to make up for how she acted with him. But right now, leaning across the table and holding out her hand to Kang Hyun, she asks him to take care of her. After dinner, Ryu leads the staggering heroine out of the restaurant, clueless why she got so wasted when she can't hold her liquor. A car pulls up to the curb, one he called for her ahead of time. He puts the drunk Cena in it, gives the driver her address, and tells Kai to be careful. Suddenly, she grabs his tie and, totally out of it, suggests they make a toast. Ryu tells her to get a grip, but freezes when she suddenly pulls him close. Their faces way too close for comfort. He's about to kiss her when Cena suddenly asks him to come back to her place for another drink. Gripping her shoulder, Kang Yun tells her never to say something like that when she's drunk. But she leans in again, saying she's sad to see him go. Kang Hyun unties the tie Cena's holding onto, and she falls back into the seat, still clutching it tight. Shutting the door after the cab leaves, the guy's face burns as he thinks about her. Kang Hyun and Cena are in a restaurant, and she's offering him a deal. She wants him to pretend Ryu is dating her as part of a marriage contract. Sipping his wine, Kang Yun asks if he actually has to date her, or just fake it. When he asks what's in it for him, Cena says he could become the son-in-law of a major law firm chairman. But Kang Yun couldn't care less about that kind of offer. He says he appreciates the girl's concern, but he's used to handling everything himself. Getting up from the table, Kang Yun tells her to stop dreaming about the impossible. The girl wakes up startled from her dream and rushes to work, since the family law center opens in a week. Han Yo-jin, who sees Saenu as her rival, asks if Ryu Kang Yun will be their criminal law consultant. According to attorney Park Jong-chan, a criminal law specialist, he's held that position for 5 years. But the guy laughs and adds that he's never had any big cases. Ryu worked as a prosecutor for 9 years, so he's probably a walking rulebook that Park can't compete with. Han thinks even if they get a murder case, it'll be domestic, and Kang Hyun probably doesn't have experience with that. Ryu walks into the conference room just as Park declares he'll work his hardest, and Ryu praises his ambition. Kang Hyun says the most important thing for a lawyer is to strive for victory, and he smiles at Saenu. She remembers having dinner with Ryu, and how the awkwardness between them faded as the bottles emptied. But Cena can't recall how the night ended. Even though she somehow made it home, she finds it weird that Ryu's been staring at her intensely ever since that day. Kai can't figure out if she told him about the contract, or if it's just because he's the only one who knows the real her. She asks Kang Yun what brings him to their meeting. Turns out Ryu wants to assign a specific case to Cena personally. She doesn't get why it has to be her alone when they have a whole team for this kind of thing. Kang Hyun also came to see Cena's assembled team for himself, and he brought coffee for everyone. She overhears the other female lawyers talking about how unbelievably hot Ryu is. The guys, on the other hand, see Kang Hyun as some kind of hero. Cena doesn't know Ryu that well yet, and she's wondering if she can get closer to him over time. It doesn't even have to be a romantic thing, necessarily. I mean, maybe she and Kang Yun could become good partners, you know? The lawyer waves and leaves, promising to catch up after the meeting. Kai asks her team what they think about Ryu Kang Hyun. She says she's curious to hear their opinions since he's a consultant for their team. Plus, Kang Hyun immediately gave the new department a pretty big case. The junior lawyer, Ha Jung-soo, volunteers to answer because of something that happened in a past case. Jung-soo couldn't shake the feeling that his client was lying about a lot during the consultation. He kept saying he hadn't done anything wrong and that it was all a vicious lie. They already had the guy who did it locked up, but my client was facing charges for hiding him. But the deeper I dug into the case, the more it looked like my client wasn't just aware of the crime. He was in on it, which made it impossible to figure out how to defend him. Even if my client was an accessory, even if I knew about the crime, legally I couldn't rat him out. There wasn't really anyone I could turn to for help, so I paid a visit to Ryu Kang Yun, who was a prosecutor back then. The young lawyer asked him what he should do in this situation. In response, Kang Hyun asked him if Chung-soo was sure about his decision. The kid, in turn, replied that he wasn't sure at all, so Kang Hyun advised him to do nothing if he wasn't confident. According to Park Jong-chan, anyone could have pointed out something that obvious. Chung-soo continues his story about what happened next. A few days later, Ryu left a file on Ha's desk, an indictment based on evidence and forensic reports. He told the guy to think it over and come back when he'd made up his mind. Ryu investigated everything himself, and it turned out Chansu completely misunderstood. Turns out the client really didn't know anything, just like he said in the consultation. Everyone's surprised that Kang Hyun did his own separate investigation to give Ha a chance to make a ruling. Sayenu wants to know what Ryu would have said if the client had been a criminal, like Chansu thought. According to Ha, Ryu reminded him not only about the duty to maintain confidentiality, but also the need to tell the truth. A lawyer shouldn't hide the truth or make false statements while carrying out their duties. Kang Hyun said that if Chansu had been sure the client was an accomplice, he would have helped him get to the truth. Sayenu's girls are, once again, totally crushing on Ryu. After the meeting, she heads to Kang Hyun's office, where he's, as usual, buried in his work. Blushing, she hangs back at the door for a second, worried about interrupting him. Ryu tells Sayenu to take a seat, says he needs to finish something up first. She mentions her team's been talking about him a lot, but Kang Yun just keeps working, doesn't even look up. Sayenu's thrown off by him ignoring her, but Ryu's genuinely confused why he should care what others say about him. She asks if hearing something nice about himself might cheer him up, but Kang Yun figures if someone's nice at first, then gets pissed, they're likely to stab you in the back later. Sayenu calls it pessimism, Ryu calls it realism, and she reminds him again how impossible he is. Even so, she's realized that Kang Yun's used to working just as hard as she does. That's why she asks Ryu to teach her more. She promises to hang on his every word and remember everything. Kang Yun's taken aback by her request, but she thinks she's a total badass for admitting he's got a point. The more Ryu gets to know this girl, the more interesting she gets, especially since she acknowledges talent and has the guts to apologize when she messes up. Just as he's about to say something to Cena, the door swings open. Cheol Seongmin barges into the office without knocking, which pisses Kang Yun off because he hates that kind of rudeness. Spotting the guy, she calls him by name, and he walks up to her, asking if they know each other. When Cena says her name, Seongmin finally remembers her. He shakes her hand, tells her how gorgeous she's become, and asks how she's doing. Stepping between them, Kang Yun tells him to cut the small talk and demands to know what Seongmin wants. According to the guy, Ryu wasn't answering his calls, so he had to come in person. Even though Kang Yun's saying he had his reasons, Seongmin laughs it off, saying he knows, which is why he came himself. He says he doesn't have time to wait for their meeting to end, but Ryu insists he doesn't have time for Che either. Seongmin asks for just half an hour, and Cena gets the vibe he's hinting she should leave. Our girl's about to head to her office, telling the old buddies to take their time and talk it out. Seongmin thanks her for that, but Kang Yun shouts it's not her who should be leaving. As she walks out, Che flops onto the couch, marveling at how comfy Ryu's office is. He cranes his neck, checking everything out, then asks how much all this cost, and if it's cool being a partner attorney. Seongmin wonders if Kang Yun thinks he made the right call, turning down so many offers and working here now. He asks if it's true Ki-se-na's the chairman's daughter, but Ryu tells him to cut to the chase. Seongmin thinks he's being harsh with his friend, but Kang Yun doesn't see it as friendship at all. Che's always used people, back in college and now. That's all their relationship ever was. Sunmin thinks the DA's office is trying to shake down their company apparently. Right now, they're running some kind of bribery investigation. When asked what's up with that, Sunmin says some big shots were taking kickbacks. He figures the DA's sniffing around for proof, and they'll get to them sooner or later. So Sunmin's company's a target for the DA, cause there's corruption, but not much proof. He's guessing Che's here, cause the bribery thing actually happened. Sunmin says kickbacks are everywhere, cause everyone wants something. They haven't raided the company yet, but it's gonna happen eventually. Kang Hyun's sure that if it's bribery, there's no hard evidence, and this is just a way to trash their rep. Thing is, this is a problem for Seongmin, because the company looking to invest is super protective of its rep. And these accusations could totally screw his firm out of a sweet deal. Kang Hyun sets a timer and puts his phone on the table, saying one of the directors might just confess to the prosecutor on his own. He figures if you're caught by the tail, chop it off. So Jay asks if he should rat out the guy who gave the bribe or the one who took it. Ryu reminds him their job isn't to rob the company blind, but to trash its image. So they just gotta get rid of whoever can handle the whole situation on their own. Seongmin feels bad about doing this, because apparently the guy's really popular right now. Kang Hyun already knows he's talking about Jay himself, but if the dude waffles, the company won't last till the power shift. Obviously nobody wants to lose their job, and maybe this time they gotta cave. Seongmin smiles and says he needs to think this over real hard. The more I watch Kang Hyun, the more I think he should be a strategist, not a lawyer. Seongmin's asking if he wants to join forces. I heard Ryu turn down a team leader position with a $1 billion salary, but he thinks it's better to have a choice than just settle. Kang Han doesn't usually give advice like this for free, but it's been less than 10 minutes, so he won't charge Seongmin. In return, he doesn't want to see that guy here again, but Che says he'd rather pay because he'll be back. Promising not to cause Ryu any trouble, Seungmin leaves his office. Suddenly remembering something, he turns to the secretary and asks where Ki-se-na's office is. She's totally surprised when Che Seungmin walks into her office. Se-na looks at her old flame, and even though memories like this should make her heart race, all she feels is failure. Noticing Seungmin checking out her office, she points out that Ryu's office is bigger. Chu says this office is perfect for her, because it's small, tidy, and super cozy. The dude thinks that parrot lamp especially suits Kisi. Last year, she defended a lamp designer in court, who married another designer, but they got divorced. The husband stole her design and won an award at some international competition. The official reason was betrayal and broken trust, but the investigation dug up some dirt. Turns out, the guy didn't marry her for love. He had a creative block, was jealous of her talent, and wanted to steal it. So, right after the wedding, he pushed for a kid and suggested she become a housewife, all to distract her from her career. In the end, the husband refused to admit guilt to the very end, saying they lived together because they had similar ideas. He claimed his wife should be happy for his success, and that it wasn't a reason for divorce. Still, the court ruled in favor of the wife, since it was clear there was no salvaging their relationship. After that, Cena's client designed something that screamed freedom and lightness. Before long, she was a world-renowned famous designer. She gifted one of those designs to her lawyer, to thank her for fighting for the freedom that Key inspired. The lead tells Songmin this unique lamp is a gift from that client of hers. But get this, next week she's moving to a bigger office. It's way bigger, so she can actually properly host Songmin because she barely has anything here. Cho wants to send her flowers to congratulate her on her career success and celebrate their chance meeting. Cena declines, but Songmin says he's genuinely happy to see her, saying he sometimes thought about her when he was abroad. She pretends to be flustered, but she knows he's full of it, considering he couldn't even remember her name a little while ago. Songmin suggests they grab lunch sometime, since they work in the same neighborhood, so it'd be easy to meet up. He's been back for ages, living in Seoul, and now he's handing Se-yoon his business card. Before she can even grab her own card from her bag, she sees he's already spotted it on the desk. That's when it hit her why Sungmin was so damn popular with the students back then. Sure, she's grown up, and Che doesn't impress her like he used to, but Ki seems just as cool as Kang Yun. Not wanting to keep her any longer, Sungmin says goodbye and promises to hit her up later. Plopping down in her chair, she thinks about how different she and Ryu are. One so cold and distant, the other so approachable. Twirling Sungmin's card in her fingers, she remembers how sweet and friendly he always was. She always figured he'd become a judge after he graduated from college. Never expected he'd end up leading the legal team for some huge company. Turns out she doesn't really know any of these guys at all. She used to just be jealous of them, so she tried to stay away. A knock comes at Cena's office door, and suddenly, Kang Hyun's standing there. He's got a folder of documents in his hands, and she remembers he was going to assign her a case. Sungmin showing up completely threw Cena off, and she totally spaced on it. Kai asks why he didn't just call her in, while Ryu's checking out the parrot lamp, saying how weird it is. Handing her the folder, he asks her to get familiar with the new case. It's a divorce case for the director of a company Kang Hyun's consulting for. Cena figures the guy's from a big organization, and the client could often be someone powerful. Out of nowhere, Ryu tells her that a girl was murdered in India a couple of years back. She's trying to figure out how the company they're talking about is connected to India. Kang Yun says there was no evidence, no witnesses, and the cops were totally stumped. The victim had no enemies, and the police questioned everyone around her, but there wasn't a single suspect. Ryu grins and tells me the only witness was the victim's parrot. Kang Yun asks if Cena knows parrots have the intelligence of, like, a 5-year-old. This smart bird recognized the perp and freaked out. And thanks to it, a dead-end case got cracked. The heroine asks if their current case has anything to do with that incident. Ryu says no. He just remembered that story when he saw the parrot lamp. Looking at him, Cena can't figure out how this guy's brain works, because normal people associate parrots with the tropics. The guy laughs and asks if that story wasn't interesting. The heroine opens the folder and finds pictures showing bruises on different parts of some guy's body. Kang Hyun says this is the condition of the client she's supposed to represent. Cena's asking who put him in this state, but Ryu wants her to figure it out herself. She realizes this guy couldn't have gotten these injuries overnight. Someone's been beating on him for a long time. Since the client's filing for divorce, that means his wife's been the one doing the beating. The heroine thinks they shouldn't be filing for divorce, but pressing charges for assault. I mean, these photos scream that this guy needs to be separated from his wife ASAP, and this has been going on for years. But, according to Kang Hyun, they can't do that because number one, the client doesn't want it. And it's not about fear of revenge. But either way, the abuse isn't the reason for this divorce. Cena doesn't get it. It's clearly domestic violence. They need to get a restraining order. Kang Hyun reminds her that their client wants an uncontested divorce, not a court battle. He also wants a non-disclosure agreement about the divorce reason, and he's ready to pay for her to agree. She just can't wrap her head around why the client wants to pay his wife off. Even if it's about cheating, it's still way too much. Kang Hyun asks if she's ever dealt with domestic abuse before, because it's pretty common. He's getting Cena to think that the wife is usually the victim in these cases, and asks her why that is. Most of the time, the husband's the aggressor, often because of some old-school mindset. But there can also be issues with anger and booze. Ryu points out that a husband who beats his wife will get trashed and held accountable. You don't even need a lawyer for that. But Cena's missing one thing. If a husband and wife both throw punches, the husband's gonna be seen as more threatening, just because of his size and strength. In that case, Kang Hyun asks her what happens if it turns out that the director of a trading company was beaten by his wife. She finally gets it. The client wants to protect his reputation, holding a ton of power that took years to build up. So the client doesn't qualify as a victim needing protection, but he could get re-traumatized because he'll be mocked. He's a successful businessman getting beat up by his wife, and nobody's gonna feel sorry for that. The heroine realized what Kang Yun meant. There's another problem with this case. Not only is the client's wife abusive, but she's also refusing to grant him a divorce. She threatened to expose all his secrets if he tries to force her into it, which makes things even harder. According to Kang Yun, there's more, and the heroine's amazed at how messed up this case is. In the event of a divorce, the wife is demanding a share of the company, but that's a no-go. Cena's horrified by what she's hearing. This case is getting more complicated with every detail. According to her, you couldn't expect anything else from Kang Yun. Divorce is a battle where the most important thing is the spouse's wrongdoings. They try to get as much benefit as possible. Leaning on the heroine's desk, Kang Yun asks if this means she won't take the case. When asked what Ryu would do if she refused, the guy says he hadn't thought about it, because he was sure she'd say yes. Cena tells him not to get her wrong, but she's only taking this case because she's curious. And she did say she's ready to learn from Kang Yun. Before leaving, Ryu tells the girl to keep her evening free, because she's got a meeting with a client. When Ki, shocked by his nerve, asks if he even considered she might have plans, Kang Yun just curtly says no. Turning to her and smirking, he replies that he was just planning on snatching Cena. He says goodbye to the girl for now and leaves the office, but she tells him to hold up. She wants to know if the girl's husband was behind that parrot incident. According to Kang Yun, it's obvious, because her nephew was the killer. The girl doesn't see what's obvious about killing your own aunt, but she figures out right away it was all about the money. Later that evening, the girl, with Kang Yun in tow, meets the client at some Korean restaurant. Ryu introduces them, and the guy hands Cena his business card. It says his client, Kim Taekju, is the CEO of a major pharmaceutical company. Looking at the guy, Kai wonders if he's covered in bruises like in those photos. Kim looks like a healthy, decent guy, and Cena wonders why Ryu showed her those pics and set up this meeting today. Taekju offers the lawyer a drink, and she hesitantly agrees. But Kang Yun tries to talk him out of it, saying it's their first meeting. Still, Cena waves Ryu off, insisting that a stiff drink is a good idea during a tough conversation. The guy's definitely feeling anxious, so he could use the alcohol right now. CEO Kim downs 2 shots of sake back-to-back. And seeing his discomfort, Ryu offers to reschedule if he wants. Kang Yun even offers to step out if it'd make the client more comfortable, but Taekju insists he hear him out too. He sighs, then starts spilling how he tried to act all tough as the director, while his wife was beating him at home. This year was their 18th wedding anniversary, and they've got 2 kids. The guy's just glad his son's at boarding school and his daughter's in Canada, so they don't have to see their dad like this. He downs another shot, takes another deep breath, and Kim starts saying it all started 5 years ago, after his mom died. When they were introduced, they weren't exactly spring chickens, and they got hitched 3 months later. Their families were on the same level, but less than a year after the wedding, his wife's family went bankrupt, totally wiped out. They were fighting over their stuff, and at first, Kim's mom didn't say anything, but it was clearly getting to her. But later on, the old lady kept calling Taeju's wife and threatening her with divorce. She couldn't wrap her head around how their business could collapse in a year, and figured her family was a bunch of scammers. The woman would humiliate her daughter-in-law at every holiday, right in front of the whole family. A toxic relationship with your husband's family is a totally legit reason to split up. And if that conflict's unresolved, it'll destroy all the relationships involved. But Kim Joo couldn't stand up for himself, since his parents were funding his business. His wife wanted a divorce, because she couldn't take the abuse, so Kim suggested having a kid. He figured if they had a grandchild, his mom would leave his wife alone. Kim admits he was useless, so he avoided his wife and mother. Whenever Kim was at work or traveling, his mom would constantly insult and provoke his daughter-in-law. All he could do for his wife was throw money at the problem, forgetting about the emotional support. Kim thought she'd be happy getting jewelry, clothes, and designer bags. When his wife's parents lost their fortune, he'd send them cash and even built them a house on the outskirts. But it didn't make her feel any better. Taekju's mom ran her mouth about his wife till the day she died. When the old woman finally kicked the bucket, he felt relief, not grief. Kim figured she wouldn't harass his wife anymore, and things would finally get better. But man, was he dead wrong. Once her target was gone, his wife started blaming Kim for everything. Then one day, Taekju came home, dog-tired from work, and she snapped, attacking him for the first time. She was screaming, throwing anything she could get her hands on, then started kicking and punching him. This went on for 5 years, and Taekju tried everything, even therapy and living apart. But years of built-up trauma ain't easy to fix. So now he just sighs and admits it's all his fault. After hearing her client's story, our girl's wondering who really started this whole mess. This whole thing's a mess of his wife's bankruptcy, his family not helping even though they could afford to, and his mother-in-law straight up bullying her. It's a relationship that no amount of effort from the husband could save. Plus, you can't just ignore family ties. In this case, it was like the perfect storm of everything going wrong at once. Cena is saying Taeju isn't to blame, and that he deserves respect for how considerate he is to his wife. But if he starts blaming himself, he's just gonna keep making excuses for why he gets treated like crap. Hanging his head, Kim says with a sad voice that his wife wasn't always like this. He fell in love with her amazing smile the second he saw it, you know? And now he can't stand watching her scream and cry. Her suffering is eating him alive. Cena silently grabs a bottle from the table and pours herself a glass of soju. Ryu Kang Yun whispers, telling his coworker he's had enough to drink. She's getting annoyed by his fear that she'll screw up the meeting, like she hasn't done this before. So, ignoring Kang Hyun, she downs her drink in one go. Kim Taek-ju thanks the lawyers for listening to such a long story, but Cena understands how tough this guy's got it. He doesn't want to hate his wife, but she's leaving him no choice, and he doesn't know what to do. Taek-ju's scared. They'll both just end up dead if they keep living like this. As soon as thoughts of death cross his mind, he reminds himself about the company and the kids. But right now, even those things aren't helping at all. Cena tells the man not to be so hard on himself and promises to help him out. Meanwhile, Ryu Kang Hyun's already regretting that the meeting was set up in a place like this. These two are already hammered from all the emotional baggage. I feel like a fifth wheel. Cena's convinced she can help Mr. Kim out, if he's willing to work with her. Her promising to do everything she can is really getting to the guy, making him emotional. She's telling him she's an expert in this field, and all he needs to do is trust her. Taeju pulls an envelope out of his bag and hands it to Cena. Inside is an invite to a charity gala his company's throwing. The guy suggests she come to the event and meet his wife while she's there. Without missing a beat, Cena accepts the invitation. But, according to Kim, the evening's all about helping needy kids, and it's only for married couples. The girl's quick to explain to the client that she's not married. Taeju noticed Ryu Kang Hyun's invited too, so they can go together, because it doesn't matter if they're spouses or partners. After seeing off a client, she's breathing hard. Feels like she's about to puke. Kang Yun thinks she should have stopped when he told her to, and offers some hangover meds, but Cena refuses. She blames him, saying he let her drink alone after hearing that client's story, someone who needed support. Kang Yun reminds her he's a lawyer, not a drinking buddy, and asks if she always counsels clients like that. Cena thinks he wouldn't get it, since he's in a completely different field. I mean, a divorce consultation isn't just about convincing someone to split up or reconcile. It's about understanding the client's pain and why they want a divorce. Do they actually want to fix things, or just get some compensation? The client's on a ship called Divorce, and the lawyer is the captain, guiding them and pointing them in the right direction. Cena's asking if Kang Hyun even gets what she's trying to say. Rao smirks, says he knew her intentions were good from the start. He was just griping. She brings up the charity gala they're supposed to go to together. But Kang Hyun cuts her off, asking who said he's going. He never planned on accepting the invite, because if he gave every client that much attention, he'd never sleep. Cena's confused, asking what he expects her to do then. Dude reminds her she thinks she's a pro, so she should figure it out herself. But then he grins and asks if she wants them to actually go together, like a married couple. Cena, getting annoyed, repeats her question to Kang Yun, but he just mocks her, repeats his question back, and that's the last straw. The guy's smirking at her, but she's practically radiating, "I'm pissed." He's just blown away by how much her face can say without her even opening her mouth. Suddenly, Cena jumps up, asking why he won't help her out, when he's always giving tips to everyone else, especially since he said he doesn't hate her. She's confused why he's refusing, especially since this kind of setup should be right up his alley. Kang Yun crosses his arms and tells her she's pushing it if this is some kind of accusation. But then, with a grin, he suggests testing the lawyer's skills and seeing if she can pull off playing the wife. Cena's got to talk about the divorce not like a lawyer, but like a spouse. The girl asks if he's serious, and Ryu confirms that he is. Once Cena felt like she'd sobered up enough after drinking, Kang Yun drove her home. She thanks him, says goodbye, and heads inside, while he keeps watching her for a bit. He's betting that in any other situation, she'd have said no, even if you begged her on your knees. Ryu can't figure out why he's digging this side of her, when she's being all whiny and clingy. Usually, to everyone else, this girl is a totally different person. It's funny to him that she acts so different around him. And on top of that, he's gotta admit, he likes it. Other people only see Kisang's arrogant front, but Ryu's seen what's behind it. He can't believe he's feeling this way about her, so he pushes the thought away and peels out of the parking lot. The next day at work, our girl gets a text from a number she doesn't recognize. The message is asking to meet up Friday night, and Cena figures someone just has the wrong number. Before she can even reply to double-check, her phone starts ringing right away. A guy's voice on the other end asks if she really doesn't have his number saved. "So, Cheon Seung-min here, and I gotta say, that's a real bummer to hear." Cena apologizes for, totally spacing and not saving his number. Since she never got back to him, he figured he'd just take the initiative himself. Seungmin's reiterating his offer to hang out Friday night. She's kinda stuck, because she's already got that charity thing planned for that day. She decides to just be straight with him, so she apologizes and turns him down. To make things a little less awkward, Cena suggests grabbing lunch next week instead. She promises to call ahead to set it up, and Seungmin says he'll be waiting. Hanging up, she starts digging through her papers, trying to find his business card, which she thinks she left right here. Lately, she's been so swamped with work, she's clearly been a little out of it. Just then, she gets a text from Kang Yun, asking where he should pick her up Friday at 7. Cena suggests they meet up in the Gangnam Nababdong area. Friday evening, Kang Hyun arrives at the agreed-upon spot, pulls into a parking space and gets out of his car. He lights a cigarette and reads a message from Cena, who sent him a list of questions about his preferences. She wants to know his favorite place, food, color, movie genre, favorite book, and his ideal type of girl. Ryu replies that his favorite place is home. He's not picky about food. He likes the color black, crime thrillers. His favorite book is The Penal Code, and he doesn't have an ideal type of girl. When she asks if he could give a serious answer, he texts back that he took the whole thing super seriously. When Ryu asks Cena to answer the same questions, she gives detailed answers to each one. The guy's about to light another cigarette, but then he hears the click-clack of heels behind him. Turning around, Kang Hyun sees a lavishly dressed Cena standing before him, and he can't take his eyes off her for a moment. She smiles and he, snapping out of it, blushes like crazy. Cena apologizes for taking so long and making him wait, but Kang Hyun doesn't say a word, just stares at her silently. She feels totally ridiculous in this outfit and starts listing out loud who she thinks she looks like. It's the first time she's dressed like this, and Ryu's stare just makes her feel even more awkward. Cena complains that she put in so much effort, and he can't even give her a compliment. Since he's still not saying anything, she leaves him to finish his cigarette and starts to get in the car. But Ryu tosses his smoke in the trash, catches up to her, and opens the door for her. He holds her head so she doesn't bump it and helps her into the car. After that, Kang Hyun gets in the driver's seat and lets out a heavy sigh. He couldn't figure out why he froze up and couldn't say a damn thing to her. He could have come up with a million ways to tell her how gorgeous she was, but he just choked. Because honestly, no words could have captured what he was feeling in that moment. The awkward silence gets broken by Cena, who suddenly starts gushing over his new car. She's bombarding Ryu with questions about whether it's comfortable to drive, and if it's got autopilot. Kang Hyun tries to jump in, and finally, after psyching himself up, give her a compliment, but Cena just keeps on yapping about the car, imagining she'll get one just like it when she makes partner. Ryu, finally losing it, is about to cut her off and tell her she looks beautiful tonight, but he chickens out and just tells her to buckle up, even though she already did. A little while later, they're walking into the exhibition hall where the charity event is being held. Kang Hyun's totally confused when Cena just grabs his arm out of nowhere. She smiles and reminds him, all sneaky, about their little partnership. Then Ryu, without even hesitating, laughs and grabs her hand. He figures that's how married couples are supposed to act in public. When she asks which married couples hold hands in places like this, Ryu says newlyweds do. He tells her they should pretend to be newlyweds and drags her into the hall. Cena can't wrap her head around this guy, who at first didn't want to come, but now he's putting on this whole show. Suddenly, a little ways off, she spots her client, and his wife is right next to him. With her skinny frame and tired face, she looks more like a little fawn. It's hard to believe that this woman could cause her husband so much pain. Kim Taekju gives his buddy, the lawyer Ryu Kang Yun, a big hello. Kang Hyun thanks him for the invite and introduces his wife, Cena, to the couple. Shin Ju-eun introduces herself to the girl and tells her how glad she is that she came. Cena admits this is her first time at something like this and asks Ju-eun to show her around. Taekju's all for it, saying he actually needs to chat with Kang Hyun about something. She's about to head off with the hostess, but Ryu stops her. He takes the jacket off her shoulders and tells her to put her hands in the sleeves. Then Kang Hyun buttons it up real careful, saying it's chilly in here and she might catch a cold. Cena thinks it's a little weird, but Ryu's sure he's just being a loving, caring husband. She thinks he looks less caring and more ridiculous, but Kang Hyun thinks it's not that bad. While they're off to the side, bickering, Madam Shinju Yoon is watching everything unfold. When Cena gets back, she apologizes for making her wait, says she and her husband needed to talk. Out of the blue, Shinju asks the girl if they married for love. While our girl's figuring out what to say, the woman points out that it's obvious they're really good together. Shin says she saw Kang Hyun with her husband once, and he seemed like a pretty cold guy. But you never really know what someone's like, right? People usually only see the surface. Listening to her are girls trying to figure out what Shin even wants from her own husband. The woman explains that she and her husband run a bunch of charitable foundations. Usually, these events are set up like art sales for new artists, and a portion of the profits goes to charity. Some of that art's on display today, and you can bid on stuff if you want. Shin figures he'll give Cena the grand tour of every single exhibit. The girl's all eyes, checking out the paintings. Shinju stops at one and asks Cena what she thinks of the artwork. She turns around, and a shiver runs down her spine. The painting just fills her with this crazy dread. She admits she doesn't know much about art, but this piece just creeps her out for some reason. It's like something's hiding in that darkness, ready to jump out at you any second. Hearing that, Shinju suddenly bursts out laughing. The girl's totally confused, wondering what she said that was so damn funny. She wraps it up, saying no one in their right mind would hang something like that in their house. And that's when Shin confesses that it's her painting. Hearing that, she gets all awkward and tries to explain herself, but Madame Ju tells her not to bother. She thought the girl's comment about someone wanting to jump out of the painting was pretty interesting. Even she doesn't remember what she was trying to capture when she painted it, or if she was feeling angry, sad, or if it was even really her. Maybe she was just trying to get away from something when she painted it. But now, Shin suddenly realizes that the flood of emotions she felt back then was fear. After a pause, the woman asks Cena what she does for a living, says she's good at reading people, and she knew at first glance that lawyer Kang Yun was no joke. And since Cena's his wife, she's obviously not some pushover either. Shin steps closer to the girl and asks if she's a psychiatrist. The heroine admits she's a lawyer too. The woman smiles and says she already knew that. She figured it out right away, because her husband can't lie to save his life. When Cena asked Shin for a tour, Kim Tak was practically begging to leave, so she knew you were here to see her. The heroine confirms it and admits she wanted to hear her story. Shin asks Cena if she'll get in trouble if she doesn't tell her anything. The heroine says no and insists she can refuse to answer. But then, with a sigh, she tells the girl to follow her. Not finding a good private place to sit, they head out onto the balcony. Shin asks Cena if she and Kang Hyun are really married. So, the main character decides to come clean, saying she and Ryu are just co-workers. Shin thinks they're actually a good match, like, totally picture perfect as a couple. The girl's just not feeling it though. They're polar opposites in everything, from what they like to their personalities. Still, the woman believes opposites usually attract, you know? She says she and her husband are too alike, and that's why they clash so much. Since Se-nu already knows the basics of their story, she asks Shin to spill her feelings. The woman asks if the girl wants to know why she hasn't divorced yet, or why she hits her husband, or why she lives like this. The main character replies that she wants to know what Shin really wants. The woman asks if Kai has ever hated someone so much she wanted them dead, like fighting the urge to strangle them when they turn their back, or stab them with the knife in your hand. You know, like wanting to crash the car when you're riding with someone, or hoping they get struck by lightning in a storm, or maybe just push them off a cliff. According to Shin, that's how she felt about her mother-in-law. It was supposed to be an arranged marriage between two families. But when her family went bankrupt, her mother-in-law began to hate her. When Shin first got pregnant, the old lady showed up at their place and dragged her around by the hair. Her mother-in-law claimed she did it to try and trap her son. Without even realizing it, Shin probably decided right then and there that she'd get revenge for all the pain and suffering one day. When the mother-in-law finally kicked the bucket, it seemed like Kim Tak-ju was relieved. But Shin herself was devastated, because the woman she hated died peacefully. She thought it was totally unfair, and was ready to go to hell to get her revenge, so she OD'd on pills to follow her. But she lived. So, with a smile, she asks Cena if her husband ever mentioned any of this. She figures Mr. Kim probably didn't even know, otherwise he would have blabbed about it right away. But Shin herself admits her husband had no clue. He was too busy back then. While she was living in hell, he was just acting like everything was normal. That's why Shin started beating her husband. His mom loved him so much. It was the only way to get back at her. Turning to Saina, Madame Ju asks her, as a lawyer, does she think there's enough cause for divorce? Any guy would be ashamed to admit his own wife's beating him up. And if Saina really wants to know what she thinks, she wishes he'd sink even lower. She wants him to feel what it was like for her, falling deeper and deeper into that living hell every single day. But Shin just injures him, and he apologizes. And then he has the nerve to ask for a divorce. Even when his mom was giving her hell, all he did was apologize to them. They never fought each other, but Kim never stood up for his own wife. He'd support her in private, but wouldn't even try to defend her in public. Shin could feel how pointless all this two-faced nonsense was. And after wasting years of her life being miserable, she's not giving him a divorce. With that said, Shin leaves the balcony. Time to get this event started. Cena tries to stop her, but she walks right past and bumps into Kang Hyun on the way. Our girl just collapses to the floor and admits she screwed up big time. She asks Ryu what he's doing here, and he says everyone was wondering where his wife went, so he came to get her. Cena says she screwed up that too, and they can stop pretending now. Ryu sits next to the girl and tells her he's really bummed, because now he won't get to learn more about himself through her questions. He was watching the women, and it looked to him like they were having a pretty good conversation. Cena sighs, finding out that Kang Yun could see them perfectly from the garden. According to her, this is a disaster, because she doesn't know what that woman wants, but she definitely won't let him get divorced. But, turns out, Ryu was talking to her too, and what she said was actually pretty insightful. Cena's dying to know what Shinju said to the lawyer. He said the woman claimed this fire can't be stopped anymore, and it'll only die down when everything's burned to the ground. That must mean she's gonna see this thing through to the very end, no matter what it takes. Cena thinks she failed as a lawyer, since she couldn't even think on her feet when Shin asked her what she did for a living. And here she was, sitting in the salon, getting her hair done, planning out exactly what she'd say to Madame Ju when they met. Instead of asking the questions, she's suddenly caught up in someone else's drama. Cena can't figure out what a couple could possibly want from each other after all that. Maybe it's about splitting the stocks during the divorce. Listening to the girl lament, Ryu instinctively reaches out to comfort her. But, catching himself, he stops. Leaning over her, he asks why. Out of all the legal fields, she decided to specialize in divorces. Cena, confused by the sudden question, shoots one back, wondering why he quit being a prosecutor. Lost in thought, Kang Yun replies that he didn't have a choice. She doesn't buy it, since he always knew things others didn't. Worked in special forces, and became a top-tier prosecutor. Ryu says things just don't always go as planned. Like when a key part of that plan depends on someone's trust. He immediately switches the subject, suggests we head inside since it's getting windy out here. I want to stay out here a bit longer, so I tell Kang Yun to go in first. Without a word, he takes off his jacket and puts it around my shoulders. I admit I thought he was a cold guy, but his jacket is so warm. I'm about to say something else, but I cut myself off real quick and clam up. Ryu's waiting for me to finish, but there's no way I can say it out loud. Back then, when he covered me with his jacket, it warmed me so much, I mistook him for someone else. Kang Yun's trying to figure out why I suddenly clammed up, but I just tell him to forget about it. Instead, Cena decides to tell him why she became a divorce lawyer. People often shared their stories with her, and she wanted to understand them. Everybody breaks up and hurts for different reasons, different situations, you know? Cena figured if she became a divorce lawyer, she could understand and forgive one specific person. When Ryu asks her who she's talking about, she tells him it's her mom. Without looking up, she wonders what Kang Yun's thinking, what he looks like right now. Is he frowning because the topic's heavy, or is his face just blank as usual? Either way, she never expected what he blurted out next. Looking her straight in the eye, Ryu just drops that she's really beautiful. Cena's pissed that he's randomly complimenting her, now, when he should have said it when she left the salon. Then it hits her that maybe he's just trying to comfort her, that's all. Looking annoyed, she says like, duh, she knows she's hot, everybody and their dog knows it. Ryu smirks and says he was talking about the beauty of her heart. Ruffling her hair, he laughs, adding that her looks are totally not his type. His attitude pisses her off again, and she jumps at the chance to say he's not her type either. She promises to seduce him and then dump him. And while Ryu doubts she can, Cena thinks he's just scared of falling for her. Realizing they're both acting like teenagers, the girl suggests they stop bickering. In that moment, she thinks that no matter how much her dad wants Kang Yun as a son-in-law, and whatever he's offering, the result is obvious. This guy can't possibly have any feelings for her. If everything she wanted came easy, Cena would never have signed a contract on these terms. Ryu snaps her out of her thoughts by standing up and suggesting they head home. But when Cena puts her hand in his, he suddenly pulls her close and hugs her tight. She's trying to figure out what he's up to. Ryu pulls her close again, telling her he thinks he's the only one who sees how truly beautiful she is. Suddenly, the problem you've been racking your brain over is so easy to solve. You just gotta face it head on, and boom. The answer just appears right in front of you, whether she's pissed off, yelling, or giving you that haughty, nasty look. When she's trying her hardest to make amends, or helping everyone with that fighting spirit of hers, the way her eyes light up when she talks to him. Every single one of those moments is beautiful to Ryu, and he wants what he likes about her to be for his eyes only. Kang Hyun asks if it'll sound weird, and if he'll seem messed up, if he says she's even more beautiful. On Monday, Cena walks into her new office and takes it all in. Okay, it's smaller than the partners' offices, sure, but the lighting's better, and there's enough room for everything. She originally wanted to put her desk by the window, soak up the sun, you know? But now she's thinking of putting a couch there instead. Make clients more comfortable during consultations. Suddenly, there's a knock at the door, and a delivery guy walks into the office. After confirming her last name, he hands her a bouquet of flowers, sent to her name from Chi Song Min. Cena's trying to figure out why he'd send such a gift. It's way too extravagant just to celebrate her promotion. Instantly, she pinches her nose and squeezes her eyes shut, tears already streaming down, because she's seriously allergic to flowers. In the note, Songmin wished her a future that bloomed, just like a flower. Guess Cena should have told him about the allergy in the first place, so he wouldn't waste his money though. I guess it's the thought that counts, right? She walks out of the office, trying to figure out where to put the damn flowers. Just then, she bumps into Kang Hyun in the hallway. Looking at his stone-cold face, she flashes back to what he told her on the balcony that day. Cursing herself for getting so flustered around him, Cena mentally tells herself to get it together. Ryu asks where she got the bouquet, and she explains that Songmin sent it. In a heartbeat, the guy in front of her suddenly turns darker than a thundercloud. Not holding back, he calls Che a sick bastard, which totally shocks Cena. She offers Ryu the flowers if he likes them, since she's allergic to the pollen, but he says he doesn't want them, and she starts wondering what to do with them. Suddenly, a great idea pops into her head. She could give the bouquet to Director K. When he asks why that thought's so funny, Cena replies that her dad's got the same allergy. Girl spots the glass in Kang Hyun's hand and asks what the drink is. Turns out, Ryu got it for her, figuring she didn't have time for breakfast with the office move. She's seriously impressed that Kang Yun cares so much about his staff. They head outside and chill in the shade of the gazebo, where Cena's happily sipping her drink. After the first taste, she smiles, because Ryu brought her favorite watermelon juice. It's super hard to find this time of year, and Cena asks him to get it for her next time, or tell her where he found it so she can buy it herself. Kang Yun smiles and suggests they grab lunch together today. He wants to know her schedule so they can figure out the best time to sneak out. Ryu suggests bibimbap with beef carpaccio for lunch, and Cena compliments his awesome choice. They agree to meet at 1 in his office, and Kang Hyun gets up to head back inside. She watches him walk away, wondering why Ryo's acting like nothing happened today. Maybe those words weren't a confession at all, and she just imagined the whole thing. I mean, he was being super vague, and the timing was all wrong. But for some reason, she thought Ryu was confessing his feelings, because if she was right, they would have talked about it on the way home, at least a little. But he didn't ask a single question, didn't even give a hint that anything was up. Thinking about it, Kang Yun was just being his usual self. Now she's starting to think she's got way too much confidence, and that's why she jumped to conclusions. Right before their meeting, Kang Hyun called Sayenu to his office, and when she walked in, he hung up the phone right away, even though he was talking to someone. He tells her that even though they were supposed to grab lunch, he's got an important meeting and has to leave right after noon. She suggests they eat separately today, but he tells her to sit down, because he already ordered delivery. Kang Hyun's really hoping Cena digs this lunch. She's stoked. Never thought she'd be crushing food like this at the office. Chowing down, she's surprised she's never heard of this place, even after living in the neighborhood for 7 years. Ryu smiles, saying the cafe's near the prosecutor's office, and he used to grab lunch there pretty often. He says it tastes even better at the actual restaurant, because they serve it in a copper bowl. Cena admits she also likes her bibimbap in copper bowls better than clay ones. She thinks beef tastes better cooked in clay pots, and Ryu agrees with her on that. Still digging into her lunch, she tells Kang Hyun she spent the whole weekend thinking about that fire Shin Ju-eun mentioned. Cena thinks she's figured out why that woman used that specific word. She asks Kang Hyun if he knows that when you can't put out a forest fire, they stop it with fire. The guy realizes she's talking about fighting fire with fire. Backdraft is when firefighters deliberately torch an area ahead of a wildfire to stop it from spreading. Shinju is saying she wants her husband to suffer just as much as she did. So, putting it all together, she wants him to give her a taste of her own medicine. Ryu agrees that when someone just lashes out in one direction, it doesn't really make them feel better. But Cena can't tell Director Kim to hit his wife back. She's so worried, she's been thinking about it all weekend, and it's given her a headache. Ryu tells her to just keep eating and asks if anyone's ever told her she's kind of tactless. Putting on airs, she claims she can read minds, since she even figured out Shin meant fighting fire with fire. Kang Yun backs her up and tells them again to get back to eating. Cena promises to forgive him just because the lunch was really good. She's back at it, scarfing down her food, and Kang Hyun's just beaming at her. Later, behind the wheel, Ryu's replaying their whole conversation in his head. He remembers her saying she can read minds, and a smirk creeps across his face. Even though Kang Hyun had some urgent business pop up, he didn't want to ditch Cena. So, he waited around the restaurant for like an hour and just grabbed takeout instead. Ryu was second-guessing himself, but her happy little face totally shut down those doubts. She's exactly the kind of subordinate you want to take care of, the kind you want to get closer to. But Kang Hyun's feeling something else for Cena too, and he can't quite put his finger on it. But he knows time will tell. For now, he's just gonna get closer to her, little by little, one step at a time. Ryu's gonna open up his heart and wait for Cena to figure it out on her own. The only thing bugging him is knowing that Chae Sung-min's up to something. But that guy wasn't worthy to stand next to her 10 years ago, and he sure as hell isn't now. And even though Cena has no clue, Kang Yun's dead set on getting rid of him. Meanwhile, the heroine calls Song-min, who answers and says her calling him first is even better than he expected. Cena thanks him for the bouquet, saying it wasn't necessary, deciding to keep the whole crying and sniffling part to herself. Song-min tells her not to worry about it, because he gave her the gift from the heart. Then Chae suddenly adds that he's trying to make up for lost time, saying if he hadn't gone abroad back then, they'd definitely be close. An awkward silence hangs in the air, because the heroine doesn't know how to respond to that. Finally, she decides to change the subject and asks when Song-min's free, so she can take him to dinner, like she promised. The guy doesn't want to waste any time, so he suggests meeting up tonight. Checking her schedule, Cena promises to swing by Song-min's office after work. So, Chae says that's the plan, and he'll be waiting for her tonight. She hangs up, feeling like she did the right thing. No way she wants to owe Song-min anything. Knock, knock! It's attorney Han standing in the doorway. She's just popping in to see Cena's new office, and she's genuinely happy for her, looking around. She tells Han it's about time he moved up to the second floor too. She's betting their team will kill it, because Cena knows better than anyone how talented she is. She pulls out a chair and tells Attorney Kai to have a seat. She knows that look on Han's face. It's the I'm about to dish some dirt look. Out of nowhere, she's like, she walked past Kang Yun's office, and it was empty. When asked why she's suddenly talking about Ryu, she whispers that she's heard some things about him. She's asking Cena if she knows why he quit the prosecutor's office. When she says no, Han tells her it was because of some woman. That sounds like total BS to her. She can hardly believe Kang Yun would give up his position for something like that. Still, Han insists her husband's friend works at the Seoul prosecutor's office, and he's the one who told her this story. Apparently, the woman was Ryu's subordinate, worked in the same office as him. Cena, while she can't say it's impossible, just finds it hard to believe Kang Yun was involved in some workplace scandal with a colleague. Han doesn't get why she thinks that. Everyone's got their dirty laundry, right? A prosecutor who just got promoted would only quit for some kind of personal reason. At first, Han figured Ryu was having an affair, but then it turned out he'd grabbed a prosecutor several ranks above him by the collar because of that girl. That also sounds weird to Cena. She always thought Kang Yun's main weapon was his words, and now he's suddenly throwing down? He always seems so level-headed, like nothing could get to him. But if the rumors are true, he was seriously pissed, and it definitely wasn't over something small. Han says even though Ryu seems cold and calculating, this could have happened to anyone. Cena's thinking maybe that prosecutor was guilty of something too. We shouldn't jump to conclusions without knowing all the details. Han's sticking to her guns, telling Cena not to judge a book by its cover, especially since she doesn't know Kang Yun that well. She can't really argue with that, because she honestly didn't know the guy back then. This coworker is majorly disappointed in Ryu, especially since the prosecutor's office is all about hierarchy, and he went after a senior. She admits she's emotional, but she always takes her work seriously. The heroine remembers Prosecutor Park saying that Kang Yun turned the whole prosecutor's office upside down. But he also said that Ryu was a total pro. Getting fired over something like that just seems messed up and raises a ton of questions. So, she wants to know if Han is sure about what he's saying, and the lawyer answers with absolute certainty. She wanted to dig deeper, but the prosecutor's office issued a gag order. They're probably hiding it out of embarrassment. As far as Ki Saying knows, that's confidential info, and that's what the official letter stated. And now she wants to know exactly who told Han about this, and where he even heard it from. The woman smirks, noting that even though Saina's acting like she doesn't care, she's gathered a pretty solid amount of info. The protagonist replies with unwavering calm that she found out about it by accident, and as far as she's aware, Attorney Kang Hyun wouldn't get involved with a coworker. And even if he did, he definitely wouldn't quit his job over it. Sane is positive there's gotta be another explanation for all of this. That's exactly why she needs to know who else Han's blabbed this story to. While she's putting on this whole act like she's not a gossip, Ki-sang's body language is screaming the opposite. She's thinking Ryu might brush off the rumors, but who knows what he'll do if it messes with his work. So, she asks Attorney Han to keep everything they just talked about strictly between them. This woman needs to be careful, because if she's wrong and Kang Hyun catches her, she's toast. Han promises to stay quiet. And before she leaves, she asks our girl when they're having a company party. Ki-sang's put together a team, and something like that would be great for boosting team spirit. Han figures they should all get together, have a few drinks, and really open up. She suggests inviting Attorney Ryu too, since he's their consultant, right? It'll help them get closer to him and figure out if all these rumors are legit. Now she's alone, the heroine wonders if Kang Hyun would really drag a senior colleague by the collar over a girl. She can't even picture what he's like dating, or who he's even been with. Ryu always seems so cold, but he can be really nice sometimes, and if he doesn't even have a type, who could a guy like that possibly be dating? If those rumors are true, does he just dive headfirst into relationships without thinking? Cena scolds herself for letting her imagination run wild and forces herself to get back to work, instead of fantasizing about stuff like that. After work, our girl heads to the restaurant they agreed on, which is pretty close to Sungmin's office. The guy practically bounces over to the table, totally psyched for a great dinner with a beautiful woman. Cena thinks it's nothing compared to that huge bouquet he sent her. Smiling, she tells him she also invited Kang Hyun to dinner, since she remembered they wanted to meet, and Ryu promised he'd come. Sungmin's face just totally shifted. Oblivious, she's going on about how the two buddies are still tight. The waitress drops off the drinks, and Sungmin, raising his glass, admits he was hoping it would just be the two of them tonight. Seuna says that was the plan, but Kang Yun called her on the way here. As she talks, Songmin's getting slammed with flashbacks. 10 years ago, his girl gave Che a ride home, and he helped her out of the car. She was floored when she saw where her boyfriend lived. The girl compared his little house to her dog's kennel, saying the dog lived better than him. But Songmin wasn't mad about what she said, figuring she was just being a dumb kid saying whatever popped into her head. After all, she was used to living differently, because she lucked out being born into a rich family. She probably couldn't even imagine living in a tiny place like 280 square feet, with the kitchen, laundry, and toilet all crammed into one. Grinning, he told her all the students managed somehow, since they gotta pay for tuition, rent, and everything else. But Songmin was happy, because he was a student at a top-tier university, and he could always find tutoring gigs to make some extra cash. She asked him how much he made tutoring, and offered to just give him the money, so he could spend more time with her. Songmin told her not to be ridiculous, because who wants their girl paying for them? He was stoked for his exams, dreaming of becoming a lawyer and buying her anything her heart desired. Thing is, this girl was the only daughter of the guy who owned that company everyone knows about. He knew she could be his golden ticket out of the pathetic life he was stuck in. When she suggested they head to a hotel, he turned her down, saying he had an exam in the morning, needed to ace it for the scholarship, and actually be able to pay her back. The girl told him she got him that watch, so he'd look good, not so he'd feel like he owed her anything. She kept pushing him to quit tutoring and forget about the scholarship, promising to take care of everything herself. She was just super lonely because they barely ever saw each other. But Songmin kept saying he couldn't just drift aimlessly, that he needed to grind and make something of himself. He asked her to hang in there a little longer, promising things would change soon. Songmin knew he had to play the part of the innocent boyfriend who just wanted love. He had to blind her with the illusion that she'd found a genuinely good dude. And she fell for it, convinced he was the only one who didn't want anything from her. She told him not to worry about a thing and just love her. Songmin made some dramatic hand gesture, acting all happy that someone loved him so much. Pulling her close, he whispered how miserable his life would be without her. Kang Yun, who was out back for a smoke, overheard the whole thing. The girl again begged Songmin to quit tutoring and offered him a card to pay for anything he needed. He refused to take it, making a show of it. But she insisted and already started the car to head home. She added as a last word that if he loved her, he'd take the card. And Songmin didn't argue anymore. He wished her a safe trip and watched the car drive away. Once she was gone around the corner, Songmin started walking towards his building. Kang Hyun was squatting around the corner, head down, not paying any attention to him. He and Songmin entered the university at the same time. But maybe because Ryu was quiet, or because he was so blunt, nobody was close to him. Neither classmates nor neighbors really knew anything about him, except that he was the head of the department. Songmin spoke first, asking if Kang Hyun knew him, to which he dryly replied that they both knew each other. Cho decided to keep the conversation going, and asked Ryu if he'd seen everything that just went down between him and the girl. Kang Hyun made it clear with his whole vibe that he couldn't care less and started heading for the entrance. Songmin tried to stop him, but he just said he didn't give a damn what he was up to. But then, Ryu suddenly stopped, turned around, and asked if Che really had an exam tomorrow. Kang Yun was always super weird, like he didn't care he lived in a dump, and he never held back, just said whatever he wanted. Being his neighbor, Songmin could hook up with different girls and bring 2 or 3 over for the night. But Ryu didn't care, unless it involved him. Songmin replied that the exam was just an excuse, the most reliable play for a college kid. Grinning, he said he'd treat Kang Hyun if the plan worked. Ryu and Songmin always had totally different values. That's why they never ran into each other, and barely knew the same people. Songmin wasn't hiding his sneaky side, and even though they were never friends, somehow they knew each other better than anyone. Those weird vibes between them could easily pass for friendship to most people. A couple months later, Songmin's girlfriend asked him to study abroad together. Maybe if he'd made a different call back then, things between them would be even a little different now. According to Cena, Kang Yun would be stoked to see Seongmin, She mentions she hasn't seen him in ages either. Jae's thinking Ryu wouldn't look up Cena's number and cold call her. Seriously, he just happened to land a partner gig at this firm? For a guy who came from nothing, he's way too damn lucky. Cena's saying how she used to hate Kang Yun, and Seungmin replies that a lot of people didn't like him. So I gotta ask, did you know Chae was secretly looking out for me back in college? I know, it doesn't sound like Ryu, but I thought the same thing, and now I'm sure he did. She figures he just doesn't brag about his good deeds, which basically makes her an ungrateful nobody. Seonmin doesn't think Kang Hyun was worried about her. He just did whatever the hell he wanted. She laughs, saying that's not totally true. And plus, Young-hee told her something similar. She's pretty surprised that Chae, unlike Kang Hyun, immediately knew who she was talking about. Honestly, Seonmin wasn't really thinking about who she meant, assuming Cena was talking about one of the girls who were chasing after him. She was hoping he could tell her more about Kang Hyun, who always struck her as a bit of an oddball. She had no idea he was helping her back then, and when he first joined the company, she was constantly hiding from him at first. Cena admits she almost died of embarrassment when she finally found out. Seonmin can't help but notice that all she's been talking about for the last half hour, during dinner, is Ryu Kang Yun. Cena probably doesn't even realize she's doing it, which is seriously bugging him. Putting on an interested face, he asks if all this means she and Ryu are getting closer. His question throws her off, and she rushes to convince Seonmin that she respects Kang Hyun as a professional. According to her, he told her he only believes what he sees with his own eyes. He's got this rigid way of thinking and a stone-cold head on his shoulders. Listening to her go on and on about Kang Hyun, Seonmin's thinking about how things have taken such a weird turn. He was sure this would be easier, and never imagined Ryu would get in his way and become such an unexpected obstacle. To change the subject, Seonmin asks how Young-hee's doing, and Cena tells him she's become a public defender. She adds that they should have invited her. She would have jumped at the chance, since she was head over heels for Chae. So, Seongmin hits her with a question that totally catches her off guard. Grinning, he asks Ki-saeng if she wasn't a little bit in love with him too. She's flustered, stumbling over her words, not knowing how to answer. That's when Seongmin takes charge and just blurts out that he used to like her. But, he says, he never even tried to show it because he thought she wouldn't be interested. Her cheeks flush red, and from her reaction, Chae realizes she was actually into him. Turns out, this approach was way easier than trying to figure out her thing with Kang Yun. But before Seongmin can even celebrate his victory, he hears Ryu's harsh voice nearby. He asks if it's cool to say stuff like that, considering Chae went abroad to study with his girlfriend. When Cena asks why Kang Yun was so late since he was close by, he says he got stuck in traffic. He noticed she ordered meat again and chuckled, asking if she didn't get enough at lunch. When Cena says she could eat it 3 times a day, Ryu calls her weird, and she asks if that's not what he likes about her. The girl leaves the guys alone for a minute, heading to the restroom. As soon as she's gone, Kang Hyun asks Seungmin why he's feeding Cena a load of bull. Chi just fires back, asking why he even came if he hates it so much. Ryu says he came because he figured his warning didn't sink in. He doesn't care that Seungmin sorts people into classes and uses them for his own gain, until it involves him. He figures if he keeps living like this and dies alone, nobody's even gonna notice. Kang Yun pours himself a full glass of wine and chugs it down. Then, he stares Seungmin dead in the eye and says flat out, "Don't you dare touch Cena." The guy smirks and says this girl must be something special if Ryu Kang Hyun's acting like her lapdog, defending her like that. But seeing him like this, it just makes Seonmin want her even more. It's like fuel on the fire, driving him to take action. Kang Hyun says he gets his envy, cause Saina's worth it, but he's telling him to back off. He warns him that if he doesn't, he's not responsible for what happens next. Chi retorts that Ryu shouldn't act like Saina's his girl, cause it's obvious they ain't a thing yet. He looks pathetic to Seonmin, but Kang Hyun couldn't care less, because she's worth it. If it's all for her, he doesn't give a damn how he looks to anyone else. And even though Ryu doesn't care about opinions, he's telling Seonmin to shut his mouth about it, cause according to him, trash is always gonna be trash. Sumin says he totally gets what Kang Yun thinks of him and chugs his whole glass of wine. But the way he sees it, the kid's missing something. All trash is dirty to begin with, so you can't even see the dust on it. Sumin doesn't see anything wrong with using other people to get where he wants to be. Otherwise, you're stuck at the bottom forever. And he doesn't think that makes him a criminal. He says that's just who he is. He'd rather have options than settle for what he's got. So Sumin's gonna do what he wants now, cause he hasn't seen bait this good in ages. He wants to piss off the goody two-shoes across from him so bad. He says he wants to see what he's made of. He thinks it'll be way more fun that way. Kang Hyun's eyes flash with anger as he offers to give Sumin a real good time. Just then, Cena gets back to the table, shocked to see the wine's already half gone. As she sits down, she asks if they were talking about anything heavy while she was gone. After dinner, the 3 of them head outside, and Cena calls a cab to go home. Songmin doesn't have his car today and asks her where she lives. Finding out Cena lives near his work, he asks her for a ride too. Cho says he was so happy to see them, he drank way too much, and now his head's pounding. Kang Yun grabs Songmin so hard that he flinches from the guy's insane strength. Ryu chimes in, saying he can grab a taxi, and Cena doesn't need to give him a ride. Sunmin starts faking like he feels so awful. He's worried he'll get carsick. The girl jumps into the convo, saying she's happy to give Che a ride, since it's no big deal for her. Kang Yun ain't backing down though. He's dragging Songmin towards the road. Just then, a cab cruises by, and he flags it down. Before Che can even say goodbye to Cena, Ryu shoves him in the car. He points out that a drunk guy shouldn't sweat the small stuff, and Songmin glares daggers at him. A few seconds later, the car's peeling out. She's worried if Songmin's gonna be alright, cause he seemed super wasted. She's surprised how little Kang Yun seems to care about his buddy. Ryu smirks and asks if he didn't already say he doesn't have any friends. But they were at the bar then, and Cena figured he was just joking around. Kang Yun insists it wasn't a joke, which is exactly why he offered to make her his friend. It's normal to get jealous when you only have one friend, you know? But there's no way Ryu can explain that to this airhead who can't take a hint. He brings up how Sana said he's impossible to deal with. And now he wants to know if she even wants to hang out with him at all. The girl's never seen him look like that before. Ryu keeps getting closer, and Sana just agrees to get him to back off. But he keeps pushing, asking how she's gonna spend time with him and what they're gonna do. Kang Yun said he doesn't have any friends, and he doesn't know how they usually hang out, so Sana's gotta teach him everything. She shoves him away, saying it's late, and they both need to get home. She doesn't get how you can ask someone to hang out while looking like you're threatening them. Cena crosses her arms and declares that's why she has no friends, which cracks Ryu up. He steps closer, reaching out like he's about to say something to her face. But before he can touch her, Cena bolts for the taxi that just pulled up. She says, "See you tomorrow," and hops in. Kang Hyun's left standing there, sighing heavily as he watches the taxi drive off. That was the perfect moment, and he's bummed he missed it. The next day, she talked to the team, and they decided to do some team building this weekend. It's her first time since her internship, so she's feeling a little nervous. When Cena gets to the car wash to pick up her ride, the attendant hands her a bag with something he found under the back seat. She pulls out a tie that looks awfully familiar. Wait a sec. Looking closer, she realizes that thing belongs to Kang Yun. But Cena can't for the life of her figure out what his tie is doing in her car. It's company retreat day, and she gets to the rendezvous point first. Looking around, she gives Han Yojin props for picking such an awesome spot. Cena plops down on a lounge chair, thinking she's gotta come back here next summer. Then she grabs her phone, wondering if she should have invited Kang Hyun to join them after all, even though he never even came on university trips back in the day. Still, she can't shake what Han said about Ryu quitting his old job over a woman. If she brings it up here, he might accidentally overhear. Then again, the rest of the team might get pissed that she didn't invite him. She's trying to tell herself it's cool that Ryu's got staff. He doesn't have to come here. She's just chilling, soaking up the awesome view in the sunshine. It's been ages since she's been able to relax like this in peace and quiet. After thinking about it some more, Cena decides she's gonna text Kang Hyun after all. Ryu, meanwhile, just finished his run and is strolling down the street, heading home. He opens the message and sees Cena sent him a picture of the beach. Back at the beach, she's racking her brain, trying to figure out what to text next. Everything she comes up with sounds dumb, but then her phone starts ringing out of nowhere, and it freaks her out. Wondering why he's calling instead of just texting back, Cena answers the phone. Kang Yun asks her what the deal is with sending him a picture of the beach. This girl's saying she's here for a team building thing in Gyeonggi-do. So I ask if she's digging it, and Saina's like, she's solo for now, cause some folks went grocery running, and others are just straight up late. Kang Yun's cracking up, cause he asked her to teach him how to have fun, and now, he's the one keeping her from being bored. Saina's all, you gotta give to get, you know? She hits Ryu with, what you been up to? And he tells her he was working out. He's into keeping his body healthy and tough. Saina calls Kang Yun practical, but doesn't get why he'd want to live 1,000 years if he's gonna be alone. Ryu's curious why she thinks he's gonna end up a lonely dude. Girl's like, far as I know, you ain't married. And who's gonna be into a guy who doesn't even have friends? But she promises to be a good friend and check in on him every so often to make sure he's still kicking. Ryu's cracking up at how Cena roasts him one second, then butters him up the next. She notices to herself how deep and chill his laugh is. Just then, the team pulls into the courtyard, so she says goodbye, and Kang Yun tells her to have a good time. Hanging up, she covers her face, totally confused by this weird feeling in her chest. Cena suddenly thinks she might actually like Kang Yun, and she can't even believe it. They're just good colleagues and partners. Is that not enough? Does she really want to get even closer? After thinking it over, Cena texts Ryu, asking if he wants to join them. The hotel courtyard is now buzzing with the team, all loud and happy as they arrive. Han brought everyone gifts to boost team morale. She got matching jackets for the domestic Avengers squad. Even though Cena thinks it's kinda college kiddish, lawyer Han's insisting it's a solid idea. She asks the main girl if Kang Yun's gonna show, and gets a dry reply that he doesn't have to be here. She explains that Ryu's just a consultant and isn't actually part of their team. Just then, one of Cena's coworkers tells her some cocky dude's calling. The main girl jumps, realizing she forgot to change the contact name. She rushes outside, breathless, and answers the phone, mentally cursing Ryu, again, for his habit of calling back after a text. Kang Yun, drying his hair after a shower, asks if it wouldn't just be easier to call. When he asks where she is, Cena repeats that she's at the pension in Gyeonggi province. Ryu remembers that and wants to know which pension they're staying at. He reminds her that she invited him to come, but now he's wondering if she was just being polite. Cena's saying that's BS and wants to know if you're really coming. Ryu asks if she wants him to come, but she just says everyone keeps asking about him. Han Yojin and Lee Hyo-won, the lawyers, have said they miss Kang Hyun a bunch of times, but Ryu doesn't give a crap about them. He wants to know what Cena thinks. She's a little lost, so Kang Hyun just straight up asks if she misses him. He says he's got nothing with the others, so that's no reason to come, which is why he's asking Cena. After a beat, she finally admits that she does want him to come. Right after that, Kang Hyun's like, "Send me the address," and gets up off the couch. Cena hangs up and just sits down in the grass, trying to figure out what's going on with her. A little later, everyone finally gets together at the table and toasts to the team's success. Sanu's getting grilled. "Who was that jerk calling you, and why'd you get so worked up?" To keep the others from catching on, she plays it cool, says it's just an old friend she hasn't talked to in ages. She's wondering if Kang Hyun will actually show, then accidentally says it out loud. Hearing that, Lee Hyo-won's all over her, asking who she's talking about, and Sanu admits it's Ryu. Immediately, she starts fixing her hair and pulls out a mirror to make sure she looks good. She says, even though Mr. Kang Yun can be a total hard-ass sometimes, she still thinks he's awesome. Sanu heard Lee got chewed out for straight up asking Ryu if he was seeing anyone, and now she's saying she'd be happy to see him, even if he doesn't give her the time of day. Hearing that, our girl's hit with that weird feeling again, like her heart's getting squeezed for some reason. She grabs the first drink she sees, a super strong cocktail, and throws it back in one go, even with her coworker warning her not to. Everyone's noticed how pale Cena's gotten, and they're worried, but she insists she's fine. She ducks into the restroom, and looking in the mirror, realizes she actually looks like death. Cena pulls out her lipstick and slaps some color on her washed-out lips. Then she fixes her hair, and now a totally different person seems to be staring back at her. As Cena walks out of the restroom, she bumps right into Kang Hyun, who just arrived. She grins, not even trying to hide how happy she is to see him. Ryu notices and smiles back, looking straight into her eyes. They just stand there for a second, staring at each other in silence. The quiet's broken when Kang Hyun's coworkers rush over to greet him, and he hands out coffees. Among the cups, one of the lawyers finds a drink that's definitely not coffee. Ryu explains he brought that glass especially for Ki-sung. She remembers asking him to buy her watermelon juice sometime, and blushing, thanks Kang Hyun. When everyone's back at the table, one of their coworkers asks Ryu if he's planning on getting married. Kang Hyun's like, why the sudden interest? The guy admits his family keeps pushing him to go on blind dates, but whenever he meets a girl from a good family, she always ghosts him the next day. Another coworker chimes in, asking if it's not better to marry for love. Han Yojin jumps into the conversation, declaring it's way better to live alone. She says her biggest mistake was marrying someone in the same industry. Listening to them, Seung-ah looks at Kang Yun and wonders what he thinks about marriage. Han's still ranting about how her husband doesn't notice her at home, and if she's working, he asks why she's not doing chores. Out of nowhere, Yojin spins around to our girl and tells her to think long and hard if she ever decides to marry that jerk. While Sena's mentally chewing out her coworker for even bringing him up, Kang Hyun chimes in, all curious, asking who they're talking about. Our girl stammers, saying it's just a friend, while everyone else jokes that they're probably talking about Ki-sena's boyfriend. Ryu just stares daggers at her, not saying a word. She downs another shot in one gulp, trying to figure out how to change the subject. But Kang Yun won't let it go. Still trying to figure out who this jerk of a lawyer Ki is, she insists that Han misunderstood everything, and it really is just a friend. Ryu's still watching her like a hawk. Then he laughs and remarks how Cena must have a ton of friends if she's even got jerks in the mix. Claiming she needed to sober up a bit, the girl gets up from the table. She takes a walk along the boardwalk, and when she turns back, her heart just stops. She sees Kang Yun on the balcony, chatting with Lee Hyo-won, who looks thrilled he's here. Trying not to think about why Hyo-won's smiling like that, Cena plops down on a lounge chair. She's checking out the awesome starry sky and thinking, hey, she's pretty hot herself actually. Our girl pulls out her phone to snap a pic. Just then, her phone rings. And guess who's calling again? Freaking jerk face. Before Cena can even process it, some guy's hand snatches the phone right out of her hand. Leaning over her, Kang Yun smirks, finally realizing he's Jerkface. The girl tries to explain, saying she just made up the nickname. Ryu said he never imagined that nickname could be so different from how she usually talks to him. When he asks if Cena's not scared calling an upperclassman that, she tries to make excuses at first, but then switches gears and says he used to be a jerk. And besides, she thinks he should have been nicer to her. Now she's blaming Ryu for everything, even for the fact that she's drunk right now. According to her, he's even guilty of being an arrogant prick. Kang Yun asks if that's why she set everything up, so she'd get special treatment, since she does whatever she wants, plays with people for her own amusement, and then puts them in their place. After those words, Cena unexpectedly lowers her head and rests it on Ryu's shoulder. Kang Yun tells her to go to her room and sleep if she's tired. She ignores him and asks if everything really is this incredibly beautiful right now. She says her heart practically flutters when she looks at the night sky. Before Ryu can even answer, Cena suddenly asks him what he thinks of lawyer Lee Hyo-won. She admits she saw them talking, and Kang Yun looked so damn happy at that moment. Cena starts listing all the girls' good points and wonders why guys always go for the younger ones. Ryu, unable to take it anymore, asks if she's lost her mind, spouting such nonsense, like some alien took over her brain. Cena says Kang Yun's hard for her to deal with, which clearly isn't the case for Lee Hyo-won, who gets along with him just fine. Ryu's always been the type who finds it hard to talk to people he's not close to. That caring smile he had on the balcony a little while ago was meant for Cena, who he was watching from above. He doesn't get when things went sideways, because he's only here because of her. Ryu stares at her, trying to figure out what's going on in that tiny brain of hers. Done holding back, he leans over her, asking how long she's gonna keep pretending she doesn't see what's going on. When's she gonna realize that Ryu's only ever gentle with her? He's ready to say it again if she still doesn't get it. Kang Yun admits he only feels this way about Cena. She repeats his words a few times, and Ryu already regrets bringing it up while she's drunk. But then, Cena suddenly moves closer and asks him to say it again. Kang Yun gently strokes her cheek, pulls her close, and melts into a tender kiss. A moment later, she suddenly opens her eyes and pulls away from Ryu. He asks if that answered her question well enough, and suggests they head back, since it's cold and she could catch a cold. But Cena replies that it wasn't enough, and reaching for Ryu, kisses him. Sonmin, chillin' in his apartment in a bathrobe, texts the girl, asking her to hang out. But she hits him back, saying she's booked up this weekend with her team. So Che's scrolling through her social media pics, trying to figure out if she's really that busy. He messages her, tells her the photos are good, but he's secretly losing his freaking mind. When he first met Cena at K Corporation, it was obvious she was keeping Kang Hyun at arm's length. Now, though, it looks like they've gotten way closer in a super short time. Judging by the photo, Ryu even went to some kind of workshop thing with her crew. Sonmin's thinking this bastard's doing all this just to piss him off. Right then, his phone rings. It's Chairman Hwang Hee-chan from the Hwan Group. There's gotta be only one reason that guy's calling him on the weekend. The second Sunmin picks up, an angry shout blasts through the phone. Hwang Hee-chan's ordering him to find Yura ASAP and fix this before it gets even worse. Hwang Yura is the chairman's Achilles heel, the thorn in his side. Even though she's pushing 30, she's this rich kid heiress from a Cheeble family, constantly in the public eye. And on top of that, Yura's always flashing her lavish lifestyle all over social media. Sonmin's thing with this girl goes way back, to when he was studying in the States. His girl, who seemed like she'd do anything for him, dumped him junior year, right before he got his international law license, to get married for money. It's not like Sunmin was dumb enough to dream about a future with a Cheeble heiress, but the timing sucked. No matter how hard Che tried to succeed and climb the ladder, he felt like he was just spinning his wheels. He wasn't lucky enough to be born with a silver spoon, and sometimes Sonmin thought he'd be better off as an orphan. His dad's a security guard at some old building, and his mom runs a tiny diner down at the market. Sonmin grew up thinking that if parents can't give their kids a good life, they shouldn't have kids at all. And just when it seemed like all his hard work was for nothing, Yura entered his life and changed everything. So now, thinking that Yura's been acting pretty normal for a while, he's calling to get the details. They're telling him there was a post about Miss Hwang online, which they rushed to take down, but reporters already spread the dirt. Throwing on some clothes, Somin asks what this article is about that's causing such a stir. The guy says it's about abuse of power, and the problem is, even though it's not the first time, this time her opponent is someone in the entertainment biz. This time, there are photos of her naked, pouring booze all over herself. Somin doesn't want to hear any more of it, and promising to take care of it, he hangs up. Yura's a bright and attractive girl, but only a few know just how ugly and disgusting she is on the inside. Her natural habitat? Think sewer rat central. That's exactly why Sonmin needs Ki Sayang, to ditch that hellhole. Team building's over, everyone's heading home after a killer time. Kang Yun wants Ki Saeng to ride with him so they can talk about something important. She suggests they take her car instead, since Ha Chong-soo's resume says he can drive. Ryu asks him to grab Ki Saeng's ride. She just watches it all go down, trying to figure out what the hell Kang Yun's playing at. Once they're in the car, she wonders what's so damn important he needs to say. Unable to take the awkward silence anymore, she straight up asks Ryu about it. But suddenly, he slams his head on the steering wheel and lets out a heavy sigh. Looks like his hunch was right after all. The heroine's starting to lose it, not understanding what's going on, or why Ryu's been sighing at her all morning. Finally, it hits her. He wants to talk about last night. Kang Kyun's eyes flicker with hope that Cena actually remembers what happened yesterday. But that hope vanishes quick when she asks if she said something wrong last night. She suddenly remembers Ryu knows how she saved his contact in her phone and thinks that's what he's talking about. But Kang Yun says he's the one who messed up yesterday. Staring deep into her eyes, he admits it was a huge mistake. Cena's racking her brain, trying to remember what happened yesterday when she got up from the table and left Ryu alone. Thinking he's pissed, she just bailed and went to bed. She tries to explain that she always sleeps like a rock when she drinks. Kang Yun, though, gives her this weird smile and asks if she's sober enough today. And Cena says, yeah. Hearing that, Ryu runs a finger over her lips and suggests that maybe she should let him make that mistake again. With that, he leans in, going for her lips. She pulls back, covers her mouth with her hands, and instantly blushes crimson. From her reaction, Ryu figures that even if her memory's fuzzy, her body remembers everything perfectly. Cena's actually remembering how she kissed him and confessed that his lips were way softer than she expected. How Ryu, laughing, told her that people don't talk when they're kissing. How she admitted she was happy and leaned in again to do it all over. Remembering everything, she grabs her head, cursing herself for obviously losing her damn mind. Seeing her reaction, Ryu's sure that she's finally remembered everything. Kang Yun's amused, and Cena shoves him away, trying to get it together. She's never regretted Korea's gun laws more, cause she'd totally blow her brains out right now. Maybe then she could erase the memories that are making her cringe so hard. After a beat, Ryu reaches for her and gently pulls her hand away from her face. When she acts like this, he just loses all control. With that, Kang Yun leans in and kisses her softly. In that moment, it feels like time stops, along with her breathing, and only his face is burned into her memory. When they finally get back to the city, Cena has no clue how they even made it. After he parks, Kang Yun just stares at her for a while, smiling. Then he chuckles, saying it's the first time he's ever seen someone sleep with their eyes open. The heroine can't figure out why that dumb smile on his face looks so good to her. Ryu touches her cheek again, and Cena feels like her heart's about to burst out of her chest. She pulls away from him and grabs the door handle, ready to bolt out of the car. The girl tries to jump out, but forgets she's still buckled in, and ends up back in her seat. She suggests they talk about it later, because her head is pounding right now. Kang Yun asks her to wait a second, and reaches for her again. But she yells that she's seriously exhausted, because she drank way too much last night. Cena's barely holding it together, trying not to explode from his persistence. But then she realizes Ryu was just reaching to unbuckle her seatbelt. It took Sunmin knocking for a while before Yura finally opened the door. She's bitching about how he woke her up and made her get out of bed. Barely keeping it together, Che heads inside to talk. The place is trashed, empty bottles and cash everywhere, with half-naked dudes and chicks passed out all over the floor. One of them lifts his head and glares at Songmin with pure hate. Cho leans over him and tells him to get his buddies and get the hell out, unless he wants to end up sleeping with the fishes. Yura gets pissed and tells him not to scare these innocent people. She tells everyone it's cool, and that he's not some gangster, just her lawyer. Saying goodbye, Yura tells the guys not to forget to grab the cash she gave them off the floor. Before letting them go, Songmin demands to see the phone to check for any compromising photos. Yura tells him to chill, because even if there is something, money fixes everything anyway. Sonmin tells her to shut her yap and at least get dressed properly, for starters. After wiping all the files off the fleeing guy's phones, he's about to do the same to Yura's photos. But she wants to post them. Sonmin ain't having any of that crap and demands she hand over the phone right now. But first, she wants to know why exactly he came all the way out here. She's wondering what's got him so pissed this time, and what she did to set him off now. Sonmin wants the name and address of the dude in that leaked video that's causing such a stink. Even though Yura claims she doesn't remember those guys, the lawyer tells her to rack her brain if she wants to stay loaded. The woman starts rattling off names, not even sure if it was one guy or two. Sonmin's losing it. He can't believe she can't go a single day without getting into trouble. His frustration is cracking her up. She's practically in tears. She's wondering what's got into Songmin, making him act all weird. Yura figures it's gotta have something to do with that head lawyer gig. We're talking about the job Ryu Kang Yun turned down, even though they were throwing billions of won a year at him. Yura knows Ryu's rejection totally bruised Songmin's ego, and she smirks, asking if she should just have her dad give him the job. Cho tells her to drop this whole annoying conversation. Yura doesn't get why they should stop, since she could totally get him that position. But Songmin doesn't need it, because he's already tired of constantly cleaning up her messes. Pulling him close, Yura asks if he's found a new owner, now that she's loosened the leash a little. He shouldn't even think about it, because he knows better than anyone what she was up to in America, and she's never letting him go. Smiling, she reminds Songmin that they're in this together. Our girl's in the office hallway, psyching herself up just to get to her desk. Thing is, to get there, she's gotta walk right past Kang Yun's office. She figures she'll sneak past while Ryu's busy making coffee, avoid an awkward run-in. But no such luck. He turns around and faces the hallway at that exact moment. Their eyes lock, and Cena catches something sad in his gaze. Without breaking stride, she bolts to her office and slams the door shut behind her. She can't shake the thought of how freaking gorgeous Kang Yun looked today. A second later, she gets a text from Ryu, saying she could have at least said hi. He doesn't bite. A knock on the door, and the CEO's assistant walks in. He says Mr. Ki-chun-soo wants a word with his daughter and invites her for tea. The second our girl walks into her dad's office, he's all, "So when are you gonna fulfill the contract terms?" The girl's so caught off guard, she practically chokes on her tea. Dad's hoping she's not gonna tell him she's hitting a dead end, right? Cena doesn't get why he's so worked up, since she hasn't even told him anything yet. She tells her dad to chill and promises she'll handle everything, but he better not cry when she snatches his share. Ki-chansu's got faith his daughter will pull it off. He then asks if she's been getting any weird calls lately. She doesn't remember anything like that, and is about to head out if they're done here. Walking down the hallway again, Cena glances nervously at Kang Hyun's office, but then his voice suddenly booms right behind her. The girl jumps, totally startled, and snaps, "What's your problem, dude?" Ryu's still waiting for her to say hi when Lee Hyo-won shows up. Pulling away from Kang Hyun, Cena claims she's been swamped all morning. He says he'll pretend to believe that, and suggests they grab lunch together. Grabbing Lee Hyo-won's arm, she says she was actually planning on lunch with her today. Ryu's bummed because he promised to treat her to something good. Cena spent the whole weekend wondering why Kang Hyun's been acting so weird around her. If she has lunch with him today, she'll probably end up in the hospital with stress-induced gastritis. So she tells him they'll have to postpone lunch till next time, since she and Lee have girl talk planned for today. Hyo-won heads off, leaving those two alone, and Cena asks Kang Hyun where he's been and what he's been up to. Ryu said he was in HR, checking out the files of that department head he mentioned last time. The guy's been working there for like 15 years, and now he's ditching everything to join Kang Yun. But when asked how he managed to poach such a valuable asset, Ryu just smiles and says it's a company secret. Cena promises to keep the secret safe. Kang Yun keeps his mouth shut, and she chases after him, begging him to tell her. She doesn't get why he won't open up, and it's starting to piss her off. Ryu suddenly stops so fast she walks right into his back. He turns to face her and announces that this is how he plans to win her over. Cena's totally lost and her face turns bright red. She claims she was thinking about something else and didn't hear what he said. Ryu's smirking, asking why she's repeating herself if she already gets it. Says if she keeps doing that, it's gonna be a problem, cause he'll just want to tease her even more. Leaning close to her ear, Kang Hyun wonders how far she's willing to go. Meeting for lunch, Lee Hee-won's surprised at how much vinegar Cena's drowning her food in. She finally speaks up, telling her coworker she might be going a little overboard. The girl's pissed at herself for being so distracted. Almost ate pavement on the way over here. Lee asks what's up with Cena, and she wonders if she should spill to someone to lighten the load. She's been racking her brain trying to figure out why Kang Hyun's trying to seduce her. Could it be he signed the exact same kind of contract with her dad? If that's the case, it all clicks, and that just makes her rage. But even if Dad actually went for this whole Plan B thing, could Kang Hyun really be down with it? Maybe Ryu's trying to snatch up the company this way, but no way, right? Legal's got his back either way. He wouldn't need these kind of tricks. After ditching all the other theories, Cena's stuck with one logical conclusion. Kang Hyun's actually into her. Lee Hyo-won's totally lost, trying to figure out what's going on with her coworker. Kai Cena's pissed at her own thoughts and yells that none of this makes any damn sense. Everyone whips their heads around, and Lee tells her to get a grip, reminding her they're in a restaurant. The girl apologizes for acting out, blaming it on the case she's working on right now. Her colleague suggests she dig in and try to take her mind off work. Then she blurts out that it seems like Cena and Mr. Kang Hyun are getting along real well. Just the other day, when they were talking in the hallway, Ryu had this smile on his face that Lee's never seen before. Suddenly, Hyo-won has this crazy idea. Maybe the reason Kang Hyun's been so cold is because he and Cena are secretly hooking up. Girl swears she's got a sixth sense for this kind of thing, and she's never wrong. She promises her coworker she'll act like she doesn't suspect a thing. Cena tells her to drop this pointless chatter and finally start eating. After lunch, our girl heads to Ryu's office to get to the bottom of this. Without even looking up from his papers, Kang Yun asks if she brought the court documents. He claims the case needs a review because the precedents don't even apply. Cena realizes Ryu's pissed about work, and the vibe's totally off, so she decides to slip out quietly. Meanwhile, the guy's still rambling about the court hearing that's scheduled for the day after tomorrow. Finally, he looks up and notices Cena's been in the office the whole time. He smirks and asks what she's got her panties in a twist about now. The heroine, like totally mesmerized, stares at him and notices something weird she never saw before. She's been a freaking idiot for not realizing sooner what that tender look on his face could mean. Cena decides to stop wasting time and straight up asks Kang Yun if he likes her. If this is the Ryu she knows, he's gonna frown and ask what the hell she's talking about. Then she'll play it cool, like she has no clue what just happened and just ignore it. Maybe this whole thing really is just her imagination running wild. Being drunk, she probably read way too much into his actions and words. Kang Hyun's leaning against the desk, smiling silently, watching all the emotions play across her face. Okay, now she's getting pissed and asks him why he's smirking. But Ryu can't decide if she's just clueless or totally awesome. Cena tells him to stop messing with her and just say if he likes her or not. If he does, she wants him to drop it, because she just got out of a relationship. Kang Yun saw her at the wedding hall himself, so she's not jumping into anything new anytime soon. Crossing his arms, Ryu replies dryly, "Fine, whatever." Cena's so shocked by his reaction. She wonders if he even understood her. Kang Yun thinks it was pretty clear she's not looking to date anyone right now, but she doesn't know how they're supposed to act, since they work together and see each other every day. Ryu sarcastically echoes her words, like he's totally lost on what they should do now. Thing is, he says it's not that she doesn't like him, it's just she's not looking for a relationship right now. Kang Hyun takes a step towards Cena, and she tells him to back off and talk from a distance. But the guy, like he doesn't even hear her, keeps coming and says they gotta figure things out to reach some kind of compromise. Cena's all, "This feels more like you're trying to intimidate me than compromise." Kang Hyun's clueless, doesn't get what her problem is. Leaning right over her, he says he'll just wait until she falls for him. Cena tells Kang Yun to stop messing with her, but he's convinced no one in their right mind would pass up the chance to wait for a girl they're into. She tells him, point blank, like 3 times, she's never gonna fall for him, but Ryu's ready to bet on it. If he loses, he'll do whatever Cena tells him to, no matter what it is. Back at her desk the next day, she's racking her brain, wondering what the heck she did last night. She caved to Kang Hyun's pressure and agreed to a bet, just to see who'd come out on top. She yelled at him not to come crawling back for mercy later, but Ryu just smirked and said he was looking forward to it. And now she's ready to bite off her own traitorous tongue, the one that can't stop running its mouth. She's kicking herself for letting her pride get the better of her, instead of just turning around and walking away. She feels her face burning, like she's totally humiliated. Her head's pounding, and she just wants to go home. Just then, Kang Hyun walks into Cena's office and asks if she's still working. He figured they could grab some dinner together if she was done for the day. Cena looks up and stares at Ryu silently, her gaze kinda hazy. She takes in his dark, almost dyed black hair, his smooth skin, his killer eyes. Since Cena's not answering Kang Hyun, he walks over, puts his hand on her forehead, and asks how she's feeling. It's only now, when Ryu says she's burning up, that she realizes why her head's been killing her. He throws his coat over her shoulders and grabs her bag. He tells her to lean on him and helps her up from the chair. Kang Hyun, surprised Cena didn't notice how sick she was getting. She says she was distracted because of someone and didn't realize she felt bad. Ryu finds it funny that she's blaming herself for her own screw-ups again. She retorts by calling him an alien who invaded a peaceful village with a surprise visit. Kang Yun laughs, saying Cena's mouth never shuts, not even when they were kissing. She grumbles that kissing someone without their consent is harassment. Kang Hyun just rattles off the criminal code at her, citing indecent acts by coercion. The girl knew he'd know all the statutes by heart, like a walking law encyclopedia. Turning to him, she tells Ryu not to use her sickness as an excuse to pull his stunts. In response, Kang Yun offers to carry Cena so she can move faster, but she says she can walk on her own. After making it to the heroine's place, Ryu helps her get up to her apartment. At first, she refuses to give him the key code, but Kang Hyun insists she can change it tomorrow if she wants. Finally getting the door open, Cena happily collapses into the apartment. She flops onto the bed, and Ryu heads to the kitchen to get her some medicine. While he was getting everything together on a tray, the girl had already changed and gotten into bed. When Kang Hyun brings Cena her medicine, she thanks him for his help. He tells her to hit the hospital in the morning if she doesn't have court, and to let his secretary know if she needs to reschedule her appointments. Then, Ryu helps Cena get comfortable on her pillow, pulls the blanket over her, and tells her to get some rest. He's about to leave, but suddenly she stops him. She asks him to turn off the light before he goes. She scans her room and the house where she's always been alone. It strikes her as weird how empty the house suddenly feels. Sitting up on the bed, she asks Kang Yun one more time to stay a little longer. Turning around, he tells her to just spit out everything she wants all at once. Gathering her courage, she asks him to stay with her until she falls asleep. Realizing that might have sounded weird, she explains she just doesn't want to be alone. Maybe because she's sick. Cena can definitely handle things on her own, but she'd feel safer with someone around. Kang Yun silently listens to her rambling about maybe needing to hire a caretaker. Flustered, she ducks under the covers and tells him he can leave if he's busy, because the meds are probably gonna kick in soon and she'll crash. Lying under the blanket, she's already kicking herself for asking him to do this. Suddenly, she hears Ryu's voice near the bed, saying he doesn't want to just sit on the floor. Taking off his jacket, he asks if it's alright if he lies down next to Cena. Then, Kang Yun lies down on top of the blanket and tells her to sleep tight. Watching the sleeping girl, he whispers that she's seriously testing him right now. Ryu reaches out and strokes Kisena's soft hair. He asked her not to mess with him, but what else can you call this? Kang Yun was never one to get hung up on relationships. Even back when he was just a regular prosecutor, he didn't sweat it, leaving work buddies behind without a second thought. No sadness, no regrets. Just figured they'd cross paths again if the chance came up. That's how it used to be anyway, until someone completely took over his brain. Cena hated losing more than anything. In Kang Hyun's memories, she was always pissed at him. Even when Ryu was locked in on a case, he'd sometimes catch himself smiling, just remembering her face. He doesn't get what their weird thing is, or why he can't stop thinking about her. Getting to work, our girl notices a guy in the office she's never seen before. The dude's standing there, totally lost in some paperwork. As soon as he looks up and spots Cena, he practically sprints toward her, beaming. The guy says he's stoked to finally meet her, which throws her off. How does he know her name? Then it clicks. This is the legendary department head Chang, the one Ryu Kang Yun was fighting so hard for. Mr. Chang says he's bummed he didn't get to meet Cena sooner. She shakes the new department head's hand. Chang says that after graduating from the police academy, he wanted to be a detective, busting criminals. But he couldn't just blindly follow orders. He seems chill at first glance, but Cena figures he must be terrifying when he's pissed. Cena decides to just ask Mr. Chang the question that's been bugging her directly. The guy freezes for a split second, and then just bursts out laughing like a maniac. Cena rolls up to one of her client's offices for a consultation. Suddenly, someone calls out to her from behind, and when she turns around, the girl sees Songmin standing there. He asks what brought Cena to his company, because there's no way she came just for him, right? Songmin's stoked to see her in person after all their texts. He suggests grabbing coffee since she's there, but Cena declines, saying she has a client meeting. She says that could have been a killer alternative to a date. She points out Songmin's got a knack for saying things women want to hear, and he must be super popular at the company. But Che replies that he's not trying to impress other women. He wanted to say what Cena wanted to hear. Songmin suggests dropping the subject and hitting up a coffee shop, because he's got a question for her. He doesn't get to finish, because a car pulls up right in front of them. The door swings open, and out steps Yura. As she walks up to Chi Sun-min, the woman calls him the new team leader, which totally throws our girl for a loop. Sun-min asks Executive Director Huang what brings her to the company. Yura doesn't see what the big deal is, saying even as just a figurehead director, she can swing by whenever she wants. She tells Sun-min not to act like an idiot, and he, grabbing a pissed-off Sayanu by the hand, tells her to get lost. According to Yura, she came to meet the team leader, and he's the only person she needs to talk to here. She demands Sunmin let the girl go and come with her. Our girl's blown away by this bitch's nerve, and it's clear from Che's face that he's not happy. But he quickly plasters on his usual smile and apologizes that they won't be able to grab coffee today, it seems. Sunmin promises to drop by Sayenu's office next time and check out her new digs. And even though he's trying to play it cool, our girl can tell he's not doing so hot. As our girl was heading to her client's office, she couldn't figure out why the address seemed so familiar. But now it all clicks. The Domestic Affairs blog recently posted a seemingly unremarkable story about a woman who lost her husband. It felt like fate brought these two together. They worked side by side, and before long, they were going home and having dinner together. This couple, who'd been getting to know each other for 6 years, dreamed of having a small wedding when they could finally afford it. The guy had parents who neglected and abused him since he was a kid, so he basically lived his whole life like an orphan. Together, he and the girl saved up for 6 years and finally managed to buy a small apartment on the outskirts of Seoul. The girl, who lost her parents as a child, and the guy, whose parents were monsters, had a small wedding, inviting only a few friends. They postponed registering their marriage and took off on their honeymoon, where they went parasailing. But then, a sudden gust of wind hit the guy, and he started getting tossed around like a kite. Two people who dreamed of a happy family life lost that chance because of a freak accident. If you ain't legally married, you got no claim to the inheritance, even if it's technically their stuff. When one of them kicks the bucket, it all goes to the family. So when she hit up his folks about the funeral, she got a harsh dose of reality. The parents, who'd basically disowned him, just swooped in and took everything like it was theirs by right. They grabbed every single dime that was coming to him, including his life insurance and retirement payout. Our girl heads over to her client, Kim Joo-hee, who's already waiting at the coffee shop. The lawyer feels bad that Cena had to come all this way, especially since she's the one who needs help. She sits down across from her and takes her client's hand, real sympathetic-like. Since Joo-hee's story really got to her, she promises to do whatever she can to help. So she tells her to keep her chin up and suggests they start by having a good, honest talk. Sun-min drags himself into the office, looking beat and pissed. Yura's already there, sprawled in the chair with her feet up on the desk. Ignoring his order to get her feet off the desk, Hwang wants to know what she does and where he found such a moron. With a smirk, she wonders where Sun-min stashed that phony nice guy act he was putting on outside. She figures the girl clearly has no clue about his shady business. Yura's surprised Sun-min still hasn't figured out what she wants from him. She says since he's still trying to run, she needs to tighten his leash. Hwang's baffled. Did that girl really take in a mangy mutt like Sun-min? Baring his teeth, Che tells her to go raise a purebred then, before the mutt bites her. Yura thinks Sun-min's just not loyal enough to his owner, even after 7 years. If he's a dog, he needs to act like one, not try to be all human. Sungmin shoves her hand away, saying that because it's been so long, he's got to end this now. He can't even stand looking at her, let alone talking. And he's done living like this, so he demands she leave him alone. Yura snaps back, saying she thought she was raising a dog, but ended up with a pig. She blames it all on his straight-up insatiable greed, and if he doesn't get how serious this is and forgot his place, Hwang can easily remind him. Sungmin realizes he dug his own grave, and there's no point in regretting it now. He knew from the jump he made the wrong choice, and this is exactly how it would play out. Ever since that call he got in Brooklyn years ago, Yura woke him up in the middle of the night and told him to get over there ASAP. She demanded he forget about work the next day and promised to pay him if he needed it. Sitting in a blood-soaked robe next to the corpse, she whispered into the phone how terrified she was. When Songmin got to her apartment, at first he had no clue what the hell had gone down. Seeing bottles scattered everywhere and the dude lying on the floor, he figured Yura just called him to help her clean up. But when Songmin tried to lift the guy, he realized the dude was dead. Yura was freaking out, hysterically repeating that she didn't remember anything and she didn't do anything. She begged Songmin to do something, since he was a lawyer. Without missing a beat, Che grabbed his phone, ready to call the cops. There was a bloody knife lying next to the body, and there was no way this was an accident. He told Hwang that her first move should be finding the most powerful lawyer in New York. Maybe he could get her declared mentally incompetent, and she'd get manslaughter, then get bailed out. But Yura wasn't even considering that as an option, her face frozen in sheer terror at the thought of prison. She grabbed Songmin by the shoulders, promising to pay him big if he took care of everything. Her words were like the devil whispering in Che's ear, finally offering him a chance to escape poverty. Ka-hyun's meeting has been dragging on for hours now. He looks up and sees Cena outside the window waving at him, so he suggests they take a break. When Ryu gets to her, she complains about how hard it's been to see him lately. Cena asks if he's eaten, but Kang Yun says they just don't have the time. She offers to grab some sandwiches or lunchboxes for him and his team. Apologizing for being insensitive, Ryu takes her hand and leads her to her office. Once inside, he leans against the door with his eyes closed, and Cena notices how exhausted and sleep-deprived he looks. She's pushing food and energy drinks on him again. He asks why she's so eager to buy him stuff, and she says she wants to return the favor since he bought her watermelon juice, but Ryu's not buying it. He doesn't get why others should get something too, when he's usually the one buying her juice. Kang Hyun's acting like a total kid in her eyes. Out of nowhere, Ryu pulls Cena close and says if she wants to repay him, she should do something just for him. And with that, he gives her a tight hug. Grinning, he says he can feel the exhaustion finally leaving his body. Kang Hyun just wants to forget about work, forget about everything, and hang out with Kisena. After a beat, she raises her arm and returns his embrace. Later, while she's working in her office, she gets a call from Lee Hyo-won. My coworker needs her to get down to reception as soon as possible and see what's going on. When she gets downstairs, she sees some lady totally losing it, demanding to see Kisena. The main character walks up to her, introduces herself, and asks the stranger to do the same. This woman calls Cena a crazy ambulance-chasing lawyer and accuses her of sticking her nose where it doesn't belong. The stranger yells that she's a mother who just wants the money her son left her, and Cena has no right to tell her what to do. Now it clicks for the main character. These are Kim Joo-hee's husband's parents. The woman keeps screaming, loud enough for the whole office to hear, about how that bitch dared to use her son, who she cherished her whole life. Cena's trying her hardest to keep it together. Leaning in real close to the woman, she threatens her with charges for insult and defamation if she doesn't watch her mouth. And it would be a shame for an old lady like her to show up in court on charges of interfering with legitimate business. Hearing that, the woman swings at Cena, threatening to destroy her, even if it means doing jail time. Sensing Youngja's about to clock her, our girl shuts her eyes tight. But then, Kang Yun shows up out of nowhere, grabs the crazy woman's arm, and shields Cena. Giving Youngja a stone-cold glare, he demands to know what the hell's going on. He's seriously pissed that there are all these lawyers standing around, just watching silently. Youngja yells at him to let her go and throws a fit, asking how he dares to treat her like this. Next thing you know, she whips her bag around and smacks him right across the face with it. Rushing to Kang Yun's side, Cena accuses the woman of assault with a deadly weapon. Youngja gets grabbed on both sides instantly, even though she's struggling to break free and yelling that he attacked her first. When Kang Yun looks up, our girl sees his right eye's already swelling shut from the hit. Seeing blood on his cheek, she's all, "We gotta call an ambulance or get you to a hospital." Rage bubbles up in her, and she snaps at Youngja, who's clearly lost her mind touching someone from their law firm. Kang Yun pulls her back, telling her to chill out. But she's still pissed, arguing that he's just not seeing how messed up his face is. So Ryu gently strokes her head, trying to get her to listen, that he's really okay. Once Kisang finally calms down, he turns to Youngja. The woman, shaking like a leaf, claims it was an accident, and that he shouldn't have grabbed her wrist so hard. She calls it self-defense, but Kang Hyun snatches her purse, and with a smile says, that's not quite the word he'd use here. He adds that, lucky for her, he's got a soft spot for older folks. Kisang's lawyer already made things perfectly clear anyway. On top of the 3 charges, the woman could be looking at aggravated assault now. That sharp keychain on her purse could have hit him in the eye, and he's got a killer headache. So, he wants to file an additional charge, attempted manslaughter. Leaning over the freaked out woman, Ryu smirks and says she knew where she was, and still acted like that. He says that all the same, from a humanitarian standpoint, he could show her some mercy. Later, back in the office, Kisang's checking out Kang Hyun's wound, worried it might leave a scar. Ryu laughs and tells him that for a pretty boy like him, that could actually be a problem. She doesn't get why he stepped in if he was so beat that he couldn't fight back, since if Jongja had hit her, the injury wouldn't have been so bad. Kang Hyun takes her hand and says he did it because he didn't want it to happen to her. He squeezes Cena's fingers in his and admits he's been waiting for a long time. Looks like he's never said it right before, but now's the time. Looking straight into her eyes, Ryu admits he's got a serious thing for her. Cena's like, whoa, where's this coming from all of a sudden? Ryu says the case he's prepping for, the one in court, doesn't have great odds. But still, he wants to win, and if he does, he wants Cena to go out with him. She tries to push back, saying it's against the rules, plain and simple. But Ryu reminds her of her own words, about how he's got a real talent for blackmail. With that, he pulls the shocked Cena in close, and plants one right on her lips. She pulls away from Kang Hyun, telling him he's completely lost his mind. Ryu replies, if you think I'm crazy now, I can get way worse, and kisses her again, even harder this time. He sees that Cena's trying to slip away again, but he's sure she's not getting away with it this time. He tells her time's up, so she shouldn't push him away. But just as she's about to kiss Kang Yun again, he suddenly pulls back and smirks, realizing he's messing with her, and she fell for it. Cena starts pounding on Ryu like crazy. Taking a deep breath, she asks Kang Yun if they can talk. Once he sits down across from her, she says she thinks they need some ground rules. First, Ryu's not allowed to hug or kiss her without asking, and no other close contact either. That's off limits. Second, he needs to cut the vulnerable act like last time, and any comments that could cause misunderstandings with other people. Kang Yun apologizes and says he spaced out and didn't hear a word, which sends Cena into a rage. Looking right into his eyes, she tells him she's dead serious. Kang Hyun just smiles and says he's not kidding around either. First off, he said he'd wait till she fell for him, but he never said he wouldn't make a move. Second, Ryu doesn't get what he said that could have given her the wrong idea. But he's being real here, so he's just gonna say he wants to be with her. And third, when it comes to a girl you're crushing on, forget playing fair. Cena tells him not to get cocky. He hasn't won the bet yet. They only kissed once, and she's not in love. And if he treats her like some easy girl, she'll haunt him even in hell. Kang Yun has no clue who'd be dumb enough to think that, because she's the toughest girl he knows. But, in his opinion, shutting something down completely without even trying it isn't like Cena at all. Ryu's like, am I that bad that you keep turning me down? She's getting pissed again, saying she never said anything like that. Her over-the-top reaction is cracking Kang Hyun up again. Out of nowhere, Cena says he has to win this trial. And it's not about the date, she adds. She just doesn't want him losing to anyone but her. The bet's not over yet, and she, like he said, won't be avoiding him anymore. Kang Yun chuckles, pats her head like good girl, and then there's a knock at the door. Cena's little brother, Ki Se-hoon, walks into the office looking kinda nervous. While Ryu's trying to figure out who this is, she's asking the kid why he's not in school. Se-hoon says hi and introduces himself to Kang Yun, who he immediately recognizes as the new partner. Hey sis, you got a sec? If you're done with your stuff, I wanted to talk. She shoves Ryu out the door, telling him they'll finish this conversation later. Now that she got rid of Kang Yun, she wonders how long that little jerk Se-hoon was eavesdropping. Asked if he's here to see dad or needs cash, he says he just wanted to see his sister. Cena offers him a bank card, but Se-hoon keeps saying he just came to visit. He says she's barely been home lately, so he came by because he misses her. Se-hoon asks if it's because she's all grown up now. Then, smirking, he asks if it's normal for adults to make out when they're not even dating. Grabbing her brother by the shoulders, she demands to know how long he's been out there. Se-hoon says he's been there since her lips got puffy, her eyes got glazed, or since she showed some bogus pride while still agreeing to a date. Cena shoves the cash at her brother, telling him to keep his mouth shut at home. But the dude insists that's not why he's here, asking what bet she made with Kang Yun. Seriously, he's wondering if they're even adults, betting on who falls in love first. Se-hoon claims he didn't see anything, just remembers Ryu being insanely hot. When she asks again why he really came to her workplace, he wants to know if she's okay. He says he was gonna talk to her, but now he's having second thoughts. Since Cena keeps pushing, he finally asks if he's even her brother. And even though she says it's obvious, she totally gets what Se-hoon meant. He's her half-brother, 15 years younger, and he caught a lot of flack growing up. But to Cena, Se-hoon's always been her one and only little bro. He looks at his sister, takes a deep breath, and asks her to do him a favor. She wants to know what he's talking about, but he refuses to say anything just yet. Se-hoon wants her to promise she'll fulfill his request when the time comes, and he tells her. Cena gives her brother her word, and he gets up, ready to leave. He suddenly stops at the door, turns around, and says that Kang Yun clearly likes her a lot, and she should stop rejecting him and accept his feelings. That pisses her off so much that she demands the little punk give her money back right now. Se-hoon smiles, says goodbye, and slams the door behind him. Songmin's stuck in his office late into the night. His head's pounding because he didn't get a wink of sleep last night. He had to bail Hwang Yu-ru out of jail and drive her all the way to the villa in Gangwon-do. This chick was going wild at the club, got wasted, caused a scene, and ended up getting arrested. Even down at the precinct, Yura couldn't pull herself together, which freaked out the detective. And then they found something else in her stuff. Sonmin's internally screaming at this crazy bitch, saying she should have been locked up in a psych ward ages ago. Now she's really screwed, because possession of narcotics is a serious charge. Sonmin swears to himself that this is absolutely the last time. He's ending their messed up and disgusting relationship. But before he can even finish the thought, he gets a call from a number he doesn't recognize. Half an hour later, Sonmin's sitting in a bar across from a journalist, trying to convince him that all the info about Yura is BS. He claims he was personally at the police station, and there's nothing there to see. According to Sonmin, if there was anything serious, he wouldn't have gotten out of there so fast. Still, the guy's definitely curious about how they managed to get off so easy. He said he wanted to play dumb to avoid making trouble, but turns out, it ain't that simple. With that, he slams an envelope on the table, and photos spill out everywhere. They show Yura buying some seriously illegal stuff. Seeing Sungmin's reaction, the journalist says, "Yeah, this is a real mess. Rich kids doing drugs is old news, and usually they get off with probation and a fine in court. But this time it's heavy, because it ain't just using. It's looking like she's dealing too." Sungmin is freaking out because he knows the guy in the photos with Yura, and he's a celeb who's done time for this before. The journalist smirks and tells him, "Don't act like you knew nothing about it." But Che really didn't know things had gotten this bad. Up until recently, they were trying to keep it out of the press, and figured they could pay someone to take the fall if things went south. Sungmin stares the guy down, asking him straight up what he wants. According to the reporter, this is a major deal, and he needs 300 million in cash to start. He promises to hand over the original files as soon as he gets the money. On top of that, he's got a lawsuit from the prosecutor's office, and Sungmin needs to deal with that too. The guy's pissed that he has to handle this too, like dealing with Yura wasn't enough. Still, he promises to see what he can do, and the reporter says he's counting on him and will be very grateful. He barely manages to watch the money-grubbing scumbag leave when the guy suddenly stops. The man asks if this is the first incident connected to Hwang Yu-ra. When Sungmin asks what he means, the reporter doesn't answer. The blackmailer just advises the guy to take care of himself, since he looks even more tired than before. The guy just walks off, leaving Sunmin wondering exactly what he knows. Ki-sing sees another client out after their consultation. Spotting Chief Chan in the hallway, she thanks him for those documents. He says he was happy to help, and she offers to treat him to lunch as a thank you. But Chan says he's going to be swamped until this trial is over, apparently. Ki-sing asks how the case is going, and he says both sides are coming in hard, and the lawyer's evidence keeps getting thrown out, so it's tough. She points out that if they lose, it'll be Ryu's first defeat. Chan whispers to her that he bet 10,000 won on him winning. Ki-sing's getting hyped too, and she's gonna bet 100,000 won on Ryu's victory. Mr. Chan asks her for a favor, and she agrees to do whatever he needs. Ryu's lawyer just crashed out and told me to wake him in 30, but he's got a meeting and is freaking about missing it. So she tells old man Chang to just trust her, she's got this. Imagining Kang Hyun conked out in his office, Cena figures she'll snap a pic and mess with him a little. But getting up close, she can't take her eyes off Ryu. Cause even asleep, the dude's flawless. Even if she got a photo, all it'd prove is that he's perfect even when he's snoozing. Cena spots a bandage on Ryu's cheek, which somehow makes him look even tougher than usual. She is seriously dying to throw that psycho woman behind bars. She leans in closer to Ryu, wondering if he's been putting ointment on that cut. Right then and there, Kang Hyun suddenly snaps his eyes open. Kai Cena freaks out and screams, jumping back from him. Kang Hyun just grabs her hand, pulls her in, plops her on his lap, hugs her tight, and passes right back out. She can feel his solid, muscular chest right through his shirt. Snapping out of it, she tells him to let her go. But Kang Hyun, without even opening his eyes, says he's still sleepy. He asks her what time it is, but she can't answer, because he's got her pinned. In that case, Kang Hyun suggests they just chill like this till he's fully awake. He says if she wanted to see his face, she could have just asked, instead of peeking when he wasn't looking. Cena tells him she'll kick his legs out from under him if he doesn't shut his trap. Kang Hyun just smiles and squeezes her even closer. Being in his arms was warmer and nicer than she expected. The alarm clock rings, and Cena gets up, because it's time for Ryu to wake up. She's about to walk out of the office when he suddenly hands her some envelope. Inside, Cena finds a lawsuit for defamation, interfering with work, and assault with violence. The defendant in this case is Oh Young-ja. Kang Hyun suggests sending the lawsuit right away if Cena wants. The girl tells him to do it right now, because that's the only language that woman understands. It's stupid to just ignore it and act like nothing happened. Young-ja needs to feel the consequences of her actions and learn you don't mess with the law. Kang Hyun's willing to leave it up to Cena if that's really how she feels. In response to the girl's surprise, he adds that from today on, she's his legal representative. Whether she uses it as a threat or negotiates, Cena can decide for herself, because he trusts her completely. The heroine is even embarrassed by how much Kang Hyun trusts her. Ryu thinks this is a prime chance to score some points, but for some reason, he can't think of anything cool to say. He figures it's probably because he's still half asleep. Looking into his dark, confident eyes, she feels like he believes in her more than anyone else ever has. And just a few months ago, she couldn't have imagined anything like this happening between them. She thought building a partnership based on trust was the best thing she could do for her bright future and for K-Group. But clearly, she was way too naive. Her cheeks flush red, and she asks Kang Hyun what he wants to do on this date. Ryu's not gonna miss a chance to tease her, so he praises her initiative, then says he has no idea what she's talking about. That's when Cena blurts out that she bet 100 grand on him to win. After saying that, she suggests they catch a movie, and Kang Hyun's in. After that, Ki-seong tells him to win no matter what, because he knows how much she hates losing. Ryu already knows that, because even 10 years ago, and still now, that girl's got an insane competitive streak that makes her work 10 times harder than anyone else. He tells her not to worry and promises everything will be all right. In that moment, when everything about Ki-seong seemed so damn charming, Kang Hyun thought that maybe she was his first love. That evening, Jung-hui calls her up and asks her to come to the alumni reunion. Then she suddenly starts asking her friend about Kang Hyun and tries to get her to invite him too. Ki-seong replies that Ryu doesn't even have time to sleep, and there's no point in inviting someone that busy. According to her, Songmin promising to show up is more than enough. But Jung-hui keeps pushing, saying the reunion could be legendary if both guys showed up. She's even ready to call Kang Hyun herself if Cena refuses to invite him. So the girl caves and promises to text Ryu. But her friend's like, what's the point when you can just knock on his office door and ask him yourself? Kisina's sure it won't work, cause Kang Hyun doesn't even show up to hang with his own co-workers. Just like she figured, he replies to her text about the alumni party this Friday with a cold, not interested. Meanwhile, Ryu's digging into the intel he got on this case he's working. According to the info Mr. Chang provided, they cross-referenced all the immigration records. 2 years ago, Hua Yura spent over 2 months in a rehab clinic in Manhattan. That hospital treats all kinds of addictions, and a day's stay there costs a few grand. Chang wonders why Kang Hyun's decided to check out a girl his friend as far as he knows, works with. Ryu says it might come in handy, and besides, he doesn't exactly like this Songmin guy they're talking about. Chang suggests checking out the lawyer too, but Kang Yun doesn't think it's necessary, though that place is worth looking into. If the heiress of a company you can't even touch in their country was getting rehab there, there's gotta be a reason. We need to figure out if it was really rehab or just a way to disappear. So Samin, this hotshot lawyer in the legal department, suddenly takes an interest in Cena. Maybe something went down with Huang Yura, or something just changed his whole perspective. Chief Jang wants to know if Kang Yun's got any beef with Daiso Corporation. He says not yet, but things could get messy real soon. Friday night, the girl pops into Kang Hyun's office to let him know she's heading out. Ryu peeks over a stack of papers and asks where she thinks she's going. Cena reminds him it's her class reunion tonight, the one he said he didn't care about. Kang Hyun's surprised she's still going, but she misreads his reaction, thinking she doesn't look good enough. The problem is actually the opposite, and Ryu's giving her side-eye for that cleavage. He's all sarcastic, asking if Cena's heading to a reunion or a freaking blind date. Girl's like, nobody dresses like this. For a date, I was going for a successful lawyer. Kang Yun tells her to let her hair down, says it looks way better that way. Looking at her, he can't shake the feeling some drunk's gonna come on to Cena at this party. Ryu smirks, wondering what kind of reunion makes her go all out like that. He's seriously worried, thinks this is gonna end badly, and starts grilling her about the whole thing. Cena doesn't get why Kang Yun's trippin' if he doesn't even care about the reunion. If he's jealous she's going somewhere cool solo, he can come along. Though that pile on his desk says he's pulling an all-nighter. Ryu says there's no place he'd rather be than alone with her, like in her bed. The heroine's freaking out, asking if he's lost his mind, but Kang Hyun's totally chill and collected, saying he can work till dawn and she can go kick rocks. Cena storms out and slams the door. Ryu's cracking up, totally stoked that he managed to get under her skin again. Usually, like 30 people max show up to these reunions, but today there's gotta be over 50. Jung-hee rushes up to Cena, surprised she actually showed up solo. The heroine's like, what's the big deal? She told her Kang Yun wasn't gonna come. Turns out, Sungmin's a no-show too. But Jung-hee figures he's just running late. She heard through the grapevine that Che's now head of the legal department at Daiso Group, which is insane, cause it's a tough gig to land. Ever since that run-in outside Sungmin's office, the heroine hasn't heard a peep from him. She calls him to see what's up and when he's gonna get there, but Che's not picking up. Suddenly, a guy walks up to Cena, flashing her a big smile. She instantly recognizes him as that senior who used to bully the underclassmen back in college. He throws his arm around her, suggesting they head over to the tables to grab some drinks and chat with everyone. Assuming he's hammered, she shrugs his hand off her shoulder. The guy keeps pushing, insisting that Cena pour him a drink, saying it'll taste better coming from her. Then, out of nowhere, a man's hand grabs a bottle of wine from the table and dumps it all over the creep. Leaning over the guy, Kang Yun tells him he's had enough and orders him to scram. And just like that, he vanishes. Ryu, looking exhausted, sits down next to a stunned Cena and says he knew this was gonna happen. She asks him what he's doing here and what about his job. Kang Yun said if you only ever think about work, you'll miss everything else. Ryu can't even chill for a second, cause he's already surrounded by girls stoked to see him. Kang Yun whispers to Cena, asking her which one is Park Jung-hee. The girl laughs and points to the one who, according to her, drinks the most here. Young-hee cheerfully raises a bottle of wine, telling Kang Yun to give her his glass. Not even a minute later, Ryu's already passed out on the girl's shoulder. Park's surprised he's showing his human side so suddenly. Cena reminds her friend that she said Kang Yun hasn't even had time to sleep lately. Young-hee thinks it's weird why he even came here if he didn't want to. As Cena helps the guy up to take him home, Park pipes up, saying she thinks she knows why. She tells the bewildered girl she's totally catching the bouquet at their wedding. Heading for the exit, Kisang realizes she doesn't know Kang Hyun's address, so she's stuck taking him to her place. After parking, she tries to wake Ryu up, but no dice. She's not even sure how she managed to drag a guy twice her size to the car. No matter what she tries, she can't get Kang Hyun to wake up. But when she starts muttering about how totally unbearable he is, Ryu laughs and says he agrees. According to him, he likes being treated that way the best. She's shocked he's awake, and then Kang Hyun admits he wasn't asleep at all. He was just faking being drunk. Otherwise, Park Jung-hee would have probably driven him nuts. Getting out of the car, Ryu adds that, besides, he got what he wanted. Leaning over the girl, he smirks, saying offering tea would be way too cliche. He suggests she heads home. While he's gonna bounce back to the office, got some stuff to wrap up. Cena wonders what the heck he even showed up to this alumni thing for then. Ryu says he just wanted to make sure she got home safe, cause usually when she's hammered, she latches onto anyone and begs for more drinks. Even though she's pissed at what he's saying, he ruffles her hair, tells her to remember it's happened before, and leaves. Our girl's sitting in her office, waiting for Shin Ju-eun, who's supposed to be here any minute. Finally, the door swings open, and the woman steps inside. She's all excited, saying Cena's office is so cozy and warm, nothing like a typical lawyer's place. The girl explains she gets a lot of visitors with heavy stuff on their minds, so she wanted to make the room comfortable. Ju-eun agrees, saying it's hard to open up about personal stuff in cold, sterile places. She's calling Ki-sung a good lawyer, and admits she didn't think she'd even listen to her. Everyone thought she was nuts and blamed her, like, why be so stubborn when divorce is easier? Ju-eun sincerely thanks her, but she says she just helped her find a way to untangle the knot. Truth is, the words Ki-sung passed on to director Kim Taek-ju were nothing special. The lawyer just gave the guy, who wanted to understand his wife, a clue about what she really wanted. There's no stopping this fire. It'll only die down when everything's burned to the ground. Ki-sung told Kim Taek to speak up if he was hurting, scream if he felt like it, push back if he was pushed, to understand the other person's feelings. That day, all the appliances and dishes in their house got wrecked by both of them. The husband told his wife to finally calm down, because he couldn't understand how she couldn't forgive someone who was already dead. Everyone around Ju-eun kept telling her that so damn easily. Truth is, they weren't doing it for her. They just wanted her to crack, because that made things easier for them. But forgiveness can't be that damn simple. That feeling was eating her alive, so snapping at people was just easier. Even now, though, Ju-eun still feels resentful and can't bring herself to forgive. Cena tells her not to sweat it, because forgiveness takes a lot of effort too. When our girl first met Madame Ju, she had this blank, doll-like face, but now it's beaming with life. The couple decided to get divorced anyway, and the reasons why are gonna stay private. As Kisena's seeing Ju-eun out, she gets a call from Sung-min, who's happy to hear she was worried about him. According to Choi, he had to head out on a business trip, like, as soon as possible. When he asks how the reunion went, she tells him everyone was really hoping he'd show. So Sung-min's wondering if Kisena's free right now. He's in the neighborhood on business and figured he'd see if she wanted to hang out. They agree to meet, and she hangs up the phone. She's super flattered that Sung-min always calls her his Cena. But hey, he's always been a sweetheart, gets along with everyone. Kang Hyun walks into Ki Saina's office, and she immediately jumps up to meet him. She's dying to know how the trial went, if Ryu pulled out a win. Since Kang Hyun's playing the silent treatment, she demands to know what's up with her hard-earned cash. But against all expectations, the dude just lets out a heavy sigh. Then, leaning on her and giving her a hug, he tells her he's totally wiped. Seeing Kang Hyun lost the case, she's patting his back, trying to comfort him. Hugging him tight, she reminds him he said himself the odds weren't great. She tells him everyone knows how tough it's been lately, and he fought like hell. Kang Hyun offers her back the 100 grand. But she's pissed, because she's upset about his effort, not the money. Suddenly, Ryu looks up and tells her to meet him Saturday at 1 o'clock. He gently strokes the face of Ki Saina, who's totally confused, and asks her out. Finally, Kang Hyun admits he won the case, and she's about to get her payout, realizing he tricked her. Again, she starts punching the crap out of Ryu. The guy's like, "It's not my fault you hugged me first. Now you're taking away the reward you gave me." And even though Ki Saina calls him a freaking jerk, he just tells her to deal with it and pulls her close. According to her, she's willing to forgive him this time because he won. Even if it's conditional, a reward like that still makes Kang Hyun happy. Finally, that evening, Ki Saina gets off work, looking forward to a good time. Kang Hyun left early, suggesting they grab dinner, and warned her she'd regret saying no. And since that dinner involved her favorite Hanwoo marbled beef, she couldn't refuse. She heads to the parking lot to change in her car, when suddenly she hears footsteps behind her. A very familiar but long-forgotten voice calls out to Kisena. It's been like 10 years, and this voice, which she definitely didn't miss, is still stuck in her head for some reason. She turns around and sees her mother standing there, waiting for her daughter to say hello. She comments on how Kisena has become even more beautiful and suggests they chat for a bit. This girl can't figure out why this lady, showing up out of nowhere, keeps calling her mom. She decides to just blow her off, doesn't say a word, and turns to walk away. But just as Ki-seong hits the elevator button, the mother's hand lands on her shoulder. The girl shoves the woman off, pissed, asking how she dares to do that. Rubbing her sore hand, Lee Yeonhwa asks why Ki-seong is being so cold to her own mother. The girl smirks and says she doesn't have a mother. All she knows is a woman who dumped everything, said she wanted to live her own life, and walked away with some young dude. That woman was selfish as hell, hated being called mom. So it's pretty rich that she's using the word now. Lee Yeonhwa replies that back then, mom was just young and thought she was wasting her time raising a kid. She was full of dreams, and it was driving her crazy being stuck at home all the time. Addressing her mother formally, she demands she cut the crap and tell it like it is, seeing as she was never a stay-at-home mom anyway. Lee Young thinks she did everything for her daughter, fulfilled her duty by birthing her beautiful and into a rich family, because she's always lived better than everyone else. Ki-sang reminds the woman about the billions she got for giving up parental rights, handing them to her father. She sold her daughter for cash, so now she doesn't even have the right to say the word mom, declaring that Lee Young gave up the right to be called that. The girl starts yelling. The woman wants to know how Ki-sang knows about all this, but she tells her to shut it and get lost. Grabbing her daughter's arm, Lee Young begs her to go somewhere and talk privately so she can explain everything. Ki-sang shakes her off, saying she has nothing left to talk about. She gets in the elevator and tells her to leave and never even think about coming back again. According to the girl, she never cared about how Lee Young lived, and she never missed her face. Cena throws in, like it's nothing, that she cut her out of her life ages ago. But the second those elevator doors slide shut, our girl breaks down, crying. Kang Yun's already planted at the restaurant when his phone finally rings. He gets up from the table to answer Cena, asking her what's taking so long. She can't figure out why just hearing his voice suddenly chills her out. She warns Kang Yun she's planning on getting so wasted tonight, she might just start dancing in the street. Ryu thinks that sounds hilarious and offers to film the whole thing for posterity. Cena's in and asks him to stick with her till the end and then walk her home. Since Kang Yun's silent, she promises she'll just sway a little, but no hugging. Ryu answers, his voice getting serious, asking Cena if something's wrong. Turns out, the whole time, she was standing nearby, watching his face change like that. She's got no clue how he knew something was up, because she thought she was acting normal. Since she's not saying anything on the phone, Kang Yun asks where she is, and's about to head over. But then Cena hangs up, comes up behind him, hugs him, and says laughing that nothing's wrong with her. She hopes Ryu saved her favorite meat for her, and grabbing his hand, she drags him towards the restaurant. Kang Yun doesn't get why she keeps pretending like everything's cool until the very end. Maybe it's just her way of protecting herself, you know? After dinner, Ryu carries a plastered Cena home, throwing her over his shoulder. He sits her on the bed, takes off her shoes, and tells her to get a grip. She strokes his face, and he asks what else she wants since she's acting all sweet with him. Cena pulls Kang Yun close, telling him he should stay the night. She sees the surprise on his face and can't help but call him out on it. Ryu asks if she's had a lot to drink, and she admits she has, but not blackout drunk, though she's not making him tea. The fact that Cena can joke means she's all right, but Kang Yun still doesn't know what to make of her pushing him to stay. He says he's always thought guys who take advantage of drunk women are total losers. But when the woman you love is coming onto you this strong, you start to think, you're the loser if you don't go for it. The girl asks him what kind of loser that would make him. Saying he's not that much of a gentleman, Kang Hyun gets into bed and kisses her. He's scared he can't hold back anymore and might actually do something with her. And even though Cena says it's okay, Ryu doesn't think so. Because if she regrets it tomorrow, it'll just be another scar for him. Only now does she realize she never answered Kang Hyun's confession, and he's still stressing about it. Ryu tucks her into bed and promises to leave as soon as she's asleep. Feeling the warmth of his hands, Ki-sang vows to give Kang Yun her answer for sure on their date Saturday. Everything was fine until she fell asleep, but now, meeting Sunmin, she feels like crap from the hangover. When the waiter comes, she just asks for a glass of water. Ki-sang wonders why Sunmin wanted to meet her specifically here. Last time, he couldn't treat her to lunch because of urgent business, so now he's offered to have dinner together. When he named the place, she just figured it was some Italian restaurant in the hotel. But showing up, it feels like the kind of place where they usually serve cake with a ring inside. Kisa can't figure out why he's spending so much on her. I mean, last time it was flowers, and now this fancy restaurant. When Songmin finally shows up, the first thing he does is apologize for being late. She tells him it's cool, she just got here a little early. Chi orders champagne and suggests they drink to their getting together. When the waiter brings their food, Kisa suggests to Songmin that next time they grab something at a simpler place. The dude's clearly confused by that, because he thought she'd be into this. Kisa says she is into it, but it's a little much for where they're at, and Songmin should bring his girlfriend here. Noticing Chase spilling champagne from his glass, she jumps up to help him out, but he grabs her hand and tells her that, in his opinion, they look great together as a man and a woman. She asks if he's messing with her, considering they just reconnected and barely even talk. So, Sonmin's saying you don't need some big dramatic event for a guy and a girl to catch feelings. He claims the second he saw Kisaina again, he knew exactly how he felt. Last time he tried to tell her, Ryu Kang Yun showed up out of nowhere at the restaurant. But he's serious. He was totally into her back in college. He was just too chicken to say anything. Ki-sina's not buying it, especially since Sonmin left the country with another woman. Chi admits it's true, and he ain't gonna try to make excuses for it. He just figured, hey, they're both single now, so maybe this is his shot. Since she doesn't say anything, Sunmin wonders if he's rushing things a little too much. But out of the blue, Cena confesses she's already got a thing for someone else. Chi smirks and asks if she's talking about Ryu Kang Yun. Wait, how did you even find out about that? She's like totally surprised. Sunmin grabs his head and blurts out, "It could be anyone, just not Ryu." Say, you gotta think this through. She's all, okay, what's with the crazy reaction? Explain yourself. And then Che drops this bomb. 6 months ago, the prosecutor's office swept something under the rug. It was a scandal involving one of their own prosecutors. In that world, you got sex scandals, sponsorship scandals, corruption scandals, and something always bubbles up every few years. You know how it is. Prosecutors and cops protect their own, so they shut it down, no real investigation. This was a sexual harassment and bribery thing, and it involved Ryu Kang Yun. He was hitting on a younger prosecutor, and then tried to cover it all up. Sunmin's saying, if Kisei was doing criminal cases, she would have heard about this at least once. Jumping up, shaking all over, she screams there's no way, Ryu wouldn't do that. Cho said he doubted it at first too. But the way he suddenly quit, and what he told him points to that being the reason. Kisena's sure it can't be true. Kang Hyun's being framed, plain and simple. Songmin claims he wanted to keep it quiet. But when she confessed her feelings for Ryu, he couldn't hold back. She could believe Kang Hyun punching someone maybe, but bribery? No freaking way. That arrogant dude would never take a bribe to cover something up. It's just not possible. Kisena's positive the Kang Hyun she knows would never do something like that. Still, Songmin insists it had something to do with one of the companies Diso Group was working with. That's how he found out all the details, according to him. And if Kisena's ready to date a guy like that, Songmin suggests she'd be better off dating him. He smirks, hoping the girl hasn't fallen too hard for Kang Hyun yet. Climbing into her car, she immediately calls her acquaintance, Prosecutor Park. As soon as he answers, she demands he tell her about that secret case of Ryu Kang Hyun's he mentioned before. Park wonders why Kisa is suddenly so interested in this, especially since they're working together now. But she wants to know why there are such weird rumors floating around about Kang Hyun. Park refuses to say anything, repeating that it's classified information. In that case, Kisa wants to know at least if Ryu's resignation was really connected to a woman. Prosecutor Park sighs and admits he can't exactly deny that it wasn't. The heroine asks what Kang Yun did to that woman anyway. According to Park, he's not saying anything, not just because the case is classified, but because it's super messed up and he doesn't dare talk about it. After talking to the DA, she calls Kang Hyun, asking if he's decided where they're going Saturday. Ryu's like, seriously? You calling just to ask that? He's still thinking, so he's down to hear her suggestion if Cena's got any ideas. Kang Hyun honestly doesn't care where they go, as long as she has a good time. She says she trusts him completely, and after a little pause, repeats it again. Ryu's thrown off like, where's that coming from? But Cena claims she just said it. Then she asks if they can move the date to Sunday, because something urgent came up for Saturday. According to Kisena, it's super important, and could even turn out to be good news for Kang Hyun himself. She heads to a meeting with Chief Jung, who's surprised she's hitting him up so late. The girl admits she learned something crazy about mentor Kang Yun, but was more shocked than interested in checking it out. Looks like she's starting to have doubts on some level, but something still feels off to her. Chang asks if she's talking about the rumors that are going around the office. He says those rumors about him and some younger coworker are so ridiculous he hasn't even bothered to address them. She says she heard Kang Yun was hitting on a coworker and then tried to cover it up, which is why he stepped down. Mr. Chang wants to know where attorney Kisena got that info. Then again, it doesn't really matter, since whether she believes it or not is her own call. Chang guesses she's disappointed in Kang Hyun, but she suddenly says that's not the case. When asked how much she trusts Ryu, Kisena replies she only believes what she sees with her own eyes. Mr. Chang, looking her straight in the eye, states confidently that Kang Hyun is definitely not that kind of guy. The girl smiles back, because she already knows that. Kisena shows up at this event hosted by some law firm, but Kang Yun's running late. Out of nowhere, some dude's hand lands on her shoulder. She turns around and it's Soman. Then it hits her. His company's throwing this shindig. He says he almost didn't come, but figured he might run into Kisena. They head out to the balcony to talk, and she grills him about what he meant back at the restaurant. Cho mentioned Kang Hyun supposedly told him something, and that's how he found out about it all. Cena thinks it's BS, but Sumin says it's not exactly like that. More like a strategic omission, if you catch my drift. When he asks what she's dug up on Kang Hyun, she brushes it off, saying the rumors aren't even worth discussing. Soman's floored by how much Cena trusts that Ryo wouldn't pull something like that. He's calling Kang Yun an idiot, saying he didn't even realize the prosecutor bribery case he was investigating backfired on him. She's surprised how Che is talking about his friend. but he retorts that he and that bastard were never friends. Though, according to him, none of that even matters. Grabbing her hand, he pulls her close, asking if Kang Yun knows that Cena is using him to solidify her position in K-Corp. Hearing those words, she freezes, totally stunned. A phone rings, and Sungmin guesses that it must be who she's been waiting for. He lets go of her, suggesting they continue this conversation another time. As Cena walks away, Sungmin advises her to definitely pick up the phone next time he calls. Her mind is racing, trying to figure out what exactly Che meant, as the phone in her hand keeps ringing. When she comes back into the room from the balcony, Kang Yun is walking towards her. He's grinning from ear to ear, finally finding Cena. All night, the heroine's been stuck on what Seungmin meant by saying she's using Kang Yun. Ryu notices she seems troubled, and when she blames it on too much champagne, he suggests getting some fresh air. But just then, CEO Ki Chang-soo strolls up to the table. He's eager to introduce his new lawyer partner, Ryu Kang Yun, to his friends. Cena waves him off, insisting she's fine. Left alone, she tries to convince herself to just forget about it and stop worrying. But then a message from Seungmin pops up, and when she opens it, she's horrified to see a photo of her contract with her father. She jumps up, calls him back, and demands to know where he is. She asks sarcastically if Cena already misses him. "What the hell is this? And were you snooping around my office?" she demands. Sonmin says if the document was so important, she should have hidden it better. He's even surprised he has this habit, and if he knew about it beforehand, he would have warned her. When she asks what he's planning to do now, Che replies that he hasn't decided yet. Her hands are shaking with rage, but trying to keep it together, she says the contract is useless to him. Sonmin knows that already, since he wasn't going to do anything with it at first, and just thought it was a funny find. But when Cena reacted so strongly, it made him wonder if this was her weak spot. She asks, surprised, if he's always been like this, and if he's even the Che she used to know. Sonmin scoffs and bursts out laughing. He's surprised she still doesn't get it, and calls Cena a hothouse flower who's wasted her life. After heading downstairs and hanging up, he tells the girl he's got something interesting to share. According to him, Ryu's been into her for a while, but he only realized she liked him back today. Sungmin asks if Cena knows Kang Yun is a total orphan, a kid with no parents, acting all high and mighty like he's somebody. It even made people jealous sometimes. Sungmin was wondering what world he was living in. He never thought that guy was capable of having feelings for anyone. So, Che wants to congratulate Cena for being the only one who can control Kang Yun. The girl's completely lost. She has no idea what he's getting at. Smiling slyly, Sungmin declares he's just trying to stir up some trouble between them. And Ryu hates nothing more than being used. Cena wants to know, what the hell does he want from her then? So, Sonmin's asking what she thinks he should do, and if he should show Kang Yun this contract. Because there's no way he'll believe Cena's being genuine once he sees this thing. The heroine is shaking with rage, saying she wouldn't have even given Sonmin the time of day if she knew what a disgusting, lowlife he really was. According to Che, this was all predictable. Regretting it now is pointless, and Cena's just hurting herself. Saying the choice is hers alone, Sunmin walks off, leaving her standing there in the middle of the hall. She's thinking Ryu Kang Yun, who doesn't trust anyone, only trusted her. The one who carelessly betrayed him to secure her position at K-Corp. Saying she never thought she'd develop feelings for him would just sound like an excuse. She should have told Ryu about the contract as soon as she realized her feelings, or even before, when he confessed to her. Honestly, Cena shouldn't have signed that damn contract in the first place. Realizing she's no better than Chae Seong-min, she bursts into tears. Just then, Kang Hyun walks up, takes her hand, and asks if she's feeling sick. She tells him she just didn't sleep well and is super tired. Kang Hyun gently strokes her face, asking again if she's really okay. Feeling his kindness tear her up inside, Cena decides she needs to tell him everything. She hesitates for a second, then realizes she needs to figure something out first. Asking him to wait a bit and promising to tell him the truth, she runs off. On the way, Seongmin stops Ki-Saena and says he won't show Kang Hyun the contract if she breaks up with him. After that, she'll have to introduce him to her dad as her fiancé and a candidate for the partner lawyer position. After laying out his terms, he lets Ki-Saena go and heads back towards the restaurant. She's yelling after him that he's out of his freaking mind, saying that after what he did, and there's no way she's just handing him a partnership. Sonmin tells Sena she can show Kang Hyun that contract right now if she doesn't like it, and watch everything go up in flames. Or maybe she'll get to see him break when he feels the betrayal of someone he actually trusted. In her head, she's calling Sunmin a real piece of garbage and promises he's gonna pay big time for this. The next day, Ki-Saena goes to her dad's office to talk about the contract. Kai Chang-soo can't believe his daughter's finally stepping up, like she's starting to see things aren't so bad. Her father laughs, adding that Ki-Soo-hoon's been saying at home that his sister picked the right guy. The old man claims his gut's never wrong, and Cena just responds that he's right. Then, she tells her dad to just act like that contract never even happened. She says it was a mistake, and she signed it without even thinking. The contract itself isn't the problem, it's that it exists at all. Kang Yun's not an object, he's a person, and she didn't realize how important his feelings were. Ryu didn't even know this contract existed, which could have consequences. Because if one party's in the dark, it's a crooked deal. After staring hard at his daughter, Ki Chan-soo states that the deal's pretty much done, and if she wants out, she knows what she has to do. Kai Saina knows that, which is why she's ready to step down as head of the family division. On top of that, she's willing to give back the shares her dad transferred to her. She'll also pay the property transfer tax, including the tax from the last time those shares were moved to her. Ki Chan-soo doesn't get why Sena's going to such lengths, instead of just enjoying the situation, especially since Ryu's lawyer seems into her too. According to her, she used to think that way too, until she realized how messed up it was. She's ready to lose more than she gained, because there are things worth sacrificing for. This ain't just feelings, it's Ki-sung's pride we're talking about. She looks her dad dead in the eye, says forget the contract, cause she's head over heels for Kang Yun, and can't stand the shame no more. Songmin sitting across from Ki-sung, smirking, asks her if she's sure about this. She tells him she was shocked at first, then pissed. But now she's just disappointed in herself. Her take is, it's better to be straight up and help Songmin however she can. When Che asks what she's getting at, Cena says jealousy and grudges get you nowhere. She knows from experience, all that crap just eats you up inside. Songmin figured she was just some hothouse flower, never expected her to be this deep. He smiles and tells her she doesn't know jack about him. She agrees he's not the guy she thought he was. But still, she never saw him pulling something like this. When asked if she showed Kang Yun the contract, Ki-suna says it's getting cancelled, and she already talked it over with her dad. Sungmin asks if she really loves Ryu that much, and she confirms it. But even if Ki-suna cancels the contract, it doesn't change the fact that she used Kang Hyun, he says. Judging by her reaction, she didn't like his proposal, even though he made it pretty damn clear what he was planning. With that, he sends Kang Hyun a text with a picture of the contract. Sungmin asks Ki-suna, with a sarcastic grin, what she's gonna do now, and if she wants to pick up the phone. After all, the guy who never gave him the time of day is suddenly calling him back. The heroine's heart stops, and that scumbag Che continues to mock her, wondering which of them should answer the call. He asks if Kang Hyun will believe Cena as much as she believes him, and picks up the phone. He says Ryu must be pissed about his text, if the guy who wouldn't even look at a lowlife like him is suddenly calling back. Suman's asking if he liked the gift he sent. He'd love to see Kang Yun's face right now. But too bad, there's someone else sitting across from him. With that, Che shoves the phone at Kisei and tells her to answer. She picks up and promises to explain everything to Kang Hyun, but he cuts her off, ignoring him. Sei's planning to head over there right now and tell him everything in person. She says he can be mad if he wants, but she's begging him to just hear her out first. But then Kang Yun suddenly says that he doesn't think they've finished their bet yet. He tells Kisei to just consider that she's won. The girl tears into the office and sprints toward Kang Hyun's office. She pounds on the door for a while with no luck, until she finally realizes he's not there. Cena's calling Ryu, but he's not picking up or answering her texts. Suddenly, the girl's hit with this total feeling of helplessness. She wanted to fix the mess she made, but didn't think about how it'd mess with his feelings. She feels incredibly stupid, and just then, her phone starts buzzing in her hand. Ki-suna grabs the phone, expecting to hear Kang Hyun, but it's someone else entirely. She's shocked and asks Lee Yeonhwa how she got her number. The woman reminds her that she's her mother, so it's not that surprising. Ki-suna says again that she doesn't have a mother anymore, and Yeonhwa needs to stop stalking her. The woman says she can tell who her father is right away from her sharp tongue. Yeonhwa asks Cena to meet up when she's free, because she has something to tell her, but she ain't got any desire to talk to her, and just hangs up. The guy who posed as a reporter to Sunmin, and then blackmailed him, is sitting in Kang Hyun's office. He notices Ryu keeps getting calls from lawyer Ki, and offers to pick up. But Ryu says if someone messes up, they gotta pay the price. When asked if Ki-saena screwed something up, Kang Hyun says if you let stuff slide, it becomes a problem. And if you don't treat it like a problem, everything could fall apart. The lawyer thinks there's definitely a connection here. He points to the documents on the desk, and now the guy finally gets that Ryu's talking about the Hwang Yu-ryu case. Back then, everything got settled crazy fast, and clearly, Sonmin's legal team management skills are off the charts in that area. Ryu regrets cutting the guy slack, because if he knew how talented he was, he would have gotten rid of him sooner. Kang Yun doesn't get why such a sharp mind is wasted on stuff like this. For him, Sonmin was always just some dude who was annoying to look at. But the second Ryu turned away, he'd forget all about him. And if Che hadn't targeted Ki-suna, everything would have stayed the same. Kang Yun smirks, and the guy across from him asks what's up. Ryu grins and says he's thinking about getting a cat. A Siamese, cold on the outside but caring, would probably be a good fit. Looking bummed, Cena walks through the office, wondering if she'll get to see Kang Yun and talk to him today. First thing, she's gonna apologize, then explain why she signed that contract back then. She needs to tell him she canceled the deal with her dad, and everything about Chae Sung-min too. Right then, Kang Hyun steps out of the elevator across from where she's standing. He glances at her, then turns and walks right past. Cena grabs his coat sleeve and begs him to talk to her, even if it's not right now, then whenever he has time. Without turning around, Ryu coldly replies that it'll have to wait, cause he's kinda busy right now. The girl lets him go and promises to wait, even if it takes a while, like after work or something. After Kang Yun walks off, Ki-sung's phone starts buzzing in her hand. It's GN Hospital in Seoul calling, worried about one of their patients. Apparently, according to their records, Ki-sung is Lee Yeon-hwa's guardian, which is why they're reaching out. A little later, our girl walks into the hospital room, totally speechless. Yeon thinks that if Ki-sung had just agreed to talk sooner, things wouldn't be this messed up. She wants to know if Yeon-hwa called her, just to show off how bad she's gotten. Yeon-hwa wants her daughter to get checked out, and she's already set everything up with the doctor. Cena needs to get tested to see if she's a match for a liver transplant. This woman's had health problems for years, early-stage liver cancer, needs a transplant. Hearing that, the girl just bursts out laughing like a maniac. So that's why Dad asked her if she'd been getting weird calls. Obviously, that strange, unspoken request from Sehun was about this too. Cena wants to know how Lee Yeon-hwa could even think about cutting up her own daughter when she's never shown her any love. The woman doesn't get what the big deal is about getting checked out. They say it doesn't even hurt. The girl is furious. Can't believe someone like that gave birth to her, and thinks Yeon-hwa should have gotten rid of her before she was even born. According to the woman, if she knew what Ki-saena would become, she really would have. In her opinion, taking care of sick parents is every kid's responsibility. The girl's shaking with rage and reminds her that a parent is supposed to be a parent too. Lee Yeon never acted like her mom, and she'd rather die than give her that liver. Ki-sung, making it clear it ain't happening, turns to leave. Lee Yeon bolts out of bed and grabs her arm, but the girl tells her to never call again. She says maybe, just maybe, when the woman's on death's door, she might have a change of heart and donate part of her liver. Saying that, she walks out of the room, not even sure why she came here in the first place. Did she still have some kind of attachment, making her step into this hellhole? Suddenly, Ki-sung spots Kang Hyun walking down the hallway. She asks why he's here, but Ryu just stares at her, silent. The heroine's nerves snap, and she runs off in tears. Cena bolts down the stairs, not understanding why he showed up here, of all times. Tears are blurring her vision. She misses a step and starts to fall. But Kang Hyun caught up just in time and grabs her, stopping her from eating pavement. He asks if Cena's okay, but she just tells him to let go. She begged him to talk before, and he dodged her like crazy, so why the sudden change? Kang Hyun wants her to look at him, but she tells him to just pretend he didn't see anything if he sees her running away. She's wondering why Ryu always seems to catch her at her absolute worst. Why is he always showing up when she's the last person she wants anyone to see? Cena asks if Kang Hyun feels better, now that he knows how her own mom treats her. All the crap she said. She wants to know if he chased after her, just to unload about how pissed he is about her betrayal. She's ready to take his judgment, apologize, and just be done with this whole damn thing. Kang Hyun tells her to chill out and check her ankle first. Saying she doesn't even care what happens to her anymore, Cena runs off again. Ryu bends down and picks up the shoe she left behind. The girl limps down the street, feeling stupid about how ridiculous she looks. She sits down on a bench, head in her hands, still crying her eyes out. Kang Yun walks up and asks if she's done crying, but Cena says she's got more tears left, so he can just leave. Ryu just sighs heavily in response. Cena asks why he came if he doesn't like her anymore and hates her. Is his hate so strong that he enjoys seeing her like this? Kang Hyun's amazed at how good Cena is at making him feel guilty. He drops to one knee, slipping the lost shoe back onto her foot. He notices she's still terrible at expressing how she really feels, because everything she just said was basically her begging him to stay. He thinks maybe, just maybe, things are finally gonna change, because the guy she confessed her feelings to while crying wasn't Sonmin, like in her messed up past, but him, Ryu. Still, in his eyes, Cena's too damn beautiful to push away. Whether she's crying or pissed, she's always gorgeous to him. Ryu takes her hands and asks her to just tell him straight up what she wants him to do. He wants Cena to remember what was at stake in their bet, and what he promised he'd do if she won. She recalls that he promised to grant her any wish, no matter what it was. Kang Hyun smirks, asking where they should even begin then. Without missing a beat, Cena just throws herself into his arms, not saying a word. Holding her close, Ryu's kinda thrown like, is that it? But she just asks him to hold her for now. Next thing you know, She's asking him to stroke her hair, and Kang Hyun's right on it. The girl apologizes, owning up to screwing up, saying she did a bunch of dumb stuff and feels awful. She begs Ryu to forgive her for all the harsh things she said, just pleading with him not to hate her. The guy chuckles, wondering who's hating who here. Cena confesses she's totally fallen for Kang Hyun, and he laughs, saying that's definitely good news. She says she's not the type to burst into tears all over the place, but Ryu already knows that. When she asks if he was really mad at her, Kang Hyun says he can't pretend he wasn't upset at all. Since she screwed up big time and can't live down the shame, she promises to bust her ass until he forgives her. Staring straight into Ryu's eyes, Cena asks if he'll let her love him. Truth is, the day Kang Hyun got that message from Songmin, he was absolutely livid. But it wasn't really about the contract, even though the terms were totally insane. What really pissed Ryu off was that Songmin contacted Cena in the first place and obviously set a trap for her. She says she never meant to deceive Kang Hyun. She just thought they were enemies back then and didn't believe he'd ever fall for her. So, like an idiot, she figured they could work together with an agreement. To her surprise, Kang Hyun replies that he already knows that. When you think about it, Cena didn't even do anything under that contract. He was the one chasing after her. If the dumbass had just confessed right away, things could have been different. But maybe that's why she caught his eye. He's just asking her to think twice next time, because if it happens again, he doesn't know what he'll do. He says Cena wasn't at fault in the first place, and even though he was pissed, it wasn't at her. She doesn't get why he was avoiding her then. After all the days she spent stressing, losing sleep, and trying to figure out how to make things right, she was constantly thinking about Ryu, couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't even focus at work. It finally hits her that he was playing games on purpose, and Kang Hyun casually asks if her ankle's still hurting. Ryu promises to treat Cena better from now on, so he tells her to stop playing hard to get and just be with him. When he asks if he can kiss her, she's confused, wondering when he started needing permission for that. Then, he pulls Cena close and kisses her gently. Later, as they're walking around the courtyard, she asks why Kang Yun came here. He says he's here on business, though talking about it might get awkward and could affect things between them. But she doesn't care, she just wants him to lay it all out. After all, Kang Yun might have been disappointed in her behavior, but he never judged her. And even though Ryu says this is a little different, she promises to understand, no matter what. Kang Hyun smiles and tells Cena to follow him then. The couple heads back to the hospital and walks into a room where an elderly woman is lying. She affectionately calls Kang Hyun her sweet little puppy, even though he says he's too old for nicknames like that. Looking at Cena, the woman asks if she's the lawyer Ryu told her about. Annoyed he didn't mention how pretty she is, he replies that he definitely did mention it. Embarrassed, he admits he wasn't planning on introducing them just yet. This lady's insisting that he introduce us since we're here, and because I'm the first girl Ryu's actually raved about. Putting his arm around Cena, Kang Yun introduces her to Miss Lee Soon-ok. She's not really sure what this woman is to him, but she introduces herself too. Lee Soon-ok says they look great together, and now she can finally rest easy. Kang Hyun asks her to love Cena as much as he does, which totally embarrasses her. Soon-ok knows Ryu's not one to openly talk about his feelings, so she hopes they're mutual. Blushing, Cena admits that she really likes Kang Hyun too. Taking her hand, the woman says Ryu seems super reserved, but he's completely different on the inside. If he screws anything up, Lee Soon-ok tells the girl to come to her, and she'll set him straight. She says you start seeing things clearer as you get older, and she's so happy Cena's so sweet and kind. That woman begged us, like, don't you dare abandon Kang Hyun. Ryu tells her just stick close, says that's enough for him, and Cena promises she will. Once they're out of the room, she says the woman seemed like a really good person, and Ryu agrees. Lee Soon-ok worked herself ragged her whole youth, then landed a cook job at a construction site around 40, and she's been living in dust and cement for over 20 years now. Kang Hyun's super worried about her, wants her to live as long as possible. She never imagined Ryu could be this gentle. It threw her for a loop when Lee Soon-ok started teasing Kang Hyun, calling him a little puppy. That's when Ryu admits that woman raised him. Cena asks, smiling, if he's gonna start sweet-talking her too, and he says, hey, anything's possible, once she's lived as long as Lee Soon has. She's shocked, like, does Ryu actually like her enough to plan on being with her that long? When they finally get to the car, Kang Hyun asks how Cena's ankle is and if she can drive. She says she's good to drive, then stops, like she's gonna ask him something else. Looking at Ryu, she asks if she can crash at his place tonight. Kang Hyun spaces out for a second, then says he was gonna wait for the right time, like tomorrow, but guess he's gotta say it now. That woman in the hospital isn't his mom or grandma, she just raised him. Cena's probably already heard from that scumbag Songmin that he's an orphan. Kang Yun promises to tell her all the details when she's ready. She grabs his hand and asks if he wants to tell her everything. She doesn't care if she should know, but if he wants to share it with her, so he should think it over real good. Kang Hyun pulls her close and admits that he really wants to. Cena's dying to get to know him better too, and suggests they head back to her place. They get home, ditch their coats, and collapse on the bed, making out like crazy. Kang Hyun asks if Cena's sure about this, and she just laughs, pulling him in closer. Later, lying under the covers, Ryu starts telling her his story. He was around 15, walking home from school, when he saw a crowd of people in the alley near his house. Police, an ambulance, the whole 9 yards, and Kang Yun felt everyone's eyes on him. The kid either hadn't processed it yet, or he knew deep down that the person under the sheet on the stretcher was his mom. His legs just froze, and he stood there, totally fixated. And then someone came up behind Kang Hyun and covered his eyes. It was Madam Lee, the landlady of the house they were living in. Ryu's mom was a naive country girl with dreams of being an actress. She moved to the city, joined some broke theater troupe, and started learning the ropes. But it wasn't even a year before her whole life went to hell. She had a kid, no idea who the dad was, and that's when her life became a living nightmare. A long, dark depression ate away at her mind, and she just lost all will to live. After Ryu was born, she was haunted by constant nightmares and started suffering from delirium. Kang Yun doesn't remember when it started. He had to accept reality before he even realized he needed his parents. His mom's smile was beautiful, like a clear blue sky. But when she cried, she was scarier than a beast who'd lost its cub. Sometimes she'd act normal, recognize him, and do chores around the house. But it always made him anxious. She seemed so fragile, like she could just disappear at any moment. No funeral, and honestly, nobody would have shown up anyway. Ryu was all alone, and figured he'd just get shipped off to some orphanage. Mother or no mother, Kang Hyun had always been on his own, so he wasn't sweating it. He told himself it might even be for the best, because in an orphanage, a lot of kids are in the same boat. But then, this lady, Miss Lee Sunoke, told the kid she was going to be his guardian. She was in her 40s, no kids of her own, and living solo since her husband passed. When she asked Ryu to come live with her, he didn't even hesitate, just said yes. In that moment, it seemed like she needed it even more than he did. Hearing this story, Cena, totally bawling, asks Kang Hyun if she can hug him. Ryu pulls her close, and she feels this incredible warmth radiating from him. It hits her how amazing he is, especially after everything he's been through. Kang Hyun says it's all thanks to Miss Lee, who took in a random kid and raised him like her own. This woman, his guardian, is his only family, the one he considers his mom. When she finally calms down, Ryu admits he wants to be honest with her, always. So, he asks her to let him tell her something else. Kang Hyun's sure Cena's heard rumors about his work at the prosecutor's office and asks what she's most curious about. She waves it off, saying it's just stupid gossip she doesn't care about. But there is something she wants to know, and Kang Hyun's willing to answer anything. Cena asks how hot that coworker is, the one Ryu's rumored to be hooking up with. The way she asks is so intense, it totally throws Kang Hyun for a loop. Seeing the confusion on his face, she tells him to just forget she said anything. Then, out of nowhere, Cena asks if Kang Hyun still has her phone number. After that, she covers her face with her hands and says to forget she even asked, saying she doesn't really care. Ryu responds by stroking her face, pulling her close, and kissing her. He admits he suddenly realized how much he loves being with her, and that he's always dreamed of this. Cena asks if she can ask him one more question. Kang Yun guesses she wants to know the reason behind all those rumors. He says it was a strategy to smear him and turn a good prosecutor into some kind of pervert. According to Kang Yun, he was constantly getting screwed over at the prosecutor's office. He was secretly investigating bribery cases, and the situation turned out even worse than he thought. They weaponized their power, cutting deals and delaying justice. Anyone who didn't play ball was just seen as incompetent. They went after Kang Hyun for revenge, cause how dare some low-level prosecutor dig into the big shots. Still, Cena doesn't get what any of this has to do with the harassment. Turns out, the whole so-called harassment thing wrecked Ryu's case, all because of that girl. Grabbing Kang Hyun's hand, she passionately promises to protect him. Ryu finds her outburst amusing, admitting he actually does feel protected with her around. Cena hugs Kang Hyun tight, furious at how they dared to do this to her man. She's dead set on destroying everyone who spread those nasty rumors about him. A couple days later, she heads to her family's place for dinner. Ki Chan-soo wants to know why his daughter suddenly wants a meeting. Since he brought it up, she cuts to the chase. When were they gonna tell her about Lee Yanhua? She figures her dad would have kept it a secret if she hadn't shown up herself. Cena should have figured something was up when Sehun came to her, talking all cryptic. Chan-soo thought it was better if she didn't know any of this. The heroine replies that ex-spouses, no matter how much they loved each other, become strangers after the divorce. Meaning, unlike her dad and that woman are now complete strangers to each other. So she asks him to stay out of it and let her handle things her own way. the girl's gonna start by getting checked out, which shocks everyone at the table. Cena's stepmom tries to say something, but she cuts her off, gently taking her hand. According to her, she'll always think of her as her real mom, not that Lee Yanhua woman. Her stepmom, though she's wondering if she even has the right to say this, admits she could never do that to Cena, not even in her worst nightmare. The girl replies that she can't forgive that woman. Smiling, she tells her mom not to worry, because she isn't planning on doing what she's afraid of. Cena always wondered if the woman who was supposed to be her mother ever missed her. And as a kid, she waited up all night for her to come home. Maybe these empty hopes are payback for all those sleepless nights. If she's not a match in the study, then whatever. But if she is, then so be it. Out of the blue, she tells her dad they don't have to cancel their contract. When he asks what made her change her mind, Cena laughs and says pride is pride. But Kang Yun doesn't seem to mind. Turns out, attorney Ryu knows everything, and she has to admit, her dad's got a great nose for people. Kang Yun's seriously amazing, so she's planning to soak up everything she can from him. She's got stuff to learn from him, both as someone with more experience and as the lawyer she's working with. Soon, Cena's bringing him home to meet her folks, cause she's even more into him than she thought. She's really hoping her mom's gonna like Kang Yun too. Her mom thanks her for trusting her, but Cena thinks she's the one who should be saying thanks. Ryu Kang Yun's walking down the hall of some trendy nightclub. The bouncer stops him at the entrance, asking for a code word. Cause this ain't the kind of place you just waltz into. Ryu says Red Lily, and they open the door and let him in. Once inside, the guy looks around, finally spotting the person he came for. Hwang Yura's sitting at one of the VIP tables piled with bottles of expensive booze. Kang Hyun pulls up a chair next to the woman, grabs one of the bottles, and examines it like he knows his stuff. When Yura asks him who the hell he is, the guy says he just came here for a drink. Because none of these sons of bitches around here actually came to listen to the music. The woman wants to know if he knows who she is, and Kang Hyun calmly tells her she's the crazy heiress to the Doeso group. Yurai's getting pissed, wondering what new psycho just crawled out of the woodwork. But Kang Yun just laughs and says he's got a long way to go before he's as messed up as she is. Yura doesn't know what he wants from her, but tells him to shut his yap and get lost, cause she's in a bad mood. Ryu's not surprised, seeing as how her party's been a total snooze fest. The woman thinks he's a reporter, but Kang Yun says if he was a reporter, he wouldn't waste his time on small potatoes like this, when there's way bigger stuff going on. Yura's wondering who invited him, since this is a private party. The guy says he just popped in, but got bored, and heard she's the most interesting person here. In that case, Yura suggests they have some fun together tonight. As they're drinking, some blonde dude comes up to their table, wanting to know who the stranger is. Looks like one of the elite guys always hanging around Yura. She's sure they'll find out who this hottie is soon enough. But either way, she's already digging him. She suggests playing a game to see if he's a good fit for their group. The game's called Truth or Death, a slightly twisted version of Truth or Dare. And to start, Yura wants to know who he is and what he does. Kang Hyun stares right at her and announces he's a lawyer. The guys sitting next to Yura are pissed. Like what makes some lawyer think he can hang with them? Unless his dad's a Supreme Court justice, he's basically just going to be cleaning up after them like a butler. Yura says she knows a lawyer, but this dude is totally different from the guy she knows. Kang Yun points out there's more than one lawyer in the world. And guys are different too, you know? She doesn't see why a lawyer can't just hang out. Everyone's gotta work, right? She pulls out a cigarette case from her purse, and there's a little packet in there besides the smokes. Just like Kang Hyun thought, this ain't exactly innocent fun. He turns down the cigarette, saying he quit. Yura's amused he did it for a girl, and she's sure he's not who he seems to be. She says this isn't just truth or dare, it's a hunt for a well-hidden secret. She suggests spinning a bottle, and whoever it points at has to drink and tell a juicy story. Alright, the rest of you guys have to figure out if the person's telling the truth or straight up lying. If you're convinced it's the truth, you gotta chug the glass in front of you. But if you think they're full of it, instead of drinking, you yell out, "Liar!" If even one person doubts the storyteller has to spill more details to prove they're telling the truth. Then we vote again. Then, if they were lying, the storyteller drinks for every person at the table. But if it turns out they were telling the truth, then you gotta drink if you called them a liar. So, if you don't want to get hammered, you either gotta be a master liar and convince everyone, or just tell the damn truth. Kang Yun thinks this is gonna be awesome, and Yura volunteers to go first. Ryu's already itching to see how good she is at playing this game. Yura spins the bottle, and it points right back at her. She's thinking about where to even start, cause she's got a ton of stories to tell. After a quick think, she decides to start with something easy. After a while, almost everyone at the table is passed out drunk. Kang Hyun catches another player lying again. The guy's like, how the hell does he do it? I thought I sounded legit this time. Ryu's been listening to these idiots' stories for hours now. But honestly, it's just a bunch of messed up stories and lame-ass bluffing. And if that's all it is, he doesn't see the point in sticking around and wasting his time. Kang Yun downs his shot, gets up from the table, ready to bail. Yura stops him, because even though everyone else is wasted, they're both still sober. So, she suggests they each reveal one deep, dark secret that nobody else knows. The woman asks Ryu, "Have you ever killed a man? Ever stuck a knife in someone?" Looks like Kang Yun's hooked. She can tell she's piqued his interest. The lawyer smirks, proving her point, and sits back down. He tells Yura to start her story, says he's actually into it. The woman unbuttons the top button of his shirt, saying he needs to loosen up a little first. She tells him to have another drink if he wants to hear the rest. And Ryu throws back another shot. For the first time ever, Kang Yun actually feels bad for Sungmin, who's clearly falling for this girl's manipulation. Yura recounts the first time she realized how easy it was to kill someone, when so much blood poured out that her whole robe was soaked. She doesn't really remember where she stabbed him, whether it was his throat or his chest. Hwang urges Kang Hyun to keep drinking if he wants the juicy details. While he's drinking, she explains how everyone was pressuring her that day, making it hard to think straight. This rich bastard was flashing his expensive-ass switchblade, and the next thing Yura knew, she had it clutched in her hand. Reason for the kill? She kept telling the guy she wasn't into him, but he wouldn't take no for an answer and kept bugging her. Truth is, she didn't even think she'd actually kill him. I mean, she already said she didn't realize how easy it would be. When she snapped out of it, he was already dead, and she was covered in blood. Yura was wasted, and then some, so everything she saw seemed unreal, like she was having a bad dream. Kang Hyun's shocked at how nonchalant Yura is telling this story, like she doesn't feel a single shred of guilt. She's not just some spoiled brat, she's human garbage, worse than any nasty-ass animal. Yura claims she was way drunker back then than she is now, and asks Ryu if he buys her story. Dude thinks it's a little too hardcore for a secret confession. She strokes his bare chest, asking if he wants to know what happened next. Doesn't he want to know how she can just chill here like nothing happened after killing a guy? Saying it's time for a drink, Kang Yun asks her who the guy she killed was. He wants to know what kind of chump died so dumb, but Yura thinks she'll lose if she spills the beans. She figures one drink definitely ain't gonna cut it. That's the end of her story. And if the lawyer wants more, she suggests they head upstairs. Smirking, Kang Yun points out that, come to think of it, he never told her his secret. Even though Yura thinks they could talk about it in bed, he claims his body only reacts to his true love. He says he's let her touch him for ages, hoping for some kind of reaction, but no dice. Saying Yura's so unattractive it's pointless to stay. Kang Hyun turns to leave. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" she yells, and Ryu's like, "How can you still not get it after acting like you're so smart?" He tells her he's just been messing with her this whole time, just putting up with how boring she is. Yuri's shaking with rage and humiliation, but Kang Hyun just blows her off and walks out of the club. A few days later, he meets up with an old buddy and shows him the recording of Miss Hwang spilling the beans. Ryu was worried about getting a clean recording from his pocket, but the quality was better than he expected. The guy's eyes are glued to the little baggie of this stuff called Red Lily. He's floored that Kang Hyun managed to get his hands on this new drug that only rich kids are secretly importing. The guy wants to know what their next move is, and Ryu smirks, ready to lay it all out for him. Arriving at their meeting spot, Ki Sayang waves across the way to his old friend, Prosecutor Park. The guy looks like crap, because he's been buried in paperwork lately, just to free up some time today. He's dying to know who Cena's setting him up with in a place this fancy, but she says they gotta go inside first. Park's hoping she ain't gonna ask him to do anything shady, because bribery laws say everyone pays their own way. And he might not be the most honest guy, but he's the most upright prosecutor around, to the point where it's kinda lonely. As they sit down, Cena points out that Park's seriously overdue for getting hitched. The prosecutor figures the girl's trying to set him up on a blind date, and that's why she dragged him to this super expensive joint. Cena swears Park's gonna like this guy, and right then, Kang Yun walks up to the table with Chief Jang in tow. Seeing him, the stunned prosecutor jumps right up from his chair. Ryu greets the guy, introduces himself, and then introduces Chief Jang Cheol-ho. Park says he's heard a lot about Kang Hyun, but he's itching to know what this meeting is all about. Ryu suggests they eat first, since everyone's clearly starving. Ki-sang's loving the Yuko, so Kang Yun tells her to dig in, saying he'll order more if she needs it. He notices Park's tense, and Park admits he's still trying to figure out why they're all here. Ryu chimes in, saying Ki-sang's lawyer told him a lot about Park. First off, he wants to apologize for setting up this meeting so suddenly, without asking first. Kang Yun knows the prosecutor's been swamped with work lately. His unit handles major crimes that are way beyond what regular cops can deal with. Prosecutor Park himself specializes in drug-related cases. Specifically, Park sighs, saying kids these days are way too casual about that stuff, and his desk is piled high with new cases every day. Kang Yun asks the prosecutor if he knows anything about Red Lily. Park says they know it's a new drug, but they can't start an investigation because they don't know what it looks like. Ryu's wondering if the DA could launch a preliminary investigation if they had evidence. According to Park, in cases like this, they can start an investigation even with circumstantial evidence, and that's when Chief Jang hands Park the bag. Kang Yun says that's not circumstantial, it's rock-solid proof. Jang says he just happened to bump into the person who ditched the stuff. We're talking about the notorious Doso Group heiress, Hwang Yu-rai. The DA knows this woman well, but to build a case, he needs to know how they got their hands on the evidence. Not just Park, but Cena is surprised to hear Kang Hyun personally got the evidence from Yu-rai. The DA wants to know if Ryu resorted to robbery or blackmail to get it. Chief Jang asks the guy what comes to mind when he looks at Mr. Kang Yun. Park calls him cold, detached, and intimidating. When asked how else he'd describe Ryu, the guy says he's handsome. Exactly the descriptor Chan was waiting for. Kisa nearly choked when she heard that that's how Kang Hyun lured the spoiled heiress, Hwang, into his trap. Ryu suggests hashing out the details later and getting the evidence to the lab as soon as possible. We gotta figure out what this triangular piece is made of and what's on the hair. Prosecutor Park hopes that lawyer Ryu isn't mixed up in this whole thing. If it'll help, Kang Hyun's willing to give up his own hair for testing too. But Park doesn't think that's necessary, because he believes Ryu's not that kind of guy. He'll send this bag to the National Forensic Institute, and when the results are in, he'll bring Hwang Yura in for questioning. But Kang Yun thinks if he does that, the case won't even make it to an indictment. He's sure they won't even be able to get that woman in for questioning, even though Park's clueless about what to do next. Kang Yun suggests they throw out some bait for someone else first. When the prosecutor's all, "Wait, you know someone else involved?" Chang slides him an envelope. These people are tightly connected, and if this works, it'll be front-page news for a while. The prosecutor's face is total shock as he flips through the photos. It's not just Yura using again. It's a situation that hints at her being connected to the whole drug trade. Park recognizes the guy next to Miss Hwang as an actor who got probation a few months back for using. Kang Hyun says the important thing is to use the evidence they have to try and prove Yura's involved in dealing, and that means starting with analyzing the substance. They gotta charge this guy with trafficking, but since he's been downtown before on similar charges, he ain't gonna volunteer any info. Don't expect any cooperation, so arrest him right away, no delays. This is a matter of principle. Get the warrant ready for super early morning, so they don't have time to react. Paka's blown away, wondering how Kang Hyun even got his hands on this kind of evidence. I mean, even the undercover narcotics guys who've been on this forever couldn't sniff out Red Lily. If Ryu hadn't stepped down, this case would have gone down totally different. The prosecutor's office definitely lost a key player. Pak shakes Kang Hyun's hand and promises he'll do his best to make this work out great. After the meeting, Cena gets in the car and turns away from Ryu, making it super obvious she's pissed about something. When he asks her what she's thinking about, she says she's been replaying Chief Chang's words in her head. Kang Yun's confused, wondering what the hell the guy said to upset Cena so much. Then she reminds him how Chang called him a pretty boy, who clearly used his looks and body for the case. Ryu asks her, "Okay, so what exactly am I supposed to apologize for first?" According to her, first he needs to apologize for his face, because looking like that is a crime in itself. Cena's already met this Yu-Ra chick, and she doesn't exactly scream easygoing. She wants to know how far Ryu's willing to go to get evidence from someone like that. But he just kisses her hand without a word. She keeps grilling him about how he seduced Hwang. Like, did he unbutton his shirt and flex his muscles or what? Even though Kang Yun didn't undo any buttons, and just let Yu-Ra spill the beans herself, anything he says now is gonna sound sus. So, without answering, he's just blown away that Cena can fit so many questions into that tiny brain of hers. She admits she gets it's all for the mission. But she still doesn't know the real Ryu, and it messes with her head thinking about it. Kang Hyun smiles and suggests Cena spend the night at her place tonight. She replies she just realized what using the handsome trap really means. He uses his looks, but not his face, his body, and he just pulled that trick on her. Kang Hyun smirks and asks if it worked. Cena turns around and says everything just flew right out of her head too, just like it did with Hwang. Ryu pulls her close, telling her he only cares that it's working on her, even though she's trying to resist. When Kang Hyun kisses her, she can't help it. She kisses him back. Completely wiped out, Chae Songmin is sprawled out on the couch in his apartment. He's still trying to figure out what the hell happened, how Ryu and Cena suddenly got so close. He thought all he had to do was create a crack and shove a knife in it to make their relationship crumble like a sandcastle. But their connection turned out to be way stronger than he expected. At first, Songmin figured Kang Hyun was just using her, that there was no love or anything like that involved. It pisses him off that some people have to slave away, cleaning up other people's messes, while others are just screwing around, playing at love. Deciding he's done with this crap, Songmin writes up his resignation. But when he offered it to Hwang Hee-chun, He told him to wait until Yura got married. Sungmin doubted that they'd even find a guy willing to marry a girl like her. But according to Hee-chan, that's exactly why Chae needed to keep an eye on her, to stop her from screwing up again. Sungmin said he couldn't do it anymore, told him to find someone else, and headed for the door, even though the guy tried to stop him. Hee-chan couldn't raise any of his own kids right, and then just glared at Chae, trying to dump the blame for their actions on him. The guy was shaking with rage and reminded Sungmin that he'd helped his beggar parents get by. Turning around, Chae replied that he'd already done enough to pay back his help. Hee-chan grabbed a heavy ashtray from the table and hurled it at the back of Sungmin's head. He said the kid just needed a vacation, and he'd give him all the time he needed. And now, Chae's sitting at home, consumed by an even stronger urge to just end it all. Kang Yun's checking out articles about the actor's arrest, and notices any news that might connect to Yura gets scrubbed almost instantly. Chaeon Sungmin's clearly been busy, and ever since that lawyer showed up, the actor hasn't said a damn thing. They probably threatened him, told him to take the fall, and promised to pay whatever it takes. Considering the prosecution's position, he'd be better off spilling everything he knows, because it's just a matter of time before they find out anyway. They're just waiting for the right moment. Chief Jang's sure that Doso Group and their sponsor are sweating bullets right now. He just wants to know how confident Kang Yun is that the prosecutor won't flip. Ryu thinks you can never truly know what's inside someone, but even if Park betrays them, he hopes Hwang's name hits the headlines too, so she gets screwed over as well. Just then, the office door swings open, and Yura herself is standing there. Chief Jang jumps up, pissed about such an inappropriate surprise visit. The woman takes off her sunglasses and looks at Kang Yun, who turns out to actually be a lawyer, and from a big-name firm, no less. Ryu's wondering what business Ms. Hwang has with their company. Yura takes a seat, and Kang Hyun tells Chief Jang to step out, saying everything's cool and they can pick up their chat later. Once he's gone, Hwang says she regrets not asking Ryu his name that day, cause then she wouldn't have wasted her time. Kang Hyun asks, dripping with sarcasm, if she really came all this way just to get his name. The woman tells him to cut the crap and get straight to the point. Yura's here to talk about her firm offering Ryu Kang Yun the head position in their legal department. Hwang wants to know his terms and what it'll take to get him working for her. Kang Yun points out that they already have a head of the legal department, Chae Sung-min. But according to Yura, Chae's been totally out of it lately, and she doesn't like how he's running things. Hwang offers Kang Hyun the job of her personal lawyer, but he tells her to leave right now if that's what she's after, cause he ain't got time for that. Yura gets up and throws out there that she thinks Ryu's the one behind this investigation. The more she thinks about it, the more it seems like nobody but him makes sense, especially since he had no other reason to get close to her. Ryu tells her to think harder about what he'd want from her, since she's apparently so smart. Besides, he already told her she doesn't do it for him, and whatever she's cooked up in her head, he's telling her to stop getting on his nerves. Pissed off at how that son of a bitch is talking to her, Hwang snatches the tablet out of his hands. Kang Yun grabs Yura's arm and tells her to give it back, now. He says she should have asked Sung-min what kind of a son of a bitch she was dealing with, but she didn't, and now she's here in person. So, he's asking her nicely for now to cut it out. When Hwang asks who he thinks he is, Ryu fires back, asking who she thinks she is, acting like she can do whatever she wants, and even lost Sungmin because of it. Knocking everything off Kang Hyun's desk, the woman screams that she'll do the same thing to him, and when the hammer drops, he better not even think about crawling back and begging for mercy. Yura storms out of the office, practically bowling over Chang, who's just coming back, totally stunned by her nasty attitude. Kang Hyun says this woman's antics are just making things worse for Doso Group, but she's too dense to even realize it. The section chief hands Ryu an envelope with the documents he requested. Kang Hyun scans them over and notices some discrepancies. He's got 2 articles here, one from the New York Times, the other from a Korean paper, and at first glance, they seem similar, but the details are way off. The first one, about a party where one guy died and another's in a coma, is short and to the point. The second one says a foreign student was stabbed to death by an unknown assailant in a New York hotel, and the suspect is in critical condition. Both incidents happened on the same day in New York, and what are the odds that both the victim and suspect are Korean students? On top of everything, if this is the same case, the local news totally spun it like pros. So the confirmation hearings for the new Attorney General were happening then, and we couldn't leak any details about the incident. Turns out, the guy Yura iced that day was probably the current minister's son. Kang Yun's convinced he got picked for the job in exchange for dropping the murder charges. And get this! The emergency services report even has surveillance footage of the whole thing. Chief Jang's realizing again that Ryu's way more than just some lawyer. He's watching the tape and can't believe what he's seeing. You can clearly see Chae Sung-min escorting Yura out of the hotel, obviously after they dealt with the body. Kang Yun's sure that if they play this right, they can get what they want without getting their hands dirty. First thing they gotta do is leak some intel to the media. That'll make Prosecutor Park's job easier, and then the whole country will know about Hwang Yura's crimes. And when the rage comes down on her, it's gonna be damn near impossible to stop. A few days later, a photo leaked online from some source, and the news broke about a washed-up actor's drug scandal. As the chatter picked up, articles started dropping about the director being mixed up in it too. And now, today, Kang Hyun gets the word from Prosecutor Park about Hwang Yura. They finally changed her status from witness to suspect. Ryu tells Sei about it, but points out that once the hype dies down, they might just drop the whole thing. Hwang's reps say they're ready to cooperate with the investigation, but only if she doesn't get arrested. Kang Hyun suspects it's just a way to buy time, and if they investigate, Yura will clam up and plead the fifth. Sei wants to know if Sonmin will be her lawyer on this case. She admits she's a little worried about him. That really throws Ryu for a loop, because Sei knows Sonmin's not exactly a good dude. Thing is, she just feels bad for him, you know? Maybe Che was just desperate to get out and end it all. Come to think of it, she's not that different from him, being all lies and selfishness herself. Kang Hyun ain't having it though. Says Cena and Sungmin are totally different, cause she never hurt anyone, even if she wanted to use them. Ryu hugs her and tells her to never say stuff like that again.